4,
Oh, fuck.
3, 2, 1. Yeehaw! Live, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Bravo, Joey motherfucker Diaz, and Brendan Schaub. And we're here.
Love you guys.
Love you guys too.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, motherfuckers.
Happy New Year.
Everybody who came to the show last night, thanks for coming out. Sorry we couldn't stick around. I've had a stomach bug since Thursday. I was severely worried that I was going to shit myself during the show. I was worried I was going to shit myself during the UFC. During the UFC, I didn't eat all day, and then right before it, I'm like, God damn it, I got to eat something. Yeah, my stomach's been fucked. My kids had some sort of a bug, some sort of a flu. The whole house had it. My wife had it. My daughters had it. And I didn't get it until I got to Vegas. And on Vegas, I worked out with Delagrate Thursday, and I was burping and farting. I was like, what is going on? And then in the middle of the night, I woke up. I was like, oh, this ain't good. This is not good. And then the next day, I couldn't eat anything. Couldn't hold anything down. And right before the UFC, I said, oh, I got to eat something. So I had some quesadillas. I just took a chance. And I was like, I might very well have to sprint to the shitter. So I got through that. Yeah,
That was during the UFC.
Yeah, I was severely worried I was gonna have to shit myself, but I pulled it out, and then wrecked a bathroom afterwards.
Just
blah, blah, you know, that kind where you smell it coming out of your body, and you're like, what in the fuck is in there? And then the same thing yesterday. I couldn't eat all day before the show. Couldn't eat a goddamn thing. And then right before we were in the dressing room, I go, I gotta eat something. I'm tired. I feel kind of weak, so I had some cheese and some meat. So that's why I didn't stick around after the show, ladies and gentlemen. But if you came, we had a good goddamn time.
I figured you got sick because you made like a bear meat fucking omelet or some shit. Fed it to your family.
If I
all
got
you guys
sick
got
from
sick.
that, no, everybody got sick from school. Little kids, man, they just get sick. There's a bunch of them together, and they just somehow or another. You ever think about that? Like, who's the first person who got VD? There had to be one dirty motherfucker that was number. There has to be a patient zero.
Kid.
Yeah,
the snotty-nosed kid.
There's one person, like VD, right? Like, that had to come from an individual first, right? I mean, every cold has to come from somewhere. Apparently, a lot of the colds we get come from agriculture. That's why it's all like swine flu and shit like that.
I thought the white man brought it here to the Indians.
Well,
We're like, hey, how you doing? Achoo! And then they're
that
just
too.
sick as fuck and die.
Dude, we went over that the other day in a podcast. 90% of all Native Americans were wiped out by diseases that they didn't have an immune system for when the Europeans came in the 1500s.
Fucking white
Didn't
people.
more of them
90%.
get like actually killed like in battles?
No, more of them died by disease, believe it or not. Fucking 90% of the population. It's really crazy.
Where'd you get that from? The library?
We're not doing that today, Eddie Bravo.
Ain't happening.
We're not doing that.
Ain't
We're not
happening.
doing that today.
What figure?
Library.com, yo.
So UFC 207, that was one of the craziest events of all time. And watching that main event was surreal. First of all, it was surreal because my body was all weirded out because I was a little out of it.
About to pass out.
But it was about the shit all over my chair. But it was just bizarre. Like, that was the least competitive, like, main event other than Aldo and McGregor. But that was one dynamic shot to the chin that knocked him out. Like, everything about that was off.
Can you think about another main event championship level where it was that kind of big of a discrepancy? You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't even a fight. And,
No.
I think leading up to it, there were some kind of red flags that you saw leading up to it. If you think back now that we
She
know
was
the
in great
outcome.
shape, though, everybody said, right?
Physically,
Physically, though. Physically.
She looked great. But, like, what kind of sparring was she doing? You know, one of the things I was thinking when she was hitting pads, she's standing there hitting pads with Edmund. I was like, they're standing right in front of each other. Like, she's not moving. Like, she's just hitting pads. Pop, 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 pop,
Pads
pop,
are
pop.
tough to tell, though, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes they're doing it for the camera. If the countdown crew's there,
Of
you don't want to
course.
show your new shit. But also,
Right.
what did people think was going to happen? Like, did you think this whole time when she's shooting these movies, doing stuff, Edmund and her come up with a plan for her to stick on the outside, jab and move? That's not in her DNA.
That's not even
her
good enough
personality.
anyway. She had to close the distance and clinch. You know,
That should have been the only plan.
The idea of standing with Amanda Nunes is just ridiculous. The difference in punching power is like literally double.
But we've
Amanda
seen her
punches
fight big
twice as
punchers
hard.
before.
Who?
Betch could hit pretty hard.
No.
I'm not saying similar,
think
but
so.
no, I'm saying what Betch did. She was a
Betch
beast.
has decent power, and she's very aggressive. She throws volume strikes, but she throws their arms. She doesn't hit nearly as hard as Amanda.
And
Amanda torques her whole body into shit.
I agree, Joe.
I mean, it's
And Betch's arms are this long.
yeah.
You know,
I mean,
And that's all
Amanda's got
fine and
some
dandy.
Goddamn telephone poles.
And that's
Yeah.
all fine, but don't you think the game plan should have been get her to the ground,
100%.
engaged,
Of course.
and she tried that a little bit.
she didn't shoot.
She was
though.
already lit up.
Yeah.
She wasn't
already
there though
lit up.
mentally. That's why I'm saying there's things leading up to it, and I think the biggest red flag for me, and you know Dana better than anyone. He's a promoter through and through. One of the, if not the best of all time. I can't think of another one. Don King, I guess, but still, for him to say, "Yeah, you can skip all the media shit and just focus on the fight," I was like, God, that just doesn't seem right.
You know
man.
why? She's managed by, or she's handled by William Morris in her Endeavor, WME.
Yes.
WME owns UFC now.
I'm aware of that.
I'm sure that's the only
Dana
reason
said
why
it was
they were
his
on
decision.
It was his decision.
Yeah, he goes, I'm the one who we agreed to this.
Mm-hmm.
It was in her contract. It's a one-time thing. I'm never doing it again. I thought, God damn, that is
So
sketchy.
she must have put it in the contract. She must have said, "This is what I want to do. I don't want to talk to any media. I just want to go
Maybe
out
that's
and
not a
train."
red flag to you.
Not if Connor did it.
I mean, Connor doesn't have the choice. Connor can set
But
a
if
tweet
Connor
himself.
did it, if Connor said, "Fuck all this fucking media. I'm going to Dublin. I'm going to train."
He would never do that.
If he did, I'd have zero
Is that not a
problem
red
with it.
flag, though, to anyone involved at all?
No.
For Dana to say,
It-
all good,
So
don't
what
do
is he-
Yeah,
anything.
but here's the thing.
look-
She goes out, grabs hold of Amanda Nunes, flips her on her head, semi-unconscious, catches her in an armbar. She's the new champ in 35 seconds. You're not saying this.
I disagree.
No, you wouldn't say there's a red flag if she went out and dominated and got an armbar in the first round. You would definitely not say that skipping the media is a red flag.
So then she
you're
would-
only saying it because this is like armchair quarterbacking.
It's not though, because I said it was a red flag before this. Because
okay.
so if she did interviews afterwards, let's say she went out there, dominated her in a minute, submit her, and then she did interviews afterwards. That's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Because she's just saying I'm not doing any media at all.
Even post, you're
Even
saying.
post.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't want to talk after that. I mean, why would you
But
want to
the
talk
other
after
the other
that?
thing in the whole sell on this was she's serious now. Oh my God, she's focused. No interview. She's serious now.
Well, the whole thing
to what
was
extent?
the whole thing was like this big, obvious marketing perspective, like a promotional Hollywood perspective. Like they had the movie, which is a really good, like got you pumped up. Like that whole thing about her coming back, and they lift up the garage door and you see her working out really hard. And what they did is they created a great hype piece. You know,
If you're in the Ronda Rousey business,
exactly.
Amanda Nunes going, what the?
Exactly.
Did you? The best was their picture promoting this UFC, and there's a picture of Ronda in her fight gear and a Ronda in her street clothes. Goes, she's back, 207. It's like, fuck, man. What about Amanda? And when I
Yeah.
say in this crazy
I
world
saw
of
that
MMA,
picture. Who did that picture? That
UFC?
was that an official UFC
as
picture?
an official UFC kind of social media post.
Wow.
It's crazy, man.
Well-
Because now what do you do?
It's also crazy because it's crazy for a marketing perspective. I mean, a lot of people thought that Ronda was going to win. A lot of people. I was 100% who the fuck knows.
Me too.
That's exactly how I felt. When I was watching that fight play out, I was like, who the fuck knows?
No idea.
I mean, you could see, look, Ronda looked like she was in amazing shape. You think about the things that Ronda's been able to do in the past to like Sarah McMahon. You would think, well, maybe she ties her up in a clinch, blasts her with a knee to the body, flips her on her back, and armbars her. Who the fuck knows? If she gets you on the ground, her armbar technique is outstanding. It's just some of the best, if not the best, I've ever seen inside
Probably
the
the
octagon.
best. Probably the best.
That could have happened, but it was so who the fuck knows. But the moment she got hit, she's not moving her head at all. She's standing straight up in the air, and then I see her legs get close together, and that's when you know someone's really hurt. When someone gets lit up and then they start moving, but their legs are too close together, it's just not working right. It's not like they kind of know what to do, but it's just not. Their balance isn't good. There's no head movement. She was probably hurt with like the second or third punch that Amanda hit her with. She was probably on Queer Street.
But
That's what woke her up. She didn't know where she was until she got hit, Joe. Look at that. When she got hit, when you go, ooh, she's hurt, she's hurt. Look at her face, her hands. You even said it yourself. She threw up a kick.
She threw some kicks to try to keep Amanda off. I think she didn't realize. I think when Amanda hits girls, they just go, holy shit.
Yep.
But what else would you expect in that? You know what I'm saying? Like you don't realize till you get hit, but you hear all the criticism now of Edmund, who's obviously a terrible coach. But take that out of it. If you bring a horse to water and they can't drink, there's nothing else you can do. So if mentally she doesn't want to be in there,
Do you think? Wait,
It
you think
doesn't matter.
she didn't want to be in there?
Why
do you say that?
It didn't look like the same tenacity that we're used to seeing.
She looked super tenacious until she got cracked.
Joe was 44 seconds.
Yeah, but
Tenacious
you
when
don't
she
need more
when
than
she ate that
that.
first jab.
She got hurt with a right hand, maybe 10, 15. We can watch the whole fight. Let's
Yeah,
watch the
we
whole
can- I
fight.
mean,
It's 40
48
seconds.
seconds.
Go fight. You could.
It's on YouTube already.
it's everywhere.
Doesn't matter.
I mean,
You-
you
I
don't
mean,
think
I'm sure
she's
the UFC
faced
probably
tough
pulled it
fighters
down.
before? Like, what do you think it is?
I don't understand why
Amanda
you
hits-
why you're even saying this. You see that she got hit, and you see she got hurt, and you've been hit and hurt before. You
Correct.
know what happens. You just don't know what the fuck's going on.
Correct.
I think
However,
Amanda hits.
I don't think that jab put her lights out.
Well, it wasn't just a jab, dude. She hit her with
It
a
was
right
the first
hand.
jab that landed.
The first
when
jab?
she went into
okay,
close
but
distance.
The first jab landed, but then she got hit with many punches. I don't understand why you're confused as to the result. I mean, she got hit by the biggest power puncher in the 135-pound division by far. There's not a single girl in that division that punches like Amanda does.
I agree with that, but not. It wasn't a right hand right away.
Yes, it was. It was
No,
a jab right away.
it was a
and then
jab right
but
away.
a right hand right after that.
Once
It was a
once
right-
Ronda tried to close
Okay.
distance.
It was 40 seconds of Amanda punching Ronda in the face until Ronda went out. Like the idea that something's confusing, that she didn't look like she wanted to be there. She was hurt multiple times in those exchanges. I just don't. I think that we're doing a lot of armchair quarterbacking, right? Who the fuck knows what was going on in her
What are we
head?
supposed
to do? In her head was the
Well,
most
you're
important
speculating
thing.
whether or not she wanted to be there after she got hit. The problem is she might have been just rocked, and there's also the reality that she was knocked out fucking cold a year ago, and it was a bad beating and then a vicious head kick. And there is something about those goddamn neck kicks, man. There's something about when someone shins you in the neck, like she got shinned, and your whole body just goes limp. You're doing so much damage in there.
But she had 411 days off.
That's nice.
I think it was just bad strategy. Just really simple. It was just, the strategy was not good.
That's
What happens if
possible, too.
Amanda's just better?
That's possible too. All those things. Look, I was the one who said, like, way early on, I think Amanda's her most dangerous challenge because Amanda hit so fucking hard. After she starched Sarah McMahon, and when she was beating up Misha, I was like, Jesus
sad.
Christ, she punches harder than anybody in that division. She's got like dangerous weapons with her hands. But I really think there's a lot of people that get KO'd like that, and they are never the same again.
I agree.
They can't absorb a shot anymore. And then also in your brain, according to Chuck Liddell, he was telling me about it, like, because he, Chuck was so tough that he would like just fucking use his chin, sort of like Lineker does. Like it's part of his defense, like knowing that he can absorb shots. And after a while, his brain was like, hey man, fuck you. Like his brain was just like, we're not going to do this.
And shuts
just 'cause you're
off.
yeah, just shuts off early.
I also
to
think
protect you.
there's a certain level where they're that great, and you look at like a Tiger Woods or Mike Tyson. When that foundation gets a little shaky, they're just never the same.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
too.
just never. They're like, I'm
Right.
not God's gift to the UFC.
Exactly.
No, the MMA gods don't give a shit.
Exactly. And then, like we said, even if she was undefeated and she fought Nunes, Nunes is going to give her problems. Because if you watch, like, the Misha Tate fight, Misha Tate, like, even though she beat Misha Tate twice, Misha Tate gave her a hard time. There's some good scrambles. Misha Tate hit her with some punches. If Amanda hits you with punches like that, you're fucked. You can't make mistakes.
You're in trouble.
Yeah,
But-
she's
but-
like in a lot of ways, she's like a female Rumble in that she might not be able to close a show with one shot like Rumble can, but if you make mistakes, you get stung so bad, and you see it with the
You're
Sarah
paying
McMahon
for
fight's
it,
a perfect
yeah.
example. She cracks Sarah with a right hand. You see her whole face is like, what the like? Nobody hits them like that. Nobody. And she's long. Amanda catches you on the end of those punches too.
She's great at distance. I also think that the game's evolving so fast.
Yep.
Where Amanda, all she cares about is being champ. All she does is train. That's the only thing she gives a fuck about. I think we saw the same thing in the Dominic Cruz Cody Garbrandt fight. All Cody wants to do is be champ. Dominic's doing analyst work. He is so I think there's this kind of change of hands right now where you're seeing these guys they're all in, and that's what you have to do to be in this game, this day and age. Guys are too good. They're too good now.
I think you're dead right. I think you're dead right about that. Here we go. We'll watch the whole thing live now. Give us some volume, young Jamie. So here it is.
So that jab landed with 5 seconds.
Look at this. Jab right there. Watch this. She stung her right there.
1,
see?
2, 2
1,
there.
2, 2.
Yes.
Yeah, see? So she's stung 10 seconds in. We're at 4:43. We're 15 seconds in, and she's already
She's
right there.
stung,
She's
yeah.
fucked. Right there, she's fucked. That was a super hard
Super
right hand.
fucked.
And this is bad. This
Hard-
is
hard
real
to
bad.
watch.
It's real hard to watch.
Hard to watch.
Boom to the body, too. She ripped that shot to the body. So, like, the idea that she didn't want to be there, 10 seconds into the fight, she didn't know what the fuck was going. Oh, that left hook with the right hand, and then that right hand behind it. This is horrific, man.
It's tough to
Boom,
watch.
boom, boom.
God damn. Good
God
stoppage by
damn.
Herb.
Great stoppage, but goddamn, Amanda Nunes is good. She put a finger up to her mouth, walked right up to Edmund, looked at him, and went, shh.
So gangster. So
You know, look, Ronda's
Brazilian
still
gangster.
standing. You know,
Well,
she
yeah,
got
well,
heart.
She's in another dimension.
She got
Look, there's
heart.
no doubt about
She
she's
wouldn't go
got
down.
heart.
Look at
There's
that.
no about she's tough, and also she's got that thick old neck that helps.
Look how long Amanda's arms are.
Yeah.
She's great at keeping distance and not crowding herself.
Well, Amanda has wide shoulders, and that helps too, and then long arms as well. And she's got awesome distance, man. Her ability to catch you at the very
At the
end of the
end,
punches,
yes.
where all the power is. Because if you're punching someone and you want to hit them here, but they just move forward a foot, you lose like 90% of your power.
Different game.
Do you think Amanda can fight guys at 135?
Well, bad guys. You know, it
Not good guys?
No, not
She
like
trains
the
with guys.
super high level guys. Like she's not going to beat T.J. Dillashaw. You know
What
I
about
mean?
top 10?
No, it's
No,
changed
sir.
now, man. People, I think if you asked me that same question 3 or
Shit's
4
hard.
years ago, I'd have a different answer. But like that division is so stacked now. It's like when 135 first opened up, it was in the UFC. There wasn't as many
There was
guys
nothing, really.
that were that elite. You know, there's like even to watch the guys who are really good improve. Like you saw the Cody fight where he was fucking fantastic against Dominic.
Jesus
But
Christ.
how goddamn good did TJ look against Lineker? Completely nullified Lineker. Nullified him. Lineker, he's like one of the best examples of a guy with absolutely freakish physical attributes. A fucking iron jaw. Iron jaw. I've never even seen the guy get hurt. He gets hit by everybody. He gets head kicked. He gets punched. Rob Font said he hit him with the hardest punch he ever hit anybody with in his life. And he goes, he didn't even acknowledge that he hit him. He just walked right forward. He said he hit him with a body shot. Felt like he got hit by a car.
He didn't look like this. That Lineker, I don't think that same Lineker showed up on Saturday or Friday night.
TJ
sorry.
nullified him. He didn't have
He
a chance.
did, but Lineker was very hesitant, and I think it was because of TJ's the way he was fighting him with
Yeah.
the feints, the takedowns, the kicks, and throwing that head kick to the body kick. But he was very tentative, super
well, yeah,
tentative.
he got outbeat.
He threw him in the truck, almost had him in a calf
Yes.
slicer.
Yeah.
Shit.
I thought he was going to go for the twister.
Damn.
I was like, oh my God, if he goes for the twister, but he went for the calf slicer. But I'm like, I looked it up like he's not going to tap to that. It's just
He
pain.
needed a stomp. He needed a stomp down. He
Yeah.
didn't stomp. on
TJ
his own
looked
foot.
amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, and the timing in those takedowns, like lightning bolts. Like it looks like he's throwing a punch and he's underneath you. Just
It was so nasty.
he's so fast, man. But God damn, Cody Garbrandt.
What the fuck?
God
And-
damn.
And I'll admit, I said I think Cody's gonna be champ, just not yet. He's gonna be your champ, but he's not ready for Dom yet. Then I opened him around. I was like, what the fuck?
looks so
He's
good.
mimicking him. He's doing breakdancing. He's doing push-ups and shit.
Well, he fucked with Dominic's head, and that was one of the things I was thinking of. Like, this kid's been in a lot of street fights. Like, I don't know if this trash talk is going to work on him the way it works on other guys. Like, he said he was fine in there. Like, I asked him about it. He's like, I like that. He goes, I feel calm. He goes, I know I can stay calm when that's going on.
And I think he's just like this young, hungry dude who he took it personal. And a lot of guys get real emotional. And I was worried that Cody'd come out super emotional and just get murked, like taken down. Just, you know, the real emotional, like Aldo
Stiff.
did against McGregor, who
Right.
just forgets about his technique and rushes and gets
Yeah.
murked. But dude, he just took all that and the best performance. I mean, can you name another performance like that where a guy? He wasn't even number one contender. He's 5 or 6 in
8.
the world.
I think he was 8.
Was he 8? I thought he moved to 6.
Maybe.
But
that
still,
might have been some shenanigans.
yeah, right. Just who knows with the Cheeto finger rankings?
Yeah.
But still, motherfucker went from 5, 6 ranked number 1.
Number
You're like,
1.
God, that's a big
And
stretch.
beat him handily. It wasn't a
Dom
close
won one
decision.
round.
Yeah.
And I love
Crazy.
Dom. He won 1 round.
And Cody dropped him, hurt him. We still don't exactly know where the cut came from. Some people are saying he came from a punch. I heard people online say it came from a kick. The guys
Definitely
in the
not a
truck,
headbutt.
The guys in the truck said it was a headbutt.
Your truck boys were off. Because I heard when they said that, I'm like, what the fuck are they watching?
Yeah, they pulled it up for me. But it's hard. See, while the fight's going on, they'll do that, and they'll tell me it's a headbutt. And see, I have 2 monitors in front of me. I have one right here, and then I have one over the side. And they'll say, like, look on monitor B, and then they'll show it to me. But I can't really. It's hard for me to do that while I'm watching the actual fight. You know, so they'll show it to me, and I just take their word for it. But occasionally
That's
it gets,
fair. But
it's
I
hard.
think in the replay that they showed, maybe they saw it different and didn't show the correct one. The replay that they showed, it was definitely wasn't a headbutt.
Well, they definitely did collide heads.
For sure.
For sure. And so who knows? It was hard to tell, but who gives a fuck?
Either
There was
way.
a big ass cut on Dom's eyebrow, and he got. How good is Dominic Cruz? Took a punch too, by the way.
God. His chin?
He gets cracked. His legs go stiff. He goes down, and a couple of times Cody like acted almost like he wasn't going to follow him to the ground. And beat on him on the ground and almost acted like he was done.
Yeah, he's like calling him up or like a Mark Hunt kind of walk-off KO. I'm like,
Yeah.
you better get on him,
Yeah,
son.
he
What are
didn't
you doing?
even make an attempt to
That's
get on him.
weird, right?
Well, maybe he doesn't want to have anything to do with the ground. Maybe he feels like that's where Dominic might have a chance.
Goddamn, it's not Bushesha down there.
I
Relax,
know, right?
son.
I don't know what Dominic
I
Cruz.
thought he just wanted to punish him too, maybe.
Does Dominic Cruz have any submissions?
Oh no,
Yeah.
Dominic Cruz is really good on the ground.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
But
He's
I,
really
I mean,
good.
on his record, does he have any submissions?
Yeah, he has submissions from usually from guillotines though. Back in the day, WC.
his jiu-jitsu's really good. Trust me.
No,
You trained with him?
He's a
You trained
black
with
belt
him?
for
No,
sure.
I've seen him compete in
jiu-jitsu tournaments?
Yeah, and he wrestled as well. He's a
Yeah.
wrestler.
But
with-
for a guy not to go down in his guard, that's some shit. That's
Yeah.
like some
Well,
Conor McGregor Diaz shit where you're like, I just don't want, I can lose too easily down there.
Well, I mean, it might not have been that at all. It might have been even more simple. That's a lost, Jamie.
Rear naked.
Yeah, so he's got a rear naked there. He's got he lost to he's got one rear naked.
He's not
and
known for
lost-
his guard though,
No.
Joe. You're right.
Well, who knows? You don't know what he can do. But the bottom line was Cody wanted to keep the fight standing.
I think he just wanted to punish him.
Yeah, and
he's
he
like
might have
this
thought it was
evil
over.
dude.
Well,
He's like,
did
get
He
up.
hit him so hard,
Get
he
up.
might have thought the fight was over.
he seemed to the answer for Dominic. I mean, at least it worked for Cody. Was it or was it not? I'm no striker. That he made Dominic come to him, and it's different when.
Correct.
'cause- Is that what it was?
Well,
Yes.
sort of,
Okay.
but it's also you got to give credit to his team. See, Justin Buchholz and those guys have been imitating. They fought Dom so many times.
6
They
times?
can imitate his movements, so they can mimic his shit. So when they're sparring, they do that fake that like false start. You know, because Dom does this thing where he false starts and then he starts, and you never know which one's going to be a kick, which one. Like it's a lot of like patterns that Dom throws up.
Feints,
So
yeah,
they figured
nonstop.
out how to do that, and they mimicked it. And they watched him so many times that they can get it down to a T.
And Cody didn't buy into the feints. He
Yeah.
was just like, come on, if you're going to come in within this range. And he kept baiting him and they'd make it count.
Yeah, the bottom line is if his brain's not confused and he just knows that in these exchanges, Dom's going to be there and he's going to do some, he's got some really unpredictable movement, Dom does, but he does like a bunch of things a lot.
And then commits.
Yeah, and so he timed those things and caught him with some fucking vicious punches, man.
Yeah, and he wasn't like Dom fights a lot of guys, and they're like, "What the fuck?" It's
Yeah.
like that Chris Tucker movie. Gets hit in the face, like, "All right, which one of y'all kicked me?" And you don't know where it's coming from, but Garbrandt just never bought it.
You
It
know
was
what
like,
other
I'm just
thing it
gonna
is?
wait for you to commit. You can do all that jazz, and I'm just gonna wait right here.
It's also a guy who's been boxing when he was real young.
That's what we were talking about last night.
Yeah.
He's 32-2 amateur record. You look at that, you're like, but in the UFC, compared to other fighters, that boxing comes in handy.
Huge.
He was
Huge.
catching. Cody was catching Dominic Cruz on the way out. Which that's a lot of people don't catch him on the way out.
Never see it.
No,
Yeah.
he was catching him on the way out. Pop.
And the
pop,
speed and
pop,
precision of those
pop.
punches.
And the power
glorious.
for 5
Yeah.
rounds. And then people forget Cody in high school. I think he was first team All State out of Ohio, which is a big deal out there. He had scholarships, played compete in Division I wrestling. It was like, nah, I'm just gonna fight professionally full time. That's what kind of stud you're dealing with.
Yeah.
And his uncle was an alternate for the Olympic boxing team. So I mean, he comes from a long line of just savages too.
Pretty crazy. Yeah, his countdown piece was pretty amazing.
I didn't see it.
I wish that fighters appreciate the science of boxing more. When GSP, one of those fights he trained with Freddie Roach, and he came back with that fucking jab, it made waves, but a lot of people didn't copy that.
Well, Arlovsky did first and was like, "No, let's just go boosh." He's like, "Holy shit!"
Amanda Nunes
Remember?
did. Amanda Nunes' boxing trainer is Howard Davis' son.
Okay.
In American Top Team, so she's.
I don't know why people don't incorporate that much
I think-
more.
I
Like
think
that's
they do.
There's so
science.
much to learn.
You said
Yeah.
there's 3 levels of striking, pretty much. In the UFC, we had a discussion last night when the jiu-jitsu guy, 170, came in. He came in. He was a great jiu-jitsu guy. He won what's his name? The guy that triangled Chael from the top.
Damian Maia.
Damian Maia. That guy came in. He won the first couple matches jiu-jitsu. Then somebody told him he was a boxer.
Yes.
And he started
Yeah.
getting lit up. And
It
now
happens.
he's fucking back to just
Yeah.
hit
That
me
could be,
once.
and you know what?
I'm going to grab your leg
that
and
could
it's
be
over.
Ronda. That
There
could
you
be
go,
Ronda.
Eddie.
That
There
was
you
what he
go,
said
Eddie.
last night
That
on the
could be
phone.
Ronda.
100%.
If Ronda just said, "Okay, I'm gonna take a year off. I'm gonna go to the Olympic wrestling facility, wherever. Just focus on wrestling. Still work on your striking. Go with Dwayne Ludwig. That would be awesome. Or Rafael Cordero. Mix it up. You know what I mean? You got to change shit up now, obviously. But wrestling should be the focus. When you see a Ronda Rousey promo, you shouldn't see her hitting mitts. You should see her shooting,
Armbar.
getting the clinch, double leg takedown, singles. It should be wrestling every day, twice a day.
But think about her camp. Her whole camp, it's just a boxing gym. Her head coach is a boxing coach, so they want her to be this boxer. People sold her as the next Mike Tyson. So you have all that coming. And she was murking girls, remember? I was on board, too. I'm like, damn, her striking. She's knocking bitches out. Then you
It's
saw...
the level. It's like what's the
Correct.
level she's knocking them out at? You know?
Yeah, but I think the media and a lot of people are like, dang, she's a knockout artist. So you hear those. And her camp's going, you're a knockout artist. You can strike with anyone.
Right, and her coach, like, look, that was always the case. You remember when Gerald fought in the UFC? It was always the case when Gerald was was he a black belt back then or a brown belt?
No, he was a brown belt.
Really good jiu-jitsu guy, though. But his fucking striking coach had him convinced
Muay Thai-
that he was
Muay
a
Thai
Thai
guy.
boxer.
Yeah.
He's like, you're going to go out there and you're going to kick. And I remember Eddie and I would train, I would watch him hit the bag and hit the mitts and stuff. And I was like, man, there are some scary guys in the UFC. And he got a real scary one in Josh Thompson.
Yeah.
And Josh Thompson was like, yep, none of that. Crack.
No, it was. It didn't go down like that. It didn't
Punk?
go. No,
Josh the
What
Punk
ended up
Thompson?
happening? No, what ended up happening is Gerald's jiu-jitsu. Gerald Streeben, as we're talking about. He was my first student. Before 10th Planet. I was teaching jiu-jitsu to a guy named Gerald Streeben. He was a blue belt at the time. And I brought him up, showed him. He got really good at the twister, really good at rubber guard. He first meat hook rubber guard triangle in MMA history in a Gladiator Challenge show. He was kicking ass, and then he fought Jean Silva in England, in London, and it was a spectacular match. Joe showed that fight to Dana White. Dana White gave him a shot, gave Josh Thompson. Boom, right off the bat. He started working Muay Thai with this Muay Thai coach, and it was 6 months. He was training 6 months with them, right? And and he wrestled in high school as well, so he'd been grappling total at that point.
Is that
maybe
Joey? What
8
are you
years.
breathing into the mic?
No.
I'm hearing some.
For sure, Joe.
Must
You
be.
kidding me?
I was confused in my
It
headset. I
sounded
was
like
what is going on?
a submarine. You know that?
I hear it too.
You know,
Like a submarine, right?
But anyways, so he
Darth
was,
Vader shit.
and it's an interesting point. I was just thinking about this. It's the exact same thing. It's when a striking, like let's say I got a striker, Muay Thai came in. He'd been doing Muay Thai for 10 years, and he wanted to learn the ground. And he was doing MMA. He's already fighting MMA. It comes up a lot. I'm going to show him jiu-jitsu. I'm going to be in his corner. I'm not going to be telling him to take his ass down and work your fucking jiu-jitsu. Pull guard. I'm like, it's been 6 months. Let's relax. But
Egos get involved.
What I want to
Egos
see,
get involved.
what I want to see
Yeah.
is that dude win with his Muay Thai, and it gives me another fight to get his jiu-jitsu together. The longer we avoid the jiu-jitsu, in my eyes, the better. We got away with another one. Now we have another 4 or 5 months to work on the jiu-jitsu.
But
At
that's
that
a
point-
good way of looking at it.
but there's a
Most
lot of
guys
strikers
don't.
out there. There's a lot of striking coaches out there that'll take some grappler in, teach him striking for 6 months, and then corner him in an MMA fight and like instruct him to stand with this motherfucker.
Do you remember what
and
he
I gotta
said?
pull the guy to the side and say, dude, don't listen to this guy. You're not standing with this
Do you remember
motherfucker.
what he said?
You know how many times I had to say that to like my guys? I go, don't listen to this motherfucker.
Always.
You're taking this motherfucker
Even
to
Hodger
the ground.
Gracie came out
Eddie,
throwing
do you
jabs.
remember what he
Run-
said? Do you remember what he said to him?
He's
In the corner?
Bangkok ready.
Yes.
In 6 months,
Yes.
he said it was Bangkok ready. He's going to go out there. So this is what ends up happening. Luckily, hey, but you know what? It was a good thing. It's a good thing because this is what happened. Is he had him so believing that he was Bangkok ready after 6 months of Muay Thai that when he did the walkout in the UFC, he came out with
the Muay Thai
full
thing?
Muay Thai
Yes.
shit. Dude, with the Muay Thai headband,
I
the
love
Muay
it.
Thai, a bicep bracelets or whatever the
Oh,
fuck
yeah.
they are. Dude,
Traditional
full Muay
shit.
Thai garb, dancing and doing the Muay Thai thing. He was in the octagon and did, he went around the octagon and blessed
Doing
like
this?
Yes, doing that.
Doing this?
And Josh Thompson sitting there, and I talked to Josh Thompson since then.
He's
You know,
a
and,
killer.
Josh Thompson wrestled in high school, and he's a really good striker. He was fucking up people off his back. He was triangling people. We knew all about Josh Thompson. Gerald was not, he was not in the best frame of mind for that fight. You know what I mean? Because Josh Thompson was a fucking killer back then. He was a killer.
Well, he was in his prime back then. That
Yeah.
was Josh when he was one of the top like 5 or 6 guys
yeah.
in the division before the UFC.
Monster, man.
Yeah,
Before
so
the
Dennis-
UFC got rid of the 155-pound division, it was him and Eve Edwards.
Yeah.
And Eve Edwards knocked him out. That was like Eve Edwards became the uncrowned king.
So this is what happened. So luckily, and this is according to Josh Thompson. Told me, Josh goes, dude, I was so worried about his stand-up based on all that Muay Thai ritual stuff that when we saw the fight, my whole thing was how
Get
are
his
we
ass
possibly
down.
no. The whole thing was for sure Josh Thompson's not going to want to go to the ground with Gerald. That's where all his good shit is. He's fucking people up in MMA. All his fights up until the UFC was fucking people up with his jiu-jitsu. So how are we going to get the fight to the ground? We were thinking about pulling an elaborate, unorthodox guard pull. How are we going to do it? That's what I was thinking. I go, because 6 months, I go, I know he thinks he's Bangkok ready. That's 6 months, man.
Bangkok
you know what
ready.
I mean? So
It's a great t-shirt.
So
Bangkok ready.
Josh takes him down. And I'm sitting there thinking, what the fuck? Thank you. He takes Gerald down because he's so worried about his Muay Thai. And Gerald, dude, right away throws up a hellfire with his guard. He threw a lot of heat. It was pretty badass to see. But at the end of the day, first, he almost had him in an armbar. Josh pulls out. And then there's like a scramble on the ground. Gerald goes for a leg lock because he finally pulls out of his guard. And then Gerald was really good at leg locks. And he went for a leg lock. And then Josh Thompson hit him like in the back of the head and
Josh
knocked him
is a
out.
killer.
He
And
hit
that
him a
was one of
couple
those.
times,
Yeah, that was one of those going
what started
for
this
leg
off?
locks is risky.
What
Bangkok
started
ready.
this? No, what started this all off?
we're-
People that those coaches
Coaches.
that get these fucking people convinced
That they're
a
strikers.
killer in one particular.
You see it
area
in
where
every
they're not.
camp, though, because in every camp,
it
especially
happens.
if you have like a superstar camp, and this is coming from my own personal experience, you have a superstar wrestling coach, boxing coach, jiu-jitsu coach, you're spending your time with them. They want to see you win
With their shit.
With their shit.
Yeah.
Yes,
With their shit.
yes.
Even
And
my-
it's nice,
Even
it's
strength
nice,
and conditioning
but
coaches
the
go, you see the
W-
way he tossed them off?
The W should be number fucking one. It's nice when they win with some shit, of course. You're like, fuck that. You're like, you showed me that shit. That's always good, but it's all about the goddamn W. That's number
That's why
fucking
you
one.
gotta have like a head coach. You got to have a head coach that's not a striking coach, not a jiu-jitsu, like a head coach, like a Matt Hume. That's a
Yes.
head coach. Like when he works with DJ, they do everything.
Yeah.
They work on submissions together, spar together. They work on all these different techniques, and it's total technique and tactics oriented conversations and
How many
training
Matt Humes
sessions.
are there, though, in the world?
There's like 5,
If
but
that,
only one.
if
That's him.
that.
Honestly, this like in my mind, it's like if he's not number one, it's him and Faraz Zahabi.
I count 2 that can do it all.
Yeah.
That really know
Yeah.
the game in and out, can do a game
Yeah.
plan from standing to wrestling to grappling.
Yeah, I think those one guy might be better for you, one guy might be better for the other, but those are the top dogs.
There's 2.
because they're such wizards on the ground. They're wizards, and they could physically do it too. That's
Yes.
like a big part of it.
And plus, they know the transition. Like
Yeah.
sometimes if you go to a pure jiu-jitsu guy, you're like, dude, this isn't going to work. If I commit both hands to this, I'm going to get blasted in the face.
Do you remember when George Gurgel, he was a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu back when there was very few black belts, but then he wanted to stand and bang with everybody.
And that was his thing.
Yeah, became his thing, standing and banging, and that happens so often. It's so crazy, and it's so rare that a guy comes back and figures it out like Damian Maya has. Damian Maya tried it that way for a while.
Yep.
He got sucked
Yep.
into it, and then
Yep.
he figured
And
it
that's
out.
exactly-
beat up a
that's
few
exactly what
times.
Ronda should do.
And he took it to the, what's that expression? You go to the dance, what took you to there? What's
Yeah.
that expression? I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
You
I know what you're trying to
And
say.
what
I know what
happens
you're
is,
saying.
with a lot of I saw a lot of high-level jiu-jitsu guys come into the UFC that their hands are men's.
Yeah.
They're like, it's like a 3 striking, and they never evolved to that. Now the fucking striking is evolving quick.
We get Jacare.
Quick, Jack.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Quick,
Yeah.
you know.
It used to be that the only black belts that got to the UFC were like the guys that were only dedicated their lives to jiu-jitsu. They just started learning striking. You could
Like
tell.
Pei Depano.
You could tell, like, holy shit, they're just trying to fucking get some kind of clinch. It's obvious. But now there's so many goddamn black belts in Brazil now that it's not about. It's all about. Here's 100 black belts in the camp. We're only going to take the best strikers, like the fierce ones. The days of pure jiu-jitsu guys coming out and looking like this, they're long gone now. You can't get through the minor leagues with
Well, in a
striking
way,
like that.
your attitude is like, I got this. Right? Like,
Yeah.
my first 3 years in comedy, I didn't write shit. I would just go up on stage and do that New York shit. What
Just
do you do
wing
for
it?
a living? Yeah, it was 50-50. What do you do for a living? You do this. I got really good at it, but I couldn't make a living doing that. If I'm bombing, I could fall back to that shit and rock the house. I don't work that muscle anymore. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And when I first started comedy, I had to go on stage every Tuesday in front of the same fucking people. So you had to write a new 5 minutes. For 2 years, I did that. There was some weeks I couldn't do it. So I just decided just to improvise. I got so good at improvising. By the time I got to Seattle and started featuring, I was a really good improviser.
So what are you saying about how does this equate to fighting?
I don't improvise no more because I got it. When you first met me at the store 15 years ago, I would go on stage and do 7 minutes of material, and the rest was improvising. I thought it was cool.
Right.
It was chic, and when it works, it works.
But when it doesn't work, you got
it's
to
a
have
nightmare.
material. Right.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty good at it. I could really improvise pretty good. Do I still do it today? No, because you have to evolve. I could fall back on it, dog. I could fall back on my wrestling. That's my wrestling. That's my pedigree. When me and you, when I call you and I make you laugh on the phone, it's like that. I didn't call you with a script. When I call
Right.
you, me and you are talking about something.
Right.
That's not a script. That's me and you driving, getting excited.
Right.
I got that pedigree. I could rock that pedigree, but that pedigree isn't going to take me to the next level. You have to sit and you have to write and you have to evolve different things.
Yeah.
So I think that when I'm a wrestler, okay, I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I've been doing this since I was 18. I'm fucking 31 now. I've won Abu Dhabi, Dubu Dhabi, Nogi Pan Americans. I got this. I got this,
Two
Joe.
Atabi.
Yeah, I think there's
This
two
thing.
different styles of winners. There's the all-around guy like DJ, and then there's a guy like Anderson Silva that really, I mean, he might submit people, but it's so rare. And when he submitted Chael Sonnen, it's almost like Chael Sonnen gave it to him. I mean, that fucking armball triangle combination
God
wasn't
damn
even
it.
locked in. It wasn't even locked in. I mean, it was kind of over the calf a little. It wasn't clamped down. I mean, maybe Chael was so exhausted that he had a tap, but honestly, I mean, if you ask him, he was pretty honest about having like mental breakdowns in fights. He did it with Paulo Filho. Remember, same thing. Kinda gave him
Chael
his
said in
arm.
the Anderson Silva fight, though, he said going in, he goes, I know I'm going to get submitted. I'm going to get submitted. So when he was taking
Yeah.
him down, he's in his guard for like 3 minutes. He's going, it's just a matter of time. He's going to catch me. He's going to catch
That
me.
is
Against
so
who? Against
Anderson.
who?
Against Anderson.
Anderson Silva.
Well, he had been submitted a few times in fights that he was winning. You know, it's just the whole thing is, it's weird. But my point is, Anderson's never been like a great jiu-jitsu guy. He's a
Dude, he
good
tapped
black
out,
belt.
He tapped out Dan Henderson. Remember that?
Oh, he
choked
beat
him,
the
yeah.
fuck out of him before
First.
he tapped
Yeah, he
him.
rear
though.
naked choke.
I mean,
Yeah,
but
that
he
was
rocked
nice.
him.
It was a beautiful technique.
It was. That is true. He did get his back
And you know
choke
what?
him
I
out.
disagree with you on that triangle. That triangle was legit as hell.
Let's look at it.
Put that triangle
Chael
up.
Sonnen versus Anderson Silva triangle. If I remember it correctly, it wasn't fully locked in. There was a little bit of space.
It
and I
doesn't
felt
have to
like-
be fully locked in.
I felt like Chael tapped
It all
pretty
depends
quick.
on how much you're squeezing and leg curling.
It's true.
And he has long legs, so dudes with
That's
long
true
legs
too.
leave
It's a good
openings.
point.
To Joe's
But my
point, though, he was
is,
exhausted.
He's a goddamn. But my point is, Anderson Silva's a goddamn specialist. His specialty is Muay Thai. His specialty is striking. When you look at Anderson Silva's highlight reels, it's that front kick to the face on Vitor. It's that fucking knee to the body on Stefan Bonner.
That's his gift.
Like here. So here it is. He's
Chael's beating
on
the
top
brakes off
him.
him at this point.
Yeah, this is. Chael had a beautiful double, didn't he?
Yeah,
Jesus
he really
Christ.
did.
Best.
He
really-
drove in so hard on that double. He takes him down.
Shit, he fights in a couple of
This
weeks.
is the fourth round. Let's go to the end of the fight. Okay, let's see this.
This is where Chael stands up and sits back.
That's tight as fuck, dude.
Let me see.
That's tight as fuck. Oh, that's tight as fuck.
That's a lot tighter than I thought.
Well, when he finally got the arm
Then
bar, he opened up
yeah,
the leg because he
that's what it
looked
is.
like he was about to swing the leg
Then you
over
got
the
the
head.
arm.
I haven't seen that in a while. Go back
But
to that
right
again.
there, it's
yeah,
tight
it's
as
pretty
fuck.
goddamn tight.
Look, right there,
That's
it's tight.
I take it back, Chael.
When right when he gets the arm, that's when he opens up. Now it's a different thing. Now it's an arm bar.
Yep.
So he does
yeah,
like
there
that.
he
See
opens
that?
it up. Yep, that's right. So my point being, like, the best guys at one particular thing are pretty rare. Like the guys like an Anderson that is just so elite at striking that nobody wants to strike with him, or a guy like Damian Maia, so elite at jiu-jitsu that he makes guys like Carlos Condit look like they have no idea what they're doing. He gets you on the ground and he makes you look like a white belt. But so there's that kind of guy that can do that. Or there's a guy like Mighty Mouse although he's got really good submissions, you're not going to see that style at it. He's not going to be able to submit the best jiu-jitsu guys in the world at 125 pounds, most likely, in a jiu-jitsu match. Damian Maia probably could. Damian Maia has the potential to beat pretty much anybody he rolls with on the mat in an actual straight-up jiu-jitsu match. So you have two different styles. You have, like, that style of winner, which he's never won the title, and there's only a few guys like Anderson that have. And Anderson, in all due fairness, he won it, like, what, in 2005? Was that when Anderson became the champ?
Title?
Somewhere around there in the UFC? That's a lot. That might as well be 30 years ago. It's a totally different class of fighter.
The evolution of the game is so fast.
So
now.
fast.
Like
So
4 years
fast.
ago, we were in leather helmets.
Like, I would love to watch Tyron Woodley versus Damian Maia. I'd love it.
Fuck
I would
yeah.
love to watch it.
That would be incredible.
That to me is maybe one of the most interesting fights in the horizon for me.
Because so far, Damian Maia has been able to take down wrestlers at
Exactly.
170. He's been able to take them all down.
Yeah.
Like easy and just with beautiful technique. And but could he do that to Woodley?
And
Shit.
you gotta go.
I don't know.
You gotta go through the storm.
Yeah.
The storm of fucking meteors coming your way that Woodley drops on you.
Yeah.
Because he's the most dangerous in that first round. And when you're trying to take him down, you're closing the distance on him, and you haven't like figured out how fast he is yet. 'Cause he's not. He doesn't just hit hard. He's fucking fast.
I saw some just rumor, I'm sure, but Bisping was talking about it. Him and Woodley agreeing to a super fight at 180.
Really?
Bisping and Woodley.
Really? When did they agree to this?
I was talking to my brother this morning. He's like, "You see Woodley and Bisping want to do that catch weight at 180?" I'm like, "What?"
That's an interesting fight. First of all, can Bisping make that healthy?
That's what I was thinking
He's
because
a
I feel
big
like
boy.
85 is a tough cut for him.
Remember when he used to fight 205?
Oh yeah,
Won the Ultimate Fighter at 205.
Yep.
Wow, that's an interesting fight. Well, I think what Woodley wants is that big payday. He's like,
How could you not?
Yeah, I mean, he's campaigning for it. Look at this. Mike Bisping and Tyron Woodley agree to catch weight bout. This is as legit? So this just happened today? They just
That's on
agreed?
the internet.
What is the
Yeah,
name
where'd
of
you get
the
your news? The internet?
lowkickmma.com? Interesting.
That's Bisping's Instagram.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So,
Gangster weight, as Chael Sonnen calls it.
yeah, I like it. I like it.
But like to your point, Woodley just wants a big fight for a lucrative payday. That's
Yeah.
all. He wants the biggest name possible to get paid.
Yeah, smart.
That's the name of the game.
Yeah, and and Anderson back and that has still been calling for a rematch with Bisping too, because his fight with Bisping was so fucking close in England. He feels like he beat him. That was one of the craziest situations
That was so
ever.
weird.
He hits him with that flying knee, KOs him. I mean, Bisping was out. He went out. He dropped. And Anderson does a walk-off KO, and they go, not so quick.
It was so weird. It was so weird. No,
Watch
because,
that. Get a video of that.
Because remember, Bisping takes a break because his mouthpiece falls out, and he's like talking to the ref, and Anderson goes, "Yeah."
Ah,
Oh, that's right. That's
Remember?
right. He was trying to get the referee's attention, and Anderson flying kneed him
And
in the
wasn't
face.
the ref like coming in to stop it? Then Anderson did that flying knee. That's why the ref was like, "Hold up, no, that doesn't
Yeah,
count."
let's look at that.
It was a
trying to
weird
remember.
scenario.
It was a very weird scenario.
Bisping boxed his fucking face off.
Yeah,
though.
like he's saying something. It's Herb Dean.
Look, he's
and
like, right there, right there. Boom!
Oh,
Ow.
Jesus.
That was also the end of the round too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Jesus. Look at this again.
He's like, "Hey, let me get my mouthpiece." Yeah.
Oh,
douche.
boy.
Shit.
Oh, boy. So,
Damn.
look at this.
Boom!
That is such a crazy drop, too, the way you get hit.
You know what? I think he
Oh.
would have thrown the knee regardless, whether he looked to the side or not. I think he would have thrown it regardless. And it wasn't like Bisping put his hands down. He looked over, but he was still covered up.
Here's the
Ooh,
crazy
I don't know
thing.
about that. I think he was a little distracted there
Yes.
for sure.
Here's the crazy thing. Bisping comes back and wins that fucking fight and
How's he win that
boxes
next
his
round?
face off.
How's he win that next
He
round?
comes out I think that was the third round, right? He comes out that fourth round
I
and
know.
boxes his face off
Crazy.
like a fucking
What-
kangaroo.
Crazy recovery. I mean, that's
Crazy.
unbelievable.
His cardio is
recovery.
insane.
Yeah, because
Is
most
he-
people that get hit like that, that's it, man. It's
That's game over.
Yeah, it's game
It's
over.
game over.
I mean, his body shut off and he dropped.
No, the
like
power went.
gravity.
Give us a second. And we're back. Box.
Is he partially blind in one eye
Yep.
or completely?
Partially,
Like,
yeah.
But he could still sort
He's
of
crooked
see.
as fuck.
He can see enough where they let him fight. Yeah, I mean, he does those eye tests. They have to do eye tests. Apparently, what they did is they put some kind of oil in his eye, and that oil like protects his retina somehow or another, and that's why it looks so crazy. And once he's done fighting, then they'll fix it. But the problem is, like, if he gets it fixed now, and then he goes and fights again and tears it even worse. And then the other thing is, the more time he waits, the more advanced all this stem cell shit is getting. Like, they brought someone's vision back with stem cells.
A blind guy, right?
Yeah, someone was blind, and they injected stem cells in this guy's eye and brought his vision back. And that's today, 2017. What's it going to be like 5, 6, 7 years down the line?
I mean, Bisping may be retired by then, though.
I would hope he'd be retired in 3 or 4. I mean, I think he's 39 now, right? How old is Michael?
Yeah,
He might not be that old. I might be upping him up a bit.
Would say 36?
He might be 36.
He might be 36, 37.
37.
I don't think he has 3 years left.
Well, he might. Look, the guy's so fucking game. You know, Michael Bisping does not have any extraordinary physical attributes. Not that he's not a great athlete. He certainly is. Not that he's not a very good fighter. He certainly is. But
Cardio.
But if you look at a guy like Rumble, extraordinary physical attributes. John Lineker, extraordinary physical attributes. What Michael Bisping has is just toughness. Just game as fuck, toughness. Knock him out, he comes back, and he just keeps coming back.
He has no quit.
He has no
Zero
quit.
And he has great cardio.
There's no quit.
Amazing cardio.
Ryan Parsons says in the gym, he said he's never seen a guy that hates getting tapped and hates losing, exchanges more.
I've
than
never
Michael
seen anything
Bisping.
like it. Even just, you know how you do like your normal warm up, like if you're doing underhooks, just he's going 100% nonstop. Like how the fuck? Slow down.
Won him the
son.
title, man. Won
Oh,
him
I
the
know.
fucking title.
No, he's
And
a
he
Hall of
gets
Famer.
better and better. You watch him improve fight to fight.
Look at
Oh,
his
yeah.
boxing. His boxing's ridiculous, man.
It's very
He
good.
Remember when he was-
outboxed Anderson Silva.
Yeah. Knocked out Luke Rockhold.
Yeah.
Luke Rockhold
Left
looked
hook.
disdainful in that fight. Like, come on, man. What are you going to
He
do
was
to
pissed.
me? Yeah.
He's pissed he had to show up for that fight.
Yeah, he was like disdainful that was his challenge.
And then he got murked.
And he got murked.
And Bisping was shooting XXX19 in Toronto. I was like, huh? Yeah, I'll be down there in 4 days. Deuce, world champ. What a great fucking story.
It's the
and he's
best
been fighting
story.
for 10 years.
The best story.
I fucking love Bisping.
And then beats Dan Henderson in a close decision for this
That
fucking...
was a fucking
Crazy.
fight. You forget about that fight when we talk about fights of the year.
Oh, yeah.
That fight was so good.
so good.
And again, his cardio.
Yeah.
He landed the H-bomb twice.
Yeah, landed it.
That English zombie
boom.
popped back up and just starts fucking boxing. It's fucking crazy.
He's got nothing but heart, that dude.
So-
Listen,
so much
bro, I'm
heart.
going to tell you something. I had a funny feeling about Luke Rockhold. I didn't
dare
think
you.
Luke was taking it seriously either. I didn't.
How could you?
I
Bisping
didn't
on
think
4
he
days?
was. And I'm like, this
He
guy
already
has
beat
been
Bisping,
fighting
too.
for fucking years. All he needs is one shot.
But Bisping's not even a knockout artist. Like the betting odds for him to knock Luke Rockhold down in the first round, I have no
Well,
idea.
let me tell you something. If my daughter catches you with one of those swinging overhand punches and clips the tip of your chin, you got a problem.
Hey, Brian told me he went to this new boxing gym, and the guy's like, hey, you mind if this girl, he's going to kill me for telling the story. He goes, you mind if this girl jumps in there and spars some rounds? And Brian's like, sure. He starts moving around. This bitch is dead serious. And hits him with the right hand. Brian was like, oh, shit. He said he's like a little wobbled. I'm like, bro, if anyone catches you flush, man,
Yeah.
you're going to be in for a long night.
Especially the point of the chin, the way
Yeah.
Rockhold caught. And Bisping swung it over the shoulder. It was a beautiful left hook. He stepped in with it and just whipped it over the top. And it was something that him and Perillo had seen in Rockhold's game.
Perlow's coach of the year.
Very good coach.
Hands down, coach of the year.
That
Very
used to
good
be
coach.
Tito Ortiz's coach.
Yep,
He still is.
Still is. All right,
Yeah.
back in the
He
day.
worked with BJ. He's worked with a lot of guys.
BJ, Tito, Chris Cyborg, and Michael Bisping.
Yeah, he's a quiet guy in terms of like he's not out there trying to get a lot of publicity. He's not a attention whore. He's just an excellent boxing coach. Really knows his shit. I'm
as far as
impressed with that
boxing,
guy.
probably the best in the game.
Yeah, one of the best in the game, and good at adapting it for MMA too. You know, he understands MMA, and it's like it's like there's those camps that do it. You don't want to hear something fucking crazy that Woodley told me the other day.
Would love to.
I went to dinner with Woodley and Mighty Mouse and some dude and his wife who won they won some VIP thing, the UFC thing, and we met them. Del Grate and I had dinner with them. Woodley didn't have a fucking head coach. He coached himself. up until the Kelvin Gastelum fight. The Kelvin Gastelum fight was the first fight that he worked with Duke Roufus. And he was trying to figure out if he was going to go to ATT or if he was going to work with Duke Roufus.
I thought he was at ATT before all that.
His son. No, he never had like a head coach who go down there and do a camp.
What the fuck was he thinking?
Just talented and just figuring it out on his own. His son told him to go to Chicago.
How old's his son?
Or Milwaukee, rather.
How old's his son?
He was a little kid. His little kid told him he had the idea that his dad, you should go. He goes, and I got it. He goes, it was like 15 below zero. Got in my fucking car and drove to Milwaukee.
And look at,
then he won. He beat Calvin, and then he's won every fight since then and won the title.
This day and age, you have to have that head coach. You have to have all bases covered, man.
There's another guy.
You can't be distracted with this. You can't be doing this over here. You can't live here and then fly in just for your camp.
Yeah.
You can't decide to get serious 6 weeks before. The people are too good.
They're
But how
too good.
crazy is
Imagine
that?
the NFL did that.
Yeah.
Imagine if Tom Brady was like, I'm going to do this even though I'm in season. Then right before training camp starts, I'm going to get serious.
Yeah.
They can't. You just can't, man.
Yeah, and Duke's another guy that doesn't get enough credit because he's another guy that's pretty quiet. Like Duke Roufus is not out there trying to make a lot of noise and get a lot of people to pay attention to him. He's just an awesome striking coach.
Amazing strength coach. I think the reason why maybe he doesn't get enough credit with Woodley is because what's going on with Pettis.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
Pettis is in a weird state, huh, man? I mean, he can't fight at 145. He's just too weak.
not for him.
He just can't take it. You know, you watch that fight, and it's like, God, Max Holloway just beat the fuck out of him.
But look,
Yeah.
I don't get why he went to 45. You look at his losses at 55. It's like, it's not that bad. You're talking about split decisions. It's really not that bad. You obviously can compete in the top 5 there.
He definitely competed and could actually go the full distance while getting beat up, whereas at 45, his body was breaking down.
And he even said it. He goes, I did everything in my power to make weight. My body shut down. I don't know what to tell you guys.
Maybe he should just go fucking heavy. Just start strength and conditioning work. Start fucking, doing deadlifts and shit. Beef his body up. Because if you look at Dos Anjos, there's Dos Anjos before, like Habib Nurmagomedov, and then there's Dos Anjos afterwards.
You mean the USADA?
I don't know what you're saying.
You talking about the USADA?
I don't know
trying
who
to
you
avoid the
are,
USADA?
Johnny Hendricks.
I don't know who you are.
I don't know who you are. But there is absolutely a difference when a guy gets on a serious strength and conditioning routine, regardless of Mexican supplements. He went with Nick Curson, and Nick Curson, you ever see the videos of Rafael Dos Anjos and Curson working out?
Yeah, doing work.
Curson is a beast. He has guys doing crazy shit. He's got you doing all that Marv Marinovich shit where you got all this footwork stuff, and he believes in like foot strength above all plyometrics, all these explosive box jumps and shit, and all this crazy fucking burpees and all the nutty explosive sprinting back and
That's
forth
the
type
shit
stuff.
you need. Because
That's
for
the
a
shit
while,
you need.
I love that meathead shit. For a while, remember Carlos Condit was like climbing on trees and shit, and fucking
I had that
Connor
guy
was
in
doing
here.
all this weird stuff, and then all of a sudden, just the meathead movement is back.
The meathead movement, how so? Like in what way?
That training, that's
Curson's
like,
not a meathead. I wouldn't
No,
say
no, I'm not saying
that's a
that-
meathead movement at all.
No,
I
what-
think that's the opposite.
No. What I'm saying is that raw power, that strength condition, you can't make up for that by climbing
Right.
on trees and doing this weird yoga movement, all that shit.
Yoga movement
there's
is
room
good.
for that.
That's all good,
You,
but
it
you
can't
gotta
be your
able to move.
focus.
Yeah.
It can't be your fucking focus.
But Connor, what Connor's been able to do is develop like extremely agile back and forth movement, and I think a lot of that is that Ito Portal guy. I gotta admit that as weird as his stuff looks when he's flipping around doing all these jumps, if you can move your body like that, that's going to directly translate into your footwork and your movement.
I'd give more credit to his head coach.
100%. I mean, John Kavanaugh
As far
is
as
a
his
wizard.
movement. Oh, speaking of
That
UFC
too.
207, you know who the biggest winner is?
Who?
Conor McGregor.
How so?
He's the only star.
Oh, yeah,
He's the only mega star, and goes,
He gets all the stock.
you fellas want to you want to talk now, or what do you want to
Yeah.
do? Because I'm the only guy left.
Well, how about this? It's that, and then the next pay-per-view is Holly Holm versus Jermaine Durandame, which is it's a tough sell, right?
Tough sell?
And it's a
Fuck
very
yeah,
good
it's a tough
fight.
sell.
I would buy it as a hardcore fan.
I'll
but
buy it for sure.
for
but
sure. And we'll probably. But the
You
bottom
and me
line
and
is,
100,000 people will.
yeah, it ain't gonna be Conor McGregor numbers, right? Bottom line.
Conor, when she lost, and I'm sure he likes Ronda, but business-wise, he's like, excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, it's a
All the
tricky
chips are in his
situation
corner.
now with the marketing campaign that WME put together for this that was so Ronda heavy, and then Ronda gets smashed, And now, what are you going to do for? You going to like the girl who smashed Ronda? Is that what Amanda gets for her next title fight?
You do a press tour, world press tour with her. Like, let's introduce you to the girl who beat the shit out of Ronda now. She's not fighting. Let's do this press tour that she deserves.
So they try
let's do all this stuff.
Piggyback on Ronda again.
Yes.
And show the beating.
Well, she sort of retired two legends in the sport.
That's why she's my fighter of the year.
She retired Misha, and then she retired Ronda. If Ronda retires, that's huge. She retired both of them. All of a sudden, Amanda is Nate Diaz.
Did you see Kat Zingano posted on Instagram that Amanda blocked her? Because Kat Zingano stopped Amanda. And Amanda was hurting Kat Zingano bad in the first round. Real bad. Kat was in big fucking trouble. But she survived and went on to stop Amanda.
And I love Kat, but all fucking Amanda could do is be like, you lost to the chick I just beat in 17 seconds. What the fuck
but she got caught in an armbar. I mean,
how did Amanda lose that fight? I don't remember that.
She beat her down. She beat her down the third round. Kat got on top and started blasting her.
Did she kind of gas?
No. Well, she kind of gassed, but it was Kat is ferocious.
Kat's a monster.
Beat Amanda.
Yes.
You know that fucking scream? There's a recording of Kat Zingano screaming after she won that fight. And it's so primal, dude. It's like an animal scream.
I think you played it before on the podcast.
Yeah, because it was like when she did it, I was like, woo. There's some shit you hear.
That's it.
That's her.
God, dog.
Come on, man.
That
you
scares
can't
the shit out of me.
fake that. That's in your bones,
But that's
man.
after.
That's in your
remember,
soul.
that's after all that darkness she dealt with her husband committing suicide and just all this darkness.
Was that
How
before
long ago
that?
was that?
That was after
Afterward.
that.
Is that
So
that was
that
the
fight
fight.
was afterwards?
That was the
Play
fight.
that again, Jamie. Play that again. Listen to this shit.
Hell yeah. That's like when first time I did DMT.
Dog, that shit makes me nervous.
too.
That shit makes me
shit
nervous.
scares the fuck
She's
out of me.
fucking ferocious.
But Brendan, to answer your question from before, not to interrupt you, they're sitting on a fucking gold mine, William Morris now, with this fucking Amanda Nunes. I told you last night, she's part of the LBGT community, Jack.
Great
That's
story.
Deep fucking pockets, okay? That's
Excuse me.
deep
It's
pockets.
LBG. It's LBGTQA now.
Okay,
is
listen.
that?
keep
God
up.
damn.
What is that?
Got to keep up. Lesbians.
Okay, so she's
gays,
part of the LGBT
transsexuals.
community.
I don't know how
They just hit the
transsexuals get
fucking
lumped in
lottery
there.
ticket. They just hit the fucking lottery ticket.
Did
Asexuals
they?
are in there too.
Because they had Liz Carmouche before that.
But Liz Carmouche didn't beat
No.
up fucking Ronda
She was
Rousey.
still
Yeah, I mean,
lesbian.
it
48
helped.
seconds,
It helped, but Liz Carmouche
helped.
wasn't the champion. Like once you're the champion,
No, she's the champion, brother.
It's everything. And when Liz Carmouche fought Ronda, she fought her at the first fight when no one knew who Ronda was. So Ronda has all this hype behind her. She wins that fight, and then goes on. And Liz has done well in the UFC, but having that. It's not the same.
Oh, no, I agree.
Amanda's-
You know
I
what
agree.
Tanya
I'm just-
Evinger is? She
Yeah.
fights for Invicta. She's awesome. Have you ever seen her fight? Tanya Evinger?
Very tough.
I don't think so.
She is badass. She's an Invicta. She's super tough. She's really good. And she's openly gay, too.
And what weight is she?
She's hilarious, man. I love that chick. She's like 135. 135, 145. She's good, man.
There's going to be more. It's the same thing we were talking about, like when Anderson was in his prime, when he was just lighting people on fire. The division was like, there wasn't, you had like Patrick Cote. You had a couple of fights for the title. Talis Latis, where like, there's no
Rich Franklin.
Rich Franklin was the champ, but there's no overwhelming need to see that fight. You know what I mean? Like, you want to see the fight because I'm interested in see Patrick's got a great chin. He's got power. Let's see what happens. But it's not like, oh, here's the next one. It's like Cody Garbrandt fighting Dominic Cruz. You were like, oh, let's see what happens
Yes,
here.
sir.
There was no one like that for Anderson for a long-ass time. And I think in the women's bantamweight division, you got a kind of similar situation now. It's like now you have Amanda Nunes who beats the shit out of Misha. Misha's going to step back. She's gone now. She beats the shit out of Ronda. Ronda steps back. Holly goes up to 145. Holly's going to fight Jermaine Durandame.
They got to change that shit.
Why not
that
have Amanda
card-
fight for both belts?
How about
Well,
Amanda
maybe,
Holly
yeah.
Holm to save that card?
Fuck yeah.
I mean, make some moves. Because have you seen the card?
Well, no, Holly's
In
already on
Brooklyn?
that card. Holly's the headliner.
That's what I'm saying.
Holly's fighting Jermaine Durandame for the 145 pound
145.
I
fight.
think they should give Jermaine Demandjame
Nunes already beat her.
$500,000 to chill
Nunes
out.
already beat her, by the way.
They need it.
Nunes beat who?
I thought Nunes already beat
Jermaine Durand.
Yeah, she already beat her.
Yes.
Yeah. She beat her in the UFC.
Yes.
Yeah, Jermaine is a wicked kickboxer. She's a world class, multiple time world champion kickboxer. I think she won the world Muay Thai title several occasions. She's like really elite as a Muay Thai fighter.
fun fight.
But big gloves, stand up, always stand up. There's no ground. And as soon as she got in the UFC, you could see like that transition between learning the striking with takedowns versus just fighting in a kickboxing bout. It's a big transition.
It takes time too.
Yeah,
But
it
you're
takes-
also going
takes a
against
while.
people who aren't going to give you the time.
Exactly. They're just fucking shooting it on her and beating her up and taking her down, and it's just a different sport.
Who's
It's a
on
totally
that
different
card? I
sport.
thought the card was pretty good. It's in Brooklyn, yes?
Travis Brown is fighting Derek Lewis. That's an
Well,
interesting fight. But where's Travis's head at right now?
He's
You know?
training the same camp, isn't he?
Yes.
God damn it, Travis.
Yeah.
Holly Holm versus Amanda Nunes. That's the fight right there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think at 135, that's a fucking
They should
wild
do that
fight.
at this for this card.
No, make Amanda the 2-belt champion.
But then you have to remember that Valentina Shevchenko just beat Holly and beat
Holly's
her
coming
up
off 2
stand up.
losses.
Yeah, and Valentina beat her up stand up. That
Well-
check
Correct.
right
Oh,
hook.
well,
and
this-
that's
this
the fight
is
we should
Brooklyn?
see.
Yeah, they put
This is
those two
Brooklyn?
together.
Yeah.
They need help with this card.
The problem is most people, even though Valentina won, they don't know who she is yet. Even though she won. I mean, she needs a few more victories inside the UFC
this-
in order to get people excited.
No,
about
Is
it.
this
everyone-
pay-per-view?
This pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Brooklyn. The only reason people know Holly, too, is they don't know her past losses, really. They granted her fight was on Fox, but all they know is she's the girl that knocked out Ronda. That's what's selling this.
Eddie, bro, are you trying to say that this isn't going to get you last $60?
I'm just saying that
I will illegally stream it like I did the last one.
Amanda Nunes just fought for 45 seconds. She's fresh. Have her headline that card.
Hey, man, let's build her up. Where's
Yeah,
the
there's no
where's the
reason
What
for
are you
fire?
that.
talking about?
It's only
Where's
a
the
month away.
fire?
Is that the Super Bowl card?
Yeah.
Damn, I agree
No.
with Eddie. I
Super
agree with
Bowl
Eddie.
weekend.
That's a
No.
bad
Super
I'm
Bowl
not
weekend.
saying nothing.
That's
I'm
February
not saying
5th.
nothing.
Yeah.
I'm
Isn't
just
it?
saying.
No, Super Bowl weekend is in Houston. It's a different card.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, the Super
they
Bowl
changed
weekend
it.
one. I don't think they have that card locked up either. By the way, I think they're still moving fights around for that Brooklyn card because I think they recognize that they need a little bit more juice on that.
So
card.
I think
no
Amanda's
Super Bowl
perfect.
card in Vegas this year,
No, it's
It's
not
in
in Vegas.
Houston.
It's in Houston this year.
and the Super Bowl's in Houston.
Yeah,
Or is
it?
Super Bowl in Houston
No.
or Dallas? I thought it was Dallas. Is it Houston? I know
In
it's
Houston.
Texas.
Texas. So that's they'll have a big card for the UFC there. They don't
Hey,
even know.
man.
That's a great fight.
If you
All they
want my
have right
money,
now is Bermudez and Chan Sung Jung. That's a good fight. But what day is that?
that would sell 7 pay-per-views.
February
right now.
5th, 4th,
Super Bowl's on the 5th. This is
the
on
4th. Yeah, so
They need to
okay,
throw
that's
Amanda
a
on
fight
one of
night.
those cards.
I'm not
That's
there
it.
for that.
You need
That's
to
a
slow
fight
down,
night.
sir.
Jesus Christ.
That's
what
so
are we doing over
the
here?
fight. That's a Super Bowl card, and it's a fight night.
No, you
Wow.
gotta, what's the Super Bowl weekend?
Super Bowl week.
That's it.
February
Super Bowl
4th?
weekend.
It's not
The
the 29th.
The game is on the 5th.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
night
wow.
before. It's a free
Yeah,
fight
so-
night.
So
put it on
it's a free
Fox.
fight night because Super Bowl weekend. It's always been a pay-per-view UFC.
Yes.
It's usually been in Vegas.
and it's in Vegas.
Yeah, I wonder what they're doing, man. Well, you know what, man?
Who's
Look,
going to headline cards right now?
Dude,
Who
you-
would
you
sell a pay-per-view?
It's a good fucking question. There's no
There's a lot of
no
stars out
heavyweights, no heavyweights other than Stipe Miocic that can sell a big card right now.
And he has to
Kane-
sell it in Cleveland, too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stars out there. There's a lot of stars out there.
That would sell
In
a
the sky?
pay-per-view, Eddie.
Well,
Which
Name
ones?
one.
Serious.
And just, like, give me 3 and go.
well,
Alpha
Amanda
Centauri.
Nunes really didn't. I mean, she put in 45 seconds.
Robbie
they should,
Lawler's
they should
ready.
take advantage. There's, I mean, you want.
I'm talking about legit pay-per-view sellers.
Honestly, there's Conor McGregor and then there's everybody else, right?
Correct.
Right.
There was a thing that they showed the other day that Conor, in 3 fights, drew more pay-per-view than the entire UFC roster in 2014.
His 3 worst gates and pay-per-views of all time would beat Ronda's best and Brock Lesnar's best.
Yeah, he's the best. He's the biggest for sure. And
Am
anybody
I-
that
am
ar-
I- are you guys
I know
arguing?
No,
Am I
you're not. No, no,
arguing?
no. But some people
No, I'm
are.
just looking at you like this.
Dana's argued it, right?
Yeah,
That
he
Ronda
goes,
was a
Ronda's
bigger
biggest star, and Connor's like, no.
What Ronda is like, here's what's different. When Ronda's face came on the screen the first time in Vegas this weekend, I heard young girls scream. That's all I heard. I heard young girls. It was like Justin Bieber pulled his dick out. It was like,
How about that motherfucker's talking shit? How about Bieber's talking
I
shit?
know. He made
What
a
did he
tweet
say?
that said, you just got knocked the fuck out.
Hey, Bieber, sing your
What?
fucking songs
Yeah.
and beat
What?
it, nerd.
He's so silly.
What?
Yeah, that dude's so
you don't even write your
silly.
own music. What the fuck are you talking
What?
about?
That dude's so silly.
That's
What
what
a
I can't
fucking
stand. When people
douchebag.
aren't involved in the game, they say stuff like that. It's like, what have you ever done to risk your... What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Damn.
It got
What?
239,000 likes.
And it's because Ronda, she was at some concert or something, and her little sister wanted to meet Bieber, and he didn't have time. So then she got mad. Remember that? She was like, "Fuck Bieber." So that's where it stems from.
Oh, okay.
So he's like waiting, like.
Well, you remember when fucking Ronda got KO'd by Holly? Trump said, "I'm glad she got knocked out. Not a good person."
Trump talked shit again, didn't he? Trump did another tweet about Ronda.
About Ronda?
And he's the president of the United States.
No,
I'm pretty
Did
sure.
He really?
Yeah.
He is so crazy.
Check out his tweet.
He's so
Why
crazy.
was he mad at Ronda on the
Who
first time?
fucking knows? She might have talked shit about him.
Because she said, she goes, I would never vote for Trump.
Yeah, she said she was going to vote for Bernie
You're
Sanders.
the president of the United
And-
States, motherfucker. What do you care?
I know, right?
Hey, man, don't you have bigger fires to put out instead of tweeting bullshit?
Well, not only that,
He's
man.
not a politician, man. That's not what he is.
I know, right?
He's not.
He's not.
He's not trying to be. He don't even want to stay at the White House. Because I got to fucking
I
right
wouldn't
town.
either.
Because
He's like, look at this little place.
Fuck,
she was from
fucking
here.
Lincoln's bed.
Yeah.
I got a bidet. I got Chinese butlers and shit.
Exactly.
Get the fuck out of here. The White House and shit.
It's probably run down. I bet if you
Yeah,
go in there,
it's
it's probably
fucking
shitty.
worn
It's
down.
probably
Right?
like the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah,
You get there and you're like, what?
It's nasty. Mildew on the windows and shit.
You've been in the mansion, right? Didn't you come with me to
You
that
know what?
marijuana
I got
policy
tricked.
project
See,
thing?
when I first got invited to the mansion, I thought, oh my God, it's going to be just like those videos you see. They used to be those like commercials. And they
Girls
used to-
Gone Wild.
Girls Gone Wild,
Yes.
like Playboy Mansion. And you'd see like on E, you see the Playboy Mansion. You're like, oh shit. We get invited to an event there, and then you figure it out really quick that, okay, not every night goes off because there's like no girls there. They had giant screens everywhere in the backyard, playing loops of people partying on
Real
the good
cock
nights.
fest.
On the good nights, so you got to. You're
got
at the
to see
Playboy
people
Mansion, seeing people party at the Playboy Mansion, and then I looked into it, and it turns out they rent out the place like all the goddamn
All the
time.
time.
Rent it out all
And
the time.
there's not going to be. It's not like what you see on TV. There's only 2 times per year where it's that what you imagine, where they're just 80% girls and they're all in their
Their
underwear.
Halloween party.
That does happen, but it's only their Halloween party and their 4th of July or a midnight summer's Eve.
And that shit
Those
pops
are the
off.
good. Yeah, and then
Remember when
it's
we went to see-
impossible to get into those.
Eddie, you remember when we went to see fights there?
Yeah, they
we
had
saw,
fights
We
there.
saw Strike Force
Yes,
there.
that's
Correct.
right.
Brandon Thatch.
No girls.
Spot on that.
Yeah, dude, Thatch, man, that was a tough loss.
Yeah, it's probably over, isn't it?
Yeah, he just did
4 in a row.
not. He looked terrible on the ground, man. He was making big rookie mistakes and
Super
like,
amateur.
Yeah, it was like he was like leaving himself open. It wasn't patient.
It's
wasn't
heartbreaking.
doing it the
'cause
right
he is-
way.
I'm telling you, if you saw him in the gym, you're like, oh, like I've seen him against the best in the world. You're like, this motherfucker's gonna do it, man.
So what is it?
Commitment to the grappling. Commitment to grappling, commitment to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
He's
man.
just so good at stand-up. His dad's this legend in Denver as far as striking, and he was a taekwondo guy, and he trained him since he was little. And Thatch was always the it factor in the gym where you're like, dude, if you're staying with him, good luck. He could do it all. Both ways, whatever he wanted. He could mimic anything.
He looked good standing up too, man.
He's
Looked real
amazing,
good.
but just
and
on
he
the
made
ground.
the mistake of initiating the grappling. I was like, Jesus Christ.
And what hurts him even more, I don't know if you guys saw this with all the chaos going on with UFC 207. Their head coach, Leister Bowling, who's my head coach, and I think one of the best in the game, is retiring. He's leaving Muscle Farm.
Why is he doing that?
Because his kids in wrestling, and he lives far away. And he's like, dude, I'm spending too much time with the guys traveling stuff. He goes, in the summer, I had 3 weekends with my kids. He's like, I just can't do it. And his son, little Leister's like really getting competitive in wrestling, and Leister's his wrestling coach.
How far away does he live from the gym? Wow.
Like an hour.
That sucks. He should move closer. What the fuck?
But again, he's like, because he owns his own business. He makes crazy money. So he's just doing it. And it kind of got out of hand. He's like, dude, I'm spending too much time with the team and not enough time with my family.
He's a good dude too.
one of the best.
Really good guy.
One of the best.
Very smart too.
I'll tell you what I'd like to see. And I have no idea. I don't know if they've talked about this. I have no idea. But I'd like to see Matt Brown take kind of a leadership role with that team.
Really? And move that into like the next phase of his career?
I don't even know if he's into it, but I've seen him with the guys and with his mentality and experience. You're talking about a coach who kind of knows it all, like we were talking about with Matt Hume, who's been there. Be a good idea. I have no idea if he's even into it.
Yeah, it was interesting because Dwayne was working with Matt Brown for this fight. He worked with him for a few weeks. But I thought maybe we'd see more like footwork and movement from Matt that's like similar to Dwayne's style. But
Dwayne's style doesn't work that way. Dwayne, you have to be in and you have to spend a ton of time with him. And I really think he's the perfect coach for TJ But unless you're one of those small guys with that crazy footwork, he's not a guy you can go to for 6 weeks and pick shit up on.
But you know what, man? I agree with you. But do you remember when Travis Brown was first on the scene? Like when he fought Skyscraper? When
and he moved like Dominic Cruz?
Yes, that's what I'm
Because he's training
saying.
at Alliance.
That's what I'm saying.
The entire division was like, what the fuck are we going to do?
Yeah, well, what happened to him?
Edmund.
100%. Is that what it is?
100%. Think about all his fights since he left there. He was a
That's so
barbarian,
crazy.
man.
I always said that he was the dark horse in the division. I was like, let me tell you something. That this guy puts it all together. He can do some shit that you rarely see from a heavyweight.
Now, he went from Alliance to Winklejohn for a while? Or
Yes.
He was always at
No,
Alliance.
he went to Alliance, then he went to Jackson's and was good there.
Yeah,
Now he fought
Jackson,
Overeem and
Michael
those guys. Then Overeem stayed there, then he left. And then he ended up going to Edmund with Ronda. So, but same thing. I remember I forget what UFC it was. UFC one, I forget. Anyways, I fought Ben Rothwell. He was on the card fighting some scrub. And I looked at my coach and I was like, do you know about that guy? And it was Leaster. And he goes, a little bit. And I went, he's probably your next heavyweight champ. Have you seen the way he moves? I went, we don't want to fight him like down the road. We want to fight him soon because that guy has so much talent. He's probably the next champ. They're like, really? Then we saw his fight and everyone was like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, he has footwork like Dominic Cruz and he's a C6'7".
Yeah, I talked to Brian Stan about him, and Brian was pretty adamant about it. Like after the last fight, he's like, "Where's all his footwork?" He's like, "I remember this guy having incredible footwork and movement when he was at Jackson's camp, and now he's just kind of lost all of it. And he's become this
Stagnant, like
also
and
doesn't
he
look
has
like
great
he has the same desire anymore. Like when he knocked out Gonzaga or
Bingo.
Josh Brown.
bingo.
Yeah,
Josh
It
Barnett,
happened.
Josh
Barnett, rather.
who just got flagged.
Yeah, he got flagged, huh? What do you know what for?
Steroids.
Really?
Hey man, that guy, he's been flagged before, for God's
Yeah,
sakes.
it's
And I
a-
love Josh. Shit
bit of-
happens.
He's got caught a few
You know,
times.
the whole Edmund, somebody put a video out, pretty funny, about everybody getting knocked out. Edmund camp with a little flute like from fucking Titanic and shit, And it's fucking sad, Right before the Ronda fight, I had to pee. And while I was peeing, I said to myself, you know what, I can't call this fight, but what do I want to happen? Let this poor girl fucking win. Let her retire. Let Amanda Nunes.
She would
and
never
somebody
retire
else
if she won.
Whatever. I was hoping. I didn't want to see what I just saw again.
Yeah.
But why do
didn't
we
need
feel
to
that
see
way?
that
See, but you didn't
because-
see what you just saw again. What you saw was way worse.
Way
the
worse.
Holly fight, it was her trying to get Holly, but Holly was fighting wisely. She was sliding away, cracking her with shots.
It was
She
Ronda
got-
being Ronda.
She got hunted.
Yes.
Ronda got hunted down and destroyed by an assassin.
If I hunt,
Totally different kind of a
if
fight.
I hunt him down right now, if I get up and go and say, I have 2 seconds before his head adjusts and he realizes where he is. Even Eddie, if I get on top of him in side control, as big as and fat as I am, Eddie will go, fuck, I can't breathe. But, but after a while, you get it together. She didn't even get it together.
Yeah, but it's
She
all
had time,
the big difference is getting hit in the head.
Oh, I understand.
When
this.
getting
No,
hit
no,
in the
no.
head, she probably had no idea what the fuck was going on.
But it was like, but Joe, she just came from a training camp. Was her media scrum stuff like her training camp? Usually she's got little guys she's throwing around in training camp. This time I didn't see her throwing nobody around in training.
She
I didn't see-
definitely had judo work. She's definitely doing
I
a lot of
mean,
work. There was some footage that was up of
Did
her
she-
hitting
did-
takedowns
Did
and stuff.
she tell Edmund, I don't want to see nobody, I don't want to talk to nobody? Was her training reflective of her attitude towards the media and everything like this?
Yeah, there's
Something is not fucking right here.
That's what
When
I'm
she
saying,
got
Joey.
hit, Joe, I love you and I appreciate the headshot, but something wasn't there. I get shot in the head. I put my hands
think that's
up.
fair to say, Joe.
Something
Yeah.
was not
Could
there.
be. Could be.
Something was not there. That's why I feel, and the public, I mean, guys who really, you feel brokenhearted in a way.
But isn't that weird? Why do we feel broken?
I feel
I
brokenhearted.
do too.
I
which-
called you up the next morning and told you are
Yeah.
driving back from the airport.
Yeah.
And like, I'm brokenhearted.
Yeah, you were
because
devastated.
Me, everybody gets fired after Holly Holm. Everybody. I go back to the Japanese Cultural Center with Masaki down there for $7 every time.
That's not what made Ronda Ronda, though.
I
She's so
understand,
loyal.
But if she was so loyal, she wouldn't have left the guy that got her into the UFC, though.
What guy?
Who?
Whoever
You talking
the
about
guy-
the manager?
Yeah.
Nah,
whoever the
manager's
pitch-
different.
No,
Managers are
that's different.
scumbags.
But
That's
if
a
she was
different
so
thing.
loyal, she wouldn't have left him.
But
Yeah,
she's
but
had.
well,
and if
who
you-
knows what that deal is?
Yeah,
And
you're
if-
talking
right,
about
but if you
money.
listen to
That's
that
different.
story,
Nah,
there's two-
money's
right.
different, though, right?
But there's two different versions of
Yes.
that story. Well, I don't know who's right.
Right.
But and I feel I'm the same way. Where and for whatever
Something
weird
was
reason,
not right there.
I
that
agree
night.
100%, Joey.
Look,
And
the
for-
head punch is great, but something wasn't there, Joe.
Yeah, there's-
something wasn't there when she went to grab her.
Yeah.
Nunez went like this.
it wasn't
It's
the
also
same
Nunez
Ronda
is
that
good.
I
like
agree.
this, Joe Rogan, like this.
Yeah.
It wasn't the
That's all she
same
did.
Ronda that came out for Holly and those
No,
that tenacity.
brother.
Joey, you remember that time you told me you mugged that gay guy and he beat the shit out of you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. And he wasn't a gay guy. Yeah. Because I'll get in trouble now. What happened was guys that were thinking they wanted to be gay, like guys that had families and shit, that wanted to get their dick sucked, would have a few drinks in them. And they'd go to Hudson County Park to see if there was somebody there to get their dick sucked. Like before I went into your show last
be
night,
gay.
I parked. Sean just said, park in this lot. I didn't park in that lot. I parked in a lot that was empty, and when I was walking over there, some dude kept making weird eye contact with me. He wanted to suck dick. I don't taste down.
no. He looked at you. Could have thought you were big pussy from the Sopranos. Like, "Oh, you want to suck my dick? I know that look.
I know when somebody looks at me.
Maybe he's a fan of
because
his
they know me.
comedy.
I know when somebody looks at me because they see me from the podcast.
Joey's
I know
got
when
like
somebody
a
looks at
guide
me
in his head.
No,
What does that look
no,
mean?
No.
Suck
I
my
know.
dick.
I know exactly. I know. It's either he had two looks to him. Either he wanted to sell me drugs, or he wanted to suck my dick.
Okay, how'd you decide that it was dick?
How creepy it was.
Oh, okay.
Just his appearance. I don't want to say he looked gay.
Right.
But just his
he
appearance.
looked gay.
He was a male prostitute. Let's
okay.
pretend he
His
was a male
mouth was
prostitute.
watering.
Okay.
Okay, so
Anyway, so these guys.
these guys would come down and they'd be half drunk. Like in hindsight, I think about it, and they're all these type of dudes that may not just be gay. They just have a family, but
Right.
they like the gay. You know, it's
That'd be
1980.
gay, though, wouldn't it?
In 1980, it wasn't easy to go, I'm coming out of the closet. There was a lot of guys in. Let me talk to you about something. you ever been around the guy? Tell me the truth as a man. You ever been around the guy that when you get in your car and go home, you're like, you know what?
For sure.
I could definitely talk that dude into sucking my dick. He's dying to suck a dick. Even though he's got a hot girlfriend and a kid and they got a dog and he goes to fucking CrossFit. You could tell that maybe he could mingle
kid
on
and
the
a
other
dog.
side. You could talk him into switching governments if
He's
you
got
had
a
to.
kid and a
And a
dog.
dog. I know a lot of dudes like that you look at and you go,
living
something
a
ain't
lie.
right. This guy
Every
could
guy
suck
out
a
there
dick.
who, with a kid who's walking his dog is like, fuck, am I gay?
No.
Do I want to suck dick?
Maybe you have evil fantasies like Rob Halford in Hell Bent for Leather. You know that song?
but
You
Rob
do
Halford's
an
whole-
evil fantasy.
But he was gay as fuck.
No, I'm not saying that. I love Bob Halford. I love Rob
I do
Halford.
too.
But I'm just saying that
You got another thing coming.
there's a lot of fucking guys, dog, that you see, that you know. Maybe their dad's still alive and he was a Marine. You can't go
What the
home
fuck
and
does that mean?
You can't go home and tell your dad who was a general, I want to
okay.
suck dick full
I
time.
see what you're
Oh, I
You know what I'm
see.
saying? So
I
they
thought you were
play the
saying
game
like
for a
those
while.
guys, if your
They
dad was
play the
alive,
game.
he's a Marine, you want to blow guys.
Joe Rogan, you're an intelligent. How many guys do you think are out there right now? We've had this discussion
Millions.
that are married, whatever, but every once in a while they put a feather suit on and they go dance like in anything.
It's probably
And
more
that's-
than 10.
And that's what we used to, we used to go down there. We were dumb kids. We figured out we could rob these dudes that were drunk. They come down to get their dick sucked. So we bait them. We got the captain of police's son, so we weren't going to go to jail. He was better looking than you. We weren't going to go to jail. We put him out there. We put like a guinea T-shirt, those wife beaters, with a little gold chain with a cross on it and shit.
The ultimate cock tease.
And we put him out there on
That's
Boulevard
hilarious.
East, and then we'd hide in the trees. And then he'd go, I'll suck your dick, and the guy would park, and then he'd walk him back. And right before I went to get that one knee, I come up with that straight right kick, John Jones to the fucking nutsack.
God damn,
You go
Joey.
down. We're in the trees. We're hiding in the trees.
Fucked
We
up
fucking
shit.
fly down from the trees. And we just bam, bam, bam. We take your money. We run. We're 16 guys. Nobody fucking knows what's right and what's wrong.
Not that
My mother. No.
Perfect guy
And
to
I was-
rob. Who's the
and
guy?
I
The guy's
was-
not going to the
He's not
cops.
going to the cops. And you got to remember, my crew was the third crew on. There was a crew from 64th Street. They were not only robbing you, they were taking you to your house. I had friends that were in high school that actually were setting you up. Yeah, let's suck your dick. And then they put you back in your car and go to your house and rob you. We were the light crew. We were just going down there peppering you with a few shots and running away
Ain't
with you.
nobody
So,
getting their dick
my
sucked.
point about the story was there was one time where
I got beat up. I went down there by myself.
You went, you
I
went
went down there by
there.
myself. I had the
Yeah.
Knicks minus the 8.5, and I only won by 8. So I got caught by the hook, and I called my buddy, and I go, dog, we lost. And he goes, I'm with my girlfriend. But at the time, I was yaying it up. I'm hanging out with my buddies. We're hitting the bag. I go down there. I go down there, dog. I'm from Jersey. They ain't gonna do nothing to me. This dude lit me up. It could have been Nunez's uncle. It could have been a man that Nunez's uncle. He punched me with so many shots. But again,
He lit your ass up
lit me up.
and had a rock
But here's
hard
the-
boner.
But here's the funny thing that in hindsight now, I know what Joe's saying, levels of striking. I never saw striking. It was nighttime, so I didn't even see his hands. I just kept seeing lights. You ever seen lights? I just kept seeing lights. When you see lights at night, that's fucked up.
The motherfucker had some training.
You know, it's a funny. There's a funny thing about striking too, and this relates to what Amanda can do. There's power, and then there's like whoa power. There's like crazy power.
God gifted power. Yeah.
Some people just have it, and you see it with Lineker. Lineker for sure has it. Rumble for sure has it. There's people that have this weird power. They have an ability to hit people, and you see people that normally can take a shot, and you see the look in their eye where they're in big trouble, like right away. And when you get hit like that, man, you don't know where the fuck you are.
Now, let me ask you this: in jiu-jitsu, every black belt knows how to do a rear naked choke, but very few people can do a rear naked choke like Marcelo Garcia.
Right.
You know, very few people. I mean,
Why?
if you just, it's because would you say it was natural like Lineker, or was it because he spent a lot of time perfecting the back? And I know for a fact that he did. He used to ride on people's backs with the over/under and not even try to tap them. He would just spend a lot of time just riding and perfecting the control. Then he just mastered the fight. Then he realized how important that squeeze was, so that he would ride and squeeze, and he knew that it was all about the power of the squeeze. So he spent a lot of time with the rear naked choke. And you know, there's quite a few guys out there now that are you know, his students and other guys that have developed back attacks is almost as good as Marcelo, but probably not as good. Now, when you're talking about power, you know, certain guys have the power whether they're born with it or not. What if the guys with the power actually in their training working harder and more consistently at developing power? Like, what would you need? Like, you got to.
It's that.
I mean,
That is a possibility, but it's also a physics issue. It's also an anatomy
What
issue.
if it's both though?
It might be both, but
It
there's
has to be, right?
It is like, okay, here's like Cody Garbrandt does not have big hands. He's not built like a George Foreman type character. Like George Foreman has freakish physical attributes. He's got hands that are like the size of like canned hams. They're fucking gigantic. And he would just thump guys with a jab, and you would see them get stunned and hurt. Obviously trained like a motherfucker. Obviously had very good technique too. Obviously worked on all those things too. But you can't overcome the physical attributes if a guy does all those other things as well. That's where the freaks come in. That's where the people like that just have this ridiculous one-shot power. But there's technique.
Look
There's-
at Connor. Connor's not a big guy. He's a wide shoulder guy, but he has that one-hit quitter.
yeah, no question.
No,
But when you think about your turning sidekick, right? Like your personal turning sidekick, it's everybody knows now that it's extremely powerful, scary powerful. Very few people. I've never seen anybody throw a turning sidekick as hard as you. I've worked with a lot of martial artists in my time, still to this day. Holy shit. Michael Jai White, excuse me, he's right up there too, but he's like 6'4", 240. Anyways, but you have said many times that the secret behind your power was the reps. You knew that it was all about just hitting that heavy bag as many goddamn times as possible every day, just standing in front. And you said that most people don't develop that power because most people just don't spend the time standing in
kick
front
the
of a
bag.
bag and just working. So that must
It's also
mean
the way
every,
he's built, though.
Well,
Yeah.
that too.
Listen,
that
man,
too.
there was a lot of guys that I trained with that had good turning sidekicks. I always knew that I had a cheat. I had a physical advantage. Like the size of my hands for someone my size. I mean, you have to realize I had hands as big when I was fighting at 154. It was ridiculous. They were just
Certain physical
odd.
attributes you have.
The width of the shoulders is big.
But that has
Like,
nothing to do with your turning side
It does.
kick.
It does.
Your
'Cause it's in the
fists.
hips too.
His
It's the same
hips
thing with
and
my
his
hips, my
legs and his
knees,
ass.
No,
my
no,
ass,
okay.
all the
Explosive.
It's also
It's
like
that
the
and-
fast twitch
I agree.
fiber. Whether
Well,
you
that's
have
when
it
you
or
get-
not.
coincidence? Is it
No,
a
but
coincidence?
that's when you get greatness.
Power's a lot of it is fast twitch, and you either have fast twitch or you don't. I mean, like Nick Diaz is a hard puncher, but he's never going to be a puncher like Woodley.
But
No matter what he does,
matter
who
what
he
he
trains
does,
with, it will never
he'll
be.
never
him.
be able to
Whoa,
punch
let
like
me
Woodley.
ask you a
your
question.
average MMA fighter, how much time do you think they spend working on the power of their turning sidekick?
Very
average
little.
guy.
Very
Well, no one really throws a spinning sidekick in the
Very
UFC.
few, then, right?
Well, there's a few
Rare.
guys. There's a few guys that do it.
That have allotted a certain amount of time a week, like for 20 minutes. I'm gonna.
Yeah, but
on
to your
Mondays,
point,
I'm gonna do
power.
it.
How many guys focus on throwing a right hand or left hand if they're dominant left-handed or southpaws?
Right. It's
Everyone
true.
does. There's very few who can do it in one punch and knock guys
And now,
out.
Right.
do you know fighters that specifically train every day just to develop specific punching? Like today, I'm
Power
going to spend
punches.
power punches,
Yes.
right?
in
Every day?
between camps,
sure.
guys do that for sure. Guys will just like go, like George was famous for doing that. He would go down to Henzo's and just only train jiu-jitsu for like months on end, just to really tighten everything up. He went to Brazil a couple times just to train jiu-jitsu.
Arlovsky would do it in boxing. I would do it in boxing.
Yeah.
Vitor
So
does it.
what's the best thing you can do? Like you're a professional fighter, you're fighting in the UFC, you're ranked 13th, and you want to take your power, your hand. You want to be able to knock someone. You want to have that Conor McGregor strength. What do I got to do to get
lift weights?
Yeah,
What would you do
I
to
don't think
develop
so.
punching powers?
I don't think so.
I
don't
think
it's a
it's
lift weights thing.
genetics.
Yeah, it's genetics.
I think
You
genetics
think
has
so?
a lot to do with it.
Giant
but I think
amount
you
to
could,
do with it.
90% of it.
if you go see somebody, they could clean up the efficiency.
Yes,
because
sure.
it's your shoulders, turning
Yes.
your shoulders.
Yes, there's
putting
a
your
lot
hips
of
into
technique
it. There's
in
a
it.
lot of stuff
Yes.
that goes into that punch. If a wrestler, a world champion wrestler came in, and I came in, and I was a world champion wrestler, but my punches weren't that hard. I think in time.
Look at
you
what
know,
do you-
all
what do
these-
you do
all these are
specifically?
true, but let me tell you something. You talk to someone who's a real boxing trainer,
Okay.
and they will tell you that there are guys that just come in and for whatever reason, they might not have ever boxed before, but you have them throw a jab and they're like, blah! And you're like, oh, Jesus.
Can't teach that.
Just
for sure,
whatever.
For
Just-
sure, there's those people.
And then
there's
the
no denying
technique
that.
makes it better. You know, the technique, like if you look at a guy like Sergey Kovalev, who's a vicious knockout artist, vicious puncher, he's got both. He's got the beautiful technique, but he also has that freakish God-given strength.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that oftentimes wind up being champions.
Now look to that point. Look at Andre Ward, who he just fought, who
Doesn't have
probably
it.
trains more than Sergey. He was an Olympic medalist, gold medalist, has been fighting since he was 10, I think.
So you're
and
saying
he works on power punches, but he's not a knockout
So you're
artist.
saying you're a head coach of a team. You would tell all your fighters to you're either born with power or you're not. Don't worry about working on your power. Just work on
No,
your
I wouldn't- I
just
wouldn't
No,
work
say
you
on-
can
that.
always work on your power,
But
Eddie.
like
You
what-
can always improve everything, but you're never going to get it to that Rumble level.
Like
I'm not
I'm
saying that.
never going to
I'm
tell
not
Rumble,
saying
hey,
that.
let's pick our shots here. Let's more
No, I don't think we're
more
even arguing.
volume. Yeah, we're not arguing.
What can you do specifically? 15 minutes a week, 30 minutes a week. We're focusing on developing power. You're not known for a right
Every
hand.
coach does it
After
already.
2 years, we're gonna do. What is it though specifically? That's
Go in
all
the
I'm asking.
pool with dumbbells like Muhammad and just throw punches. in the pool. That's
that
You
the
could,
best
you
way?
could,
Is
you
that
could
the
most
best way?
certainly do some strength and conditioning
Tons of
work
stuff.
that would help.
Just
but
hitting a bag.
Hitting a bag would help a lot. Hitting
Nothing
a
but
bag,
power shots.
maybe it's all the above will help. Like Evander Holyfield started working out with Mackie Shilstone when he went up from cruiserweight to heavyweight, so he did a lot of weightlifting, and his power
Put a
came up
lot
with
of
him.
weight on, though.
Put a lot of weight on, and maybe Mexican supplements.
Yes,
maybe
and he's also
definitely-
explosive.
and maybe definitely Mexican supplements, and
He was
maybe
shredded.
100%.
100% he was. And he could win the Olympia
Yeah.
at the same time. Yes.
But the guys who are like, there's a good video of Joseph Valtellini on his. Go to Bazooka Joe Valtellini on his Instagram page. Valtellini, who was glory champion, had to step back because of concussions, and I think he's going to stay retired. He hasn't decided yet, but
That's smart.
he went down on the top. I mean, he's one of the best kickboxers in the world. But there's a video of him hitting the pads and just digging into pads and talking about like the importance of sometimes just going all out with power, just all out power shots on the pads. Like watch, you can see this guy. And when he's doing it, when he's hitting these pads, the good thing about it is hands never drop from his chin, always good position. But to really dig in and work only solely on your power, you don't want to do that all the time. Like, this is just something that you're going to do occasionally, and only, every
often?
athlete has to decide. It really depends on the person, depends on what else you're working on.
5 minutes a day?
See, but like this combination, these are so simple combinations.
All
like
power.
right hand, left hook, right kick.
To develop
left
power,
hook,
is it,
right kick.
isn't it
Boom.
better on a heavy bag than as opposed to these
Not necessarily. That's
Just
just as
depends.
good. That's just as good, that style, but that's not as good for straight kicks because you can't kick a person to the body that way.
Yeah.
Like if I put a body pad on a dude and I spinning back kick him, he's going to get really hurt.
Yeah, that's not
like I'll
fun.
break your ribs.
Yeah.
Even with one of those big body shields on it, if you let someone spinning back kick you in the body, it's going to break your ribs.
There's some punchers too. If they do a liver shot on a coach with a body
Yeah,
pad, they'll
drop 'em.
Yeah, they'll drop them. Internal
Yeah.
bleeding.
I
They
heard your
hit so
boy used
fucking
to
hard.
fuck up mitts, dog.
Yeah.
The dude who lost, who was the first boxer that got choked out in the UFC?
James
James
Toney.
Toney?
I heard that dude.
Oh, he could fuck some mitts up.
Oh, people
James
say
Toney.
pound for
coming out
pound
of
most
him and
talented
shit.
of all
James
time.
Toney
Yeah,
is a
because
fucking
McAfoley,
artist.
rest in peace. He said, "Dog, you got to put extra. He will fuck your shit up."
He was an
that dude.
artist
Oh,
when
it-
he was at his best. He was an artist.
If you talk
James
to anyone
Toney.
from that national team, they'll say who's the best boxer, most talented of all time. Every single person unanimously says James Toney. Even Floyd Mayweather's like best we've ever seen. Talent-wise, James Toney.
He was a bad motherfucker, but
Freak.
He liked to eat.
He loved him some fucking Big Macs. That's a problem.
He got thick. He went all the way up to heavyweight. Remember that? James Toney started out his career at 160, 168.
Freak. Super
Yeah.
freak. To that point, though, Eddie, and we can end on that, and I'll get rid of it. But look at baseball. Like Mark McGwire, he's never going to be a single base guy. He's a fucking guy who's a douche
Also, but here's
every
a good
time.
example: full of Mexican supplements when he's at his best.
True.
If you get that guy on the natch and had him hit a baseball, I mean, how much distance is the difference
So
between
he might
him?
hit 30 home runs instead of 70, but still,
But I mean-
it was in his genetics.
Right.
Big forearms,
Got it.
powerful hips, follow through. He was never going to be the guy who would bunt the ball or lead off.
Right. Sosa, same thing.
Same thing. Barry
Jacked.
Bonds, jacked to the
Jacked.
gills.
But that might not necessarily translate into punching power, which is really interesting. It's like they might just be really good at that. I mean, it's like punching power is a weird one, man. It's a real
Let me
weird
ask
one.
you something.
Kicking power is just as
you think
weird.
Elway could hit hard? Because that motherfucker could throw hard.
Again, that
Again,
movement
that
from the
movement.
hips, all that same movement.
Oh, they said that they had a documentary on the '83 draft, 30 for 30,
Hells yeah.
and how they fucking slammed him. How they had to scam him up, like they had to pull. Steinbrenner had to draft him because he didn't want to go to Baltimore.
Yeah, he didn't want to go to the
fucking
Colts.
Tremendous shit, kinky shit. But bro, this dude could stand on the warning sign. That's a true story. He could stand on the warning track, John Elway, take one step, and put the ball right there in your glove at home plate.
Really?
That's deadly
No,
shit.
there's a
Really?
receiver. There's a
Oh, you have no idea.
There's a receiver.
How far is that?
Let's say 305, 305 feet.
305 feet, and is he throwing? Is it going up in the air, or is it a straight
Straight.
line? Just a bullet.
bullet.
You have to throw so fast for that ball not
Oh
to
my
drop.
God.
You have to watch some of the 30s
He's a
to
freak.
30s from, or like that. It's very interesting how he didn't want to play for Baltimore. So somebody went to Steinbrenner's office and they said, "We'd like for you to draft John Elway." Steinbrenner goes, and he opened up the schedule for the lineup for 3 years later. He had Elway starting in right field already.
Here's why that's crazy. Here's why being able to throw from the warning track into home plate is crazy. If you took a baseball and you threw it and you shot a bullet, they would both drop at the same rate. So the bullet's only going to be in the air for a few seconds. That's why you could be 200 yards away, put your crosshairs on someone, pull the trigger, and then boom, they die immediately. It's because the bullet's traveling so fast. But the drop is the same amount of time. So it depends on how long it takes to get there. It's how far it's going to drop. So like if you're shooting something from really far away, like there's a lot of people that get into long range shooting. Like they go on those ranges, they'll hit these plates, these steel plates that are like 500, 800, 1,000 yards away, and you hear bang, clink. Like there's a delay, a noticeable delay. And in that delay, they have to calculate the drop. So like if they're shooting at that plate, their reticle, where they aim, it has to adjust for the fact that this bullet is going to drop in the amount of time that it takes to get 800 yards.
So they aim higher.
Yeah, so it's going to take a second or so, or half a second, whatever it is. So they have to aim higher so that its scope adjusts for that. if you're throwing a baseball, imagine how much slower that is than a bullet. So you have to throw so fucking fast. If you're throwing straight, if you're just gonna throw straight,
Silly.
and get into home plate, that motherfucker must be throwing a bullet. I mean,
no idea.
it must be
Listen,
crazy.
You know his receivers in Denver.
Yeah, the first 3 years couldn't catch the
They
ball.
couldn't catch the ball. They would catch with their pads, and it would be so hard. It would leave imprints underneath their pads on their chest.
Damn, like people were
Crazy. And that's a known skill that some people just never develop. The ability to throw a fastball. That's another one. It's like punching power.
We discussed it last
Yeah.
time. The dynamics of it.
I'll
the
tell you
Louis
who
Tiana,
I think it translates from. If he threw a punch, a guy who was explosive as fuck and could throw and do it all, Bo Jackson.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Bo Jackson can punch. If you taught Bo Jackson how to punch, but look, here's another example: Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker could punch like a motherfucker, and he was a karate black belt. I mean, he fought a bunch of MMA fights deep into his 40s. Remember?
Whooping
For
dudes'
strike
ass,
force.
too.
49.
And jacked at like 48, shredded,
Super jacked.
giant six pack, not an ounce of fat. Looks like a superhero.
Looked like Yoel Romero, but aged as
And
fuck.
didn't look old. It was weird. Real weird. He still looks good. He's in his 50s now. He's talking about having one more fight before he stops.
Yeah, let's not. But yeah, I hear you.
But why not?
Hey,
Go
man.
to some small
Ryzen?
league.
How about fucking Ryzen?
Oh, my
Did you
God.
see Gabby Garcia
I
beat up
did
that
see.
grandma?
I was gonna post it. I got the video. I was just gonna post what the fuck Japan.
Have you guys
And then
seen it?
Then I thought about it. I go, I can't do
It
this.
She was
Fucking-
running. The chick was
the
running.
fuck was that?
Can we see that?
Yeah. Do you know where it is, Jamie? I'm gonna
I
put
gotta
it up.
pee real quick.
Go ahead. I'm
I
gonna
gotta
put
pee
it up.
myself.
I'm gonna put it up on Instagram, Jamie. And when I put it up on Instagram, I'm just gonna put it up.
Have you seen this,
and,
Joey?
And I'm
I
gonna write.
saw the
You know
beginnings
who
of it today. What the
Gabby
fuck? I know
Garcia
Gabby
is?
Garcia is, sure.
Fucking huge.
Here, I'll
She
put it up
fights
right
a
now.
straight up grandma. She comes out and is doing like the WWE off the rope stuff as she's coming out like it's a game.
You know, my girl Jessica tapped fucking Gabby Garcia.
Jessica who?
Flowers.
Oh, really?
She did?
Yeah, bro.
How?
In competition?
In competition.
Oh, at Worlds?
Jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, yeah.
Jiu-jitsu.
Okay, I just posted it. So if you go to my Instagram, Joe Rogan, you'll see it just says, "What the fuck, Japan?" WTF Japan. And you see this one woman towering, jacked to the tits. Looks like Jose Canseco in 1984.
Oh my God.
Look at that old lady.
And
What
she
the
fought a 50-year-old woman who looked like she hasn't worked out in a year. And she looks so scared.
Can we get a GoFundMe so she doesn't have to do this shit?
Well, that woman looks so scared too.
Hell,
like, go
I'd be
back-
scared.
Can you refresh that?
God.
Oh, look, she knees her in the body. Oh my God, and punches her in the face. I mean, and mercifully, Gabby Garcia is not the most vicious striker in the world.
Not the friendliest.
Well, she had to do what she had to do. She's getting
Why would you
paid.
take that fight?
Gabby? For
Yes.
easy cash.
I
Look,
understand
she beat
easy
the shit
cash,
out of
but
that lady.
God.
And look at this
Damn.
poor lady.
Well, that must
If
have
she,
been
like,
some.
move to North Hollywood and give massages or fight Gabby Garcia. Look at this poor lady. They told her, you can either fight her or go to North Hollywood and suck dick. And
I don't even think they give her the option. I think they just delay the trip to North Hollywood. Watch this. Look how scared she is. Look at her big, deep breasts while she's looking at Gabby's body.
She's
and
all-
Gabby's like 6'4". She's legit 6'4", probably 240.
All natural.
Oh, totally natural.
And this grandma.
Because all steroids are natural. They all come from Earth.
what
she-
the fuck is going on, Japan?
So
what
crazy.
are you doing?
So crazy.
Why is that grandma even in there? And
It's
if
so
I'm Gabby
rude.
Garcia, I'm like, I just can't, man. I'm gonna win no fans if I do this.
Well, I don't think most people have seen this.
I bitch got the Sakuraba knee braces on and shit.
What is the reason why she did it? This lady, you gotta wonder. Look how scared.
She's
She
scared
shook,
right now.
She shook her hand after it's over, and maybe she was a pro wrestler or something.
Yeah,
It's one of
I
those-
think she was a pro wrestler.
they probably gave her a big ass payday to lose a few years of her life.
What the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck indeed. That was what the I will say this. That's the worst Japanese freak show I've ever seen, because that was a woman who did not belong.
I'll
in there
say
at
this:
all.
that's the worst fight I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's the
matchup.
worst.
That's the worst,
The worst
I've ever
matchup.
seen ever.
The most brutal
Ever.
mismatch ever. Yeah. It's horrible, man. Horrible. Why? But Gabby's a
evil shit.
jiu-jitsu black belt. Why didn't Gabby just grab a hold of her and choke her? I mean, she could have easily and not even hurt the old lady.
People will pay to watch anything on New Year's Eve.
I know, but I mean, if you're Gabby, if you're Gabby and
They
you're
don't
looking
give a
at that,
fuck.
if you're
If I
Gabby,
called you up and said, listen, I know a guy that wants to fuck his dog. You want to come over for $5?
New Year's Eve?
New
Yeah.
Year's Eve?
I'm
You
there.
know what?
New Year's Eve, I
Fuck
get a
it. As
little
long as I
weird.
make it to where I got to go to by midnight, I'm solid.
Did
I
you ever
agree.
see one of those videos when you were a kid? Did you know anybody that had like a VHS of like Barnyard Betty?
No.
Faces
You never
of
saw
Death.
What the
those?
fuck's Barnyard Betty?
No.
My friend Billy, when I was like 20, I guess, got a VHS tape of this chick that got fucked by animals. And we went to his basement. He had to hide it, so he had to like go get it, and then we had to meet down the base, and then one of us had to watch the door,
a process.
so that no one would, one of the parents so one of us was like on the stairs, like looking down, the, like railings in the basement. There's like the fucking gap between the stairs
Yeah.
and the railings. So I don't remember who it was, but he was like on the stairs, like watching the TV through the gap because he had to be the guy with his arm up in case the door opened. Because we're watching this chick blow a fucking dog and blow a horse and get fucked by a donkey and all this different crazy shit. But
Same lady or is multiple
I don't
women?
remember. It was so grainy and so hard to tell, but it was real. I mean, she really was like letting a dog fuck her. She was like letting a pig fuck her. It was horrible. It was horrible.
I mean, I remember Faces of Death. I remember I couldn't even finish it. I was so scared.
Yeah.
Do you ever see?
I've seen them all.
You've seen them all.
Remember the one when they tied the dude between two trucks and pulled him apart?
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, it was in the Middle East.
Yeah, I didn't get that one either.
tired-
You had that X-rated shit.
I took it
I
all.
remember the one with the guy the newscaster that was walking backwards and the alligator got him. One minute he was
really?
like, "We're here at the here live at fucking Clearwater, Florida, to see the raining of the ducks." And the guy's going deeper
Whoops.
and deeper and deeper. Yeah, all the children are here, and all of a sudden just see the guy go, fucking, and they're like, stop it! And somebody comes and throws a blanket, like a leg pops up.
Oh my god.
I
Somebody just
remember the
came
guy
and threw a
hang
blanket.
gliding, and he had like the camera, and he's hang gliding, and just goes into that fucking swamp, and then just crocodilas.
Oh Jesus Christ.
The one with the guy hanging the power. You ever see when you're driving and those guys are hanging the terminals and they show the guy doing something and a bolt just blowing him up and him just like and like his hair going on fire and him just dropping.
Dead.
God,
Like they showed the monkey in China where you go to the restaurant
And you
hit
hit
the
the
monkey
monkey
in
in
the
the
head.
hammer.
I don't
with the
like
head.
that
I
shit.
remember
Oh,
that
yeah,
one. You hit
yeah.
him in the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awful.
How
Yeah,
about
it was-
that one satanic ritual where they
That's
supposedly
fake,
ate?
though.
That was
Yeah,
fake.
That one's fake. There was a few of those that they did where they staged stuff where they pretend pulling out the guts. But
and
it was
then they
like
started
it looked
eating it.
fake and
Yeah.
cheesy. But that poor monkey was really screaming, man. They were hitting him in the fucking head.
God damn.
That's a hard
Brutal.
thing. That was
Horrible,
before.
horrible,
But by the
horrible.
way, that's all before they knew that eating primate brains is like super bad for you.
Is it?
Fuck yeah. Primates have prions in their brains. That's where you get mad cow disease. Like mad cow disease or Jacob Creutzfeldt, however you say it. That disease comes from eating the same tissue as the species that you are. So that's why cows get it. Cows get it from eating brain tissue of other cows. Like you feed cows that's one of the horrible things about industrialized farming is they would actually take whatever the fuck is left of the cow they're not using and they grind it up and feed it to fucking cows. Cows that are straight vegetarian that are only supposed to be eating grass. They're not even supposed to eat corn. When we eat corn, it fucks them up. And they're feeding them cow brains. They're feeding them their own bodies. It was hard, and that's
Some
what get
dark
yeah,
shit.
and that's how they got mad cow disease.
What if you eat calf brains? That's okay.
That's okay. You
My
calf
mother
brains are
used to
good.
my mother used to slice them thin,
Yeah.
bread them with Italian Progresso and deep fry them. God damn, a
Good.
little bit of fucking lemon.
My Uncle Vinny used to cook them on the grill.
Christ.
Cook
My Uncle
what?
Vinny,
Hold up.
lamb
Cat
brains,
brains?
calf
Oh my
brains,
God.
calf
Oh my God.
What the fuck are
Cow
we
brains?
talking about?
Delicious.
brains of a cow.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
I thought you said cats.
Oh,
calf.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
shit.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
It's
Joe! The fuck is
I'm
going on
sorry.
here?
I'm sorry. No.
That's such a small scoop. A cat
I
brain
know.
is
I was
Yeah,
like, what? I
it
thought
is.
you were a cat guy. What
No,
the
no,
fuck?
no.
You
I'm
could.
a cat guy.
Oh my God, my mom used to slice those calf
Calf.
brains.
Oh,
Calf
see,
brains.
I heard
brain.
cat.
I'm
cow.
sorry, dog.
Yeah.
What the
And you squeeze lemon on them, and if I give them to you and go ahead, eat that chicken cutlet, you'll go, Joey, these are the best chicken cutlets I ever fucking had. And I'll go to that chicken cutlets, that calf's brains.
Yeah, probably throw up.
Yeah, cow
They're
brains
delicious,
is
delicious.
It's good, man.
Delicious,
It's really
delicious.
good.
With lemon. Coño, un limoncito. Un limoncito empingado. Ah.
Don't feed it to another cow. There's a thing called prions, and those are what the problem is. And these prions, here's what's really crazy. It's almost like nature has a foolproof way. There's calves' brains. Nature has a foolproof way of making sure it fucks you up with these prions. Because these prions can exist at 1,000+ degrees for a long time. So you can't cook them out. Like, they exist at a temperature way above anything you're ever going to expose your food to. And they can, I think, find out how long prions can exist at over 1,000 years. 'Cause I think it's something stunning, like hours at 1,000 degrees. So you're not going to kill them. So if you got them in your food, if you're eating, and where they found this also, not just in mad cow disease, but in New Guinea, in cannibals. When they find cannibals, they exhibit the same sort of neurological issues where their whole body starts shaking. Like with Jacob's Creutzfeld's, it's like a lot like Parkinson's. It's like they start fucking shaking. It's a neurological disease. That those prions from eating brain matter from human beings, it actually gets into your system and just fucks you up. Apparently, you can eat meat though. You can eat like human meat. It doesn't do anything.
And you're fine?
Yeah, it's human brains that's the real issue. It's just.
Who the fuck is eating human brains?
A lot of people, man. I mean, there was one of the best evidence, best pieces of evidence that human beings, Homo sapiens, preyed on Neanderthals, was finding Neanderthal brains or skulls with their brains scooped out. They had scratch marks on the inside where people were scooping out the brains.
They had spoons?
They had rocks. They had whatever the fuck they could use to scoop stuff
God
up.
damn,
But they're
that's
scraping, you know, when you're getting a brain, there's that connective tissues, the shit that all goes wrong when you get knocked out too many times. And that connective tissue is this fibrous matrix that holds the brain in place. And they're scraping that shit away with a rock.
Like
or
a
something.
gel that covers
It's a
your
fluid,
brain.
yeah.
There's fluid, but there's also like tissue. There's
Well,
like
maybe it was raccoons
fiber.
scratching shit.
No, it's tools. It's like deep bone scratches.
Some gnarly ass raccoons.
Well,
eh?
they've figured out they know the difference
Yeah, piss.
between what the characteristics of predatory stuff like an animal that's like gnawing on bones and real obvious slices that came from like a tool, like when human beings made those flint tools and shit like that. So they've done enough of those tests where these archaeologists can examine these flint marks on bones and with a very high degree of certainty tell whether or not someone's using a flint tool on bone, whether or not they're using, you know, what's one of the more interesting things about Egypt, in fact, is because there's some artifacts in Egypt that are so perplexing. When I had John Anthony West on the podcast, he and I had some conversations about it. It was really interesting because they don't know how the fuck they carved these things out. There's some vase, that they made out of stone that exhibit like what looks like someone cut them with a diamond, like some diamond-headed drill. Like they literally don't know how they did it because it's missing all of the characteristics of that you would normally get from someone making something like this. Like the hole at the front is too small and it goes inside and it's all smooth inside. So like how the fuck did they do this? Because they did it all out of stone. They carved it all out of one piece of stone. So they can see stuff like they found some other things, different holes in things that they're pretty sure like they use some sort of a, if not a diamond drill, like some kind of a drill with an incredibly hard tip. But so they know that people were eating Neanderthal brains, which is fucked up. That's fucked up. But it makes sense. You know, I mean, we know the Donner Party, they fucking ate each other and they knew each other and they ate each other.
How about that movie Alive? Remember
Yeah.
that plane that went down in Argentina?
Yeah. Dude, you get hungry. You do whatever the fuck you got to do to stay
That
alive.
movie was
Bro,
gnarly.
imagine if we
Holy
go down
shit.
the plane, everybody start looking at me and shit like, dog. Joey got some good ribs.
I wonder how long it takes. How many days of no food does it take before you start looking at other dudes and you're like, damn.
Yeah.
Like his shoulder starts looking good.
Well, it's also like if you were with your friend and you were like trapped somewhere, you would have to think like, okay, if I eat this dude, I have to live with that for the rest of my life. Like even if you guys drew straws, like you said, okay, one of us is gonna live, one of us is gonna die. If I come up short, I'm jumping off this fucking cliff. You climb down the bottom and eat me. Like you make an agreement, like with someone who's so gangster they actually follow through that. Some Matt Brown type character, some Matt Brown type character, right? So if you did do that, like you probably were gonna die anyway, eventually. Like, and then, but on your way, you'd be so ridden with guilt. And even if you made it, even if you made it home, you'd still be
mentally
thinking
fucked.
you'd be fucked for the rest of your life. Like, what kind of a life do you even have now that you ate your buddy?
That'd be a good time to know jiu-jitsu, right? In a plane crash, and you're trying to survive up in the mountains. There's 20 people.
It'd
And
be
after a while, you just put a little.
Nah,
quick
you'd
little
be
rear
weak.
naked
You can't
choke.
do no fucking jiu-jitsu if you ain't eating.
Hey,
Don't
if you're
they say
hungry
after
enough-
21 days without foods, when you start getting fucked up, that's that naked and afraid shit. 3 days with water, 21 without food, right?
Yeah, well, you're fucked up pretty much right away, but
Right
your
away.
body goes into a state of ketosis, so it eats off as much fat as you have. The more fat you have, the better. You know, we don't think about that with our carbohydrate-rich diets. Look at this. What are you showing me, Jamie? Survival is the last resort. In the case of one group, adrift in a lifeboat, 116 passengers, 116 days passed without food before the party turned to eating human flesh. In most cases, anything even remotely resembling food was first eaten. Dogs, candles, leather, shoes, and blankets are all consumed first before cannibalism becomes the only recourse for survival.
Fuck, leather shoes. They eat
Yeah.
shoes and blankets.
Yeah, blankets.
They fucking eat it. Oh shit.
Jesus. That's
Candles.
dark.
What you do is you rear naked choke one dude and just say, "Hey, look, he fucking had a heart attack," and then you always have another body, and you're in charge of that body.
Yeah,
and you
but
keep
if
telling
You're
people,
fucked.
If you choke him out, his body goes into fucking. Then the meat's gonna be tough.
whatever.
You know what I'm saying? It's like when you shoot a deer the wrong way. So you gotta let him die of natural causes. Then the meat's tender. Then you cut a little slice off a leg, and you fucking
You gotta wait.
tenderize
Joey's
it.
like, I'm aging him.
You got to
No,
age
you
meat.
gotta be.
You
If you
I
choke,
thought you were gonna kill this guy. No, I'm killing him with kindness.
yeah, you gotta kill him with kindness because if you stab him, then the meat is gamey.
Gamey.
Now, bro, my buddy called me. Did some guy go see you in Colorado? He invented a bullet that as soon as it hits the duck, it has marinated in it.
What?
Have you heard about
That's
this shit?
stupid.
Or a bow
fuck
and
outta
arrow?
here.
I swear to
Come
God.
on. It has a marinade, so
Something-
like
teriyaki in it?
Something for duck that when you shoot the duck, as soon as you hit it, the marination goes in it. I swear to God.
That's so
that's so
silly.
ridiculous.
Yeah, something crazy.
I don't think that would
And he
work.
hit me up, and I go, he's in Denver this weekend. Go see him.
That guy
What if
might
the
be nuts.
marination goes bad?
But the
if
thing
what?
about
What if it
marinade
gets
is
rotten?
Yeah, that's a good point
I
too.
don't know what the fuck it was. It was marinated or salt
You got to
and
keep the
pepper.
bullets
But
in the
marinade,
freezer.
Pepper
salt and
bullets.
pepper's here, and we're in a fix.
You got to keep the bullets in the freezer, I think.
God, Tug, sounds like a bad business plan, though, Joey, huh?
It sounds like a dude is high on meth and comes up with a wacky idea that's not gonna sell.
Come on, Rogan, I got these teriyaki bullets, bro.
That's what you have to do. If you're going to try cannibalism, shoot him with a teriyaki bullet.
But marinade is like if you marinate a steak, you need like a pan. You fill it up
Some
with marinade,
time.
and you lay it in there. And the idea is it slowly works its way into the muscle, soaks in over like a day or two.
Well, let's say
Please.
you shoot the duck, he's up in the air, he falls. By the time you get to him, it's 2 days later.
2 days later,
Let me get that sprayed, dog. Let's get the party started.
You guys see
Let's get
that?
the party
Getting
started.
late.
Hey, did you guys
Shit.
see that Crone fight?
yeah, man, it was
Yeah.
amazing.
Man, Kawajiri's no joke. That
I
was
know.
the first big test,
Yeah.
or first real test for Crone.
Yeah, why don't you see if you can find that online?
Yeah.
Because I've only seen the finish. I love the way he trapped the leg and caught him when Kawajiri was trying to drop stomps on him and stuff, and he's off his back.
The
Crone-
whole Rising card was sick.
It was a great
He
card.
pulled guard 3 times.
Yeah.
in that
Well,
fight.
why
He's a
not?
freak.
Hey, people frown upon it.
Well, he's
if you're
another
Chrome
one,
Gracie.
but he's another one like we were talking about that's like an elite specialist in this one area. You know, I mean, he's not fighting anywhere in UFC type. I mean,
Was that
Kawajiri's about as
45?
close.
Was
Yeah,
that at
I
four-
think he's 45.
that was at
right?
45, right?
Isn't he fighting at 45?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that was at
No
45.
way. No way is
55?
Kawajiri 45. That's like 55 or 70.
That's Japan, so he might have
Yeah.
weighed 45. Kawajiri might have weighed 180. They had a grandma fight Gabby, for God's sake.
no, he's not that light.
I
no,
think
no,
he's 55 or 65.
Crone probably walks at 180.
No,
Yes,
sir.
of course.
No way.
Of
I don't
course, he
think he's
does.
that way.
Abu Dhabi 170. What do you think he walks around
I think
at?
he walks at 170.
He has size. He
God,
has
he's
size.
not 180.
Well, when we had him on the podcast, he didn't seem that big. He didn't seem 180, but he did seem 170.
Hey,
but I could be wrong.
Yeah, you know what? He could be 170, 175.
What
Let's
did they
find
weigh
out
in at, Jamie?
What weight he fought at. Jamie will find out for us. Look at him. He's got
It's
a
a
Fighter
great
in the
fight,
Kid
though.
T-shirt on. Look at
I'm
that.
not mad at that shirt.
Wow, Fighter in the Kid T-shirt by the Kid.
Whoa.
Jamie, young, powerful Jamie. It's good that they had that card, but didn't they have that card over 3 days? Is that what happened?
They had the heavyweight tournament over 3 days,
that's
right?
kinda
That's
cool, right?
insane. No,
Isn't
that's
that cool?
terrible for your brain.
Not for Crow Cop.
No,
Yeah,
but for the
well,
audience,
Thrive.
it's like
Crow
a
Cop
little
figured it out.
festival. It's like
Yeah.
a weekend thing. It's
I
like
know,
a
but
festival.
for
It's
a-
awesome.
It's really from that movie Warriors, the only time that existed in real life up until
Yeah, this ain't the movies. Guys were getting fucked up.
Yeah.
Except for Crow Cop.
Crow Cop, 42.
Who did he beat?
King Mo.
Time.
That
He beat
Father
Father Time.
Time. King Mo. Father Time. That Iranian monster.
Big ass Iranian from
TKO'd him.
AKA.
How did he knock him out?
Caught him with the left hand.
Oh, shit.
He fucked King Mo up with the left hand too. It fucked King Mo up with some kicks to the body. Ooh,
Nasty.
threw some heat. Look, in Ryzen, Crow Cop can go back to his old ways.
Yeah.
You know, there's no USADA in Japan. As a matter of fact, they encourage it. They're like, hop on, buddy. Let's.
They're like, what are you doing?
Says they both weighed in at 144.4.
Kawajiri weighed 144.
144.4. So basically
Wow.
145.
In Japan, you get suspended for not doing steroids.
Yeah, it's frowned upon. No, it's frowned
That's
upon.
crazy. So Crone is fighting at 145.
Yeah, he's a small dude.
Listen, how crazy would
Look
it
at
be?
that. He got to the fight to the ground so easily by just pulling guard. There's no way he was going to take him down.
Yeah.
Kawajiri's got some serious wrestling. He's a tough motherfucker.
Dude, how crazy would it be to see Crone in the fucking UFC?
That'd be sick.
He's
But
4-0 now, 5-0.
You know, but here's the thing. Ooh, trapped that leg really
look
nice.
at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Beautiful job.
Smart.
Very
Tracked him
good
down,
job.
dude.
He trains
Punched
with the
up.
right camp to do it, too.
Yep.
Who's he training with?
Training
He
with
was
the Diaz brothers.
Melendez, Jake Shields, the Diaz brothers.
Yep.
Jake Shields got he lost to John Fitch yesterday.
Look at that right
Decision,
there.
yeah.
Pulled guard right there. No problem.
Big decision
Look
though.
at that.
46-49.
And when he's here, he
across
likes
the board.
getting, he likes getting in this like it's side guard. I call it the cliff, but it's like a side thing. It's
Yeah.
a good position to get good at.
Ooh, good dexterity of that right leg. Look how he sneaks that right leg in and gets that butterfly under the
Yeah.
armpit. But if you go back up a little, Jamie, watch how he does that.
He's such
Ooh,
a
has
look
him
how
savage.
right here.
slick he is.
He has him right there.
What
He's
happened,
such a
Jamie?
savage.
Jamie, let's get rid of that TV this week. We have this
You know how
TV that's
classic
not
this is
designed
right
for
here?
this.
You know how classic these images are right here, dude?
Yeah.
Against the ropes
Look at
and
that.
that.
Ooh, look
at
at
this.
that.
Oh,
Look at
man.
that.
This is like forever shit right here, dude.
Look at it. He's thinking, should I die?
This is where we saw Crone rise right
Yeah.
here.
Kawajiri's no punk either.
Yeah. This is his test.
Look at him trying to flip over.
And you know what? He didn't even try to
So
take him
high
down.
level.
He just kept pulling guard on him.
Because
Look at this.
he's
Kawajiri's
doing
trying
like
to-
onto the dance.
Kawajiri tried to kick him in the face from there, and then he went. How did he get his back here?
It's edited a little bit.
It's a compilation.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Yeah, Crone's jiu-jitsu is just so next level and compared to these guys.
Oh, there's no one
When
even
they're-
close.
Yeah, when you're fighting MMA guys, like these guys, they're just not going to have the same kind of technique that he has. You know, and he's gonna have to get there though. I mean, you see,
Look at that.
like his
Boom.
stand
Look
up.
at that.
Yeah.
Easy takedown. No problem. I'll fight you off my back.
Yeah, the UFC right now would be a little tough for him, but
Fuck yeah, it would be.
he's obviously on the right path.
But he could pull. But the cool thing about pulling guard and having a guard good enough to make it a good idea is you could do it
Trapped
at any
it
time to
again.
anybody. Look,
Trapped it again that same
Look at
way.
that.
He catches that leg when the guy tries to kick him. And Kawajiri's a tough
Can
guy.
you rewind that again? Let me see how he caught that leg. Let's see.
A little bit before that,
Boom.
Jamie.
Before that, right there.
Right
boom.
there.
Whoop.
Catches it, wraps it up with his legs,
Yep.
and then uses it to sweep him. Beautiful.
Was his dad in his corner?
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
The
Yep.
legend was in the corner.
Yeah.
Look at this. This is classic ass shit right here, man.
I'm not mad at the Army green gloves, Ryzen.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I just think that I just hope they don't continue with that three-man.
The thing that's weird though is look at his right arm. Look at
fight shit.
Kawajiri's right
not
arm. What it
healthy.
does right here. It's not doing anything to defend. Look, it's not really doing anything right there.
He's in trouble.
It's not doing anything. It's like just hanging out. His right arm, he kind of just look at that shot.
What do you do?
Look
Eddie?
at that shot.
You put your
Oh,
hand.
you
Yeah.
got to put your hands
there's
to
his
work.
dad.
Both
Yeah,
your
there's
hands.
his dad.
Both
Remember
your
that?
hands.
The Fujita?
Yes.
I mean, not Fujita.
Funaki.
Funaki.
Yeah.
That's real
Kawajiri
similar.
is legit, man. This is
Yep.
a big statement for Crone.
Yeah,
Huge.
huge
And look at that.
step
Look at
for
him. He,
Yeah, crazy, man. And
Powerful.
what's
beard.
really interesting is
He
if
doesn't
he
look
keeps
light.
if he keeps going, you know, a couple more fights and continues with his stand-up training, you could easily see him fighting in the UFC in the next few years. Easily.
Yeah, he'd be
or
a great
maybe he
addition to
stays.
45.
Maybe he stays at Ryzen and they sign him to an exclusive.
Well,
and
the
he makes
Gracies in
fucking
Asia
shitload
have
of
such a
cash.
big name. Yeah, he's making bank. He's
Well,
probably making more money over there than a
Then he
lot
would
of
here.
45.
Yeah, he'd have
Yeah.
to go through the. He'd have to go through the small fight, like Titan, and
No,
and have to go.
they
through
would
that.
sign him straight from this.
Well,
no,
we can
no, no,
all-
no. But before, if he decided to go through the U.S. route,
Right.
at the beginning, he couldn't get into the UFC until he had like 4 or 5
Oh,
fights.
Right.
I bet they'd sign him.
No, not right away with no fights.
No, no.
Crone,
No, they wouldn't
Are
sign
we talking about the
Marcelo.
same thing?
Marcelo Garcia
Why
wanted
would
to
you,
do MMA.
why do you think they would do that?
I'm saying Crone right now. You could.
right now?
Oh,
Yeah.
what are you guys talking about?
Beginning of his career,
Oh,
before
no.
he started.
No. Not now, no. I'm talking
But
about
what Eddie's
about
saying
Crone
is
now.
that he went this way. It's a smart way to go.
Oh yeah.
He fought in ONE FC, I think, was maybe his first
He fought in
fight.
ONE FC. Yeah.
Look, we would all be better off. Everybody would be better off if Ryzen continued to blow up. If they continue to blow up, it'd be just like Pride in the UFC back in the day. It'd be great for everybody. If they develop some sort of Fedor type character, you know, if someone comes along that is like a legit consideration, like Fedor, in my opinion, is the only consideration for not only best pound for pound, but like best heavyweight ever that didn't fight in the UFC.
Oh yeah.
He's the only one. I can't think of another one.
I think Ryzen and Bellator. If you have those three,
Right.
if you have those three big dogs, where even if American fighters want to stay in American fight and not be in the UFC, you need Bellator to develop.
Yeah, you
too.
got to pay attention to ONE FC too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's has nothing to do with Japan, Southeast Asia.
Yep.
It's a whole
Rich
different-
Franklin runs that bitch, doesn't he?
He's got some job
Yeah.
over
Wait,
there.
wait, Rich Franklin? No,
Yeah.
Shotri. No.
No,
Rich
Rich
Franklin got
Franklin
some
job
big
there.
executive job there.
Yeah.
Oh, he did.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't
Yes.
know that. I didn't
Oh
know
yeah.
Let
He
me
knows
ask
his
you guys
stuff.
something.
Okay.
Now, what's the situation with Cyborg at this point, the chick?
She's pissed hot again.
They're
Not good.
waiting for to see what the commission does. What kind of suspension? She's getting at least a year.
At least. What she pissed hot for is also an anti-androgen. It's a DHT inhibitor. I used to rub that shit in my head to prevent hair loss.
They might
It
give her 3
inhibits
years.
DHT. And it's also used by people who take steroids to diminish the effects of like when females take steroids. Diminish the effect. It's also it's a masking agent. So if you take steroids, some people take that stuff as a masking agent.
She's 31.
It's also a diuretic. So it's a very weird drug. It's called spironolactone. It's lactone, but it has many different uses.
If she gets 3 years, that's
What's her
no bueno.
argument? That
It's not a good argument.
Okay.
All the arguments that she gave are not good arguments. That she took something out of competition, that she was told by her doctor that it would be okay when it's clearly on the USADA banned list. It's 100% banned. It's not like there's certain things you could take out of contest, like the big one's pot. Like say if they catch you tomorrow and you're supposed to fight in 6 months and you're smoking weed like crazy, and they test you and they go, look, we got to test you. You go, look, I just want to let you know I've been smoking a lot of weed. They're like, okay, as long as it's not steroids. That's why John Jones didn't get in trouble when he pissed hot for cocaine 3 weeks out of the fight with Daniel Cormier, because that's not in competition and it's not a performance-enhancing drug. He's just partying, right? So what this is, though, is a performance-enhancing drug. Not just a performance-enhancing drug, but problematic in that it inhibits. It's performance-enhancing in that it works as a diuretic. You're not allowed to use diuretics. But it also inhibits your their ability to detect steroids in you.
She's in trouble.
she's in trouble.
USADA's going to eat her ass up. And if she gets 3 years,
Well, here's the thing.
How old is she?
She's in her mid-30s.
Mid-30s.
They
It's time to get
tested her because she passed on 3 world title fights. They had 3 world title fights lined up for her. At 145, which is the weight class that she asked for, she said she couldn't make it in 8 weeks. And so then they gave her more weeks, and they gave her they gave her a third test, and they're like, something's up. And whether or not they were going to test her anyway, who knows? But that's when they tested her, and that's when she pissed hot.
it makes sense.
And she did not reveal before that that she was taking that. And she, the whole thing is.
Yeah, she's in trouble, man. There it is. When I
Have
hear
you
her
seen the
skipping
skeptical
all,
baby?
That's huge,
There's
dude.
a skeptical
That's
baby
huge.
now.
Yeah.
Somebody
I see that everywhere.
Yeah.
the skeptical baby. That
Look at this baby.
that's so
This
funny.
baby's like, bitch.
Like, what the fuck? That skeptical snake is so skeptical. With Cyborg, super skeptical Fox.
Fuck.
Have you seen the skeptical house? That motherfucker's so skeptical.
A skeptical
and there's a
house?
skeptical Cadillac. It's so ridiculous.
Cadillac.
Look at the skeptical house.
What the fuck
Look at the
is
skeptical
that?
house.
That's hilarious.
How funny is that?
Is that a real house?
Yes, those are windows.
What the fuck kind of window is that?
Skeptical windows.
Do you think they did that on purpose?
Hell no. What's wrong with people?
It almost seems like that was an accident.
It's so funny.
That is funny.
But with Cyborg, she gets 3 years. She's in trouble. I find that interesting too. When Ronda lost again, and she's throwing shade at Ronda, I'm like, bitch, you just got busted for steroids. How you
Well,
throw
she didn't
shade
get
at
busted for
someone?
steroids. She got busted for a
Precursor.
dihydrotestosterone. No, it's not a precursor. It's a dihydrotestosterone inhibitor. That's what it is.
inhibitor.
Yeah.
And to me, my brain goes, "You're in trouble."
Yeah.
We know you're in trouble.
She certainly could be in trouble. It's one thing if she said she's got a bunch of issues because she really did wreck her body getting down to 140, which definitely does happen.
Yeah, which I'm sure, and that seems
The
fair
problem
to
is
say.
when you wreck your body, like I think she's saying that she takes in too much water now, and her body's like trying to hold on to water, and that they gave her a drug to diminish the amount of water. I talked to a couple of doctors about this. I asked some questions, and they all gave me that snake face.
They're like,
They're all
"The
like,
fuck?"
bitch, and they were, you know,
with
and
her background too, it's like, fuck, man.
you don't fuck with anything that's illegal, and you definitely don't fuck with anything that people use because they're women that take steroids. Even if it's just a coincidence that you happen to be, you should look at every fucking label extremely carefully.
There's no
Is
coincidence.
that the worst cut of all time?
Yeah, it's one of them.
What do you mean cut?
But here's the
That's
thing,
the
man.
worst
Here's the thing.
weight cut of all
Fucking
time.
Diego
Forever.
Sanchez. Diego Sanchez made 145. He fought in 185 in Ultimate Fighter 1.
Kenny Floyd.
Here's the problem. She fucking deadlifts 305 pounds a couple weeks after passing on fights. She passes on the fight and then puts up Instagrams of her deadlifting. Massive weight. There was whoever the fuck handles her Twitter account. Because I wrote that up because me and Brett Akamoto were having a discussion
I
about
love
it on
that
Twitter.
guy.
Very good dude. We were having a little back and forth on Twitter about it. And, he said, isn't it weird that she's not fighting for the title? And I'm like, what's weird is that that she passed on the title fight and then posts Instagram photos of her deadlifting. And then she responded that it's just like what football players do when they're not in camp.
Excuse
that
me,
they're
ma'am?
doing. And I'm like, what?
You saw
Yeah.
that golden snitch was like, what would you say?
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's not. She's not writing that. I'm looking at the English is perfect. I'm like, this is not. This is whoever works with her or her boyfriend or whoever the fuck handles the Instagram account. I'm like, that's no excuse. There's a lot of maintenance that you do that's not deadlifting 305 fucking pounds. You do that to put on mass. That is why you deadlift. You deadlift to put on fucking mass. She's got mucho mass. She's got plenty
Mucho.
of mass. She has no problem
Muy
with
bien.
mass. That's not what she needs. If she really wants to fight at 145 pounds, and she needs more than 8 weeks to make the weight, what she should be doing is long-term cardio.
I guess
and
that's what
no
she's doing too,
weightlifting.
though, Joe. She goes, I do that, and in the morning, I run
Look
every
at this,
morning.
though, dude. Come the fuck on.
Those aren't as heavy as they look.
Trying to develop that power, son.
No, they're like made out of like light
No,
rubber.
that's 300-something pounds, son.
That's 305 pounds, bro. That's what she's doing.
This is YouTube though.
Why did she tag? Why
not,
did she
it's
tag
Instagram.
Gabby
Same,
Garcia?
that's worse.
Did
Why
Gabby
she tagged-
Garcia
Gabby
curl it?
Garcia
Oh, cool.
helped
And
her.
Gabby just started curling that shit.
They have the same doctor. I don't know.
Fuck's sake.
Like the whole thing is awful.
It's awful.
It's awful. Whoever the fuck was in her corner that let her post that video, I'd be like, hey, what are you doing with your phone? What are you doing with your phone? You gonna put that online? Get the fuck out! Give me your
Because
phone.
the golden snitch is
Yeah.
literally just waiting.
Yeah.
In the, in
if
the
he's
dark.
looking at that,
he's going.
He's looking at
"Oh,
a woman deadlifting 305 for reps.
We're going there 6 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Boom.
I mean, look, it is possible that you could get that big and that jacked without anything, but it takes a long fucking time, and that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing all the time. If you look at some of those CrossFit gals, some of those are on steroids, 100%, but some of them are not. And you can get big if you have the right genetics and you do that kind of lifting.
Yeah,
but that
I
kind of lifting is for
guess.
people that want to put on power. She's got ridiculous power. Cyborg has some of the nastiest power you're ever going to see in women's MMA.
Probably
Ever.
the most.
The most. It's right up there with, she has the full range. Like, she'll kick you and knee you and punch you and elbow you, whereas Nunes will kick you hard, but it's her punches that are fucking ferocious and scary.
She doesn't hit hard in Cyborg.
No way.
Cyborg,
no way.
Cyborg hits you like
Yeah.
Mike Tyson with braids.
She hits girls, and you see,
see 'em
the
like, what
cognitive,
the fuck
the
did I
cognitive
sign up
shut off
for?
the bong.
She makes world-class girls look like that grandma in
Yeah.
Rising.
She's a beast.
monster.
Just unfortunate that there's so much controversy. Like, I would love if there was someone like Cyborg with no shade attached to it, no weirdness attached to it. But now she's got these 2 strikes against her.
Well, Amanda Nunes. She
Yes.
has no shade.
Yes.
She knocks
Yes.
girls out. She just murked Misha Tate. You can argue probably the number 2 most famous girl of all time in women's MMA. And she just murked the number 1.
Yeah.
There's your star with no shade.
Yeah.
Great person.
It's true.
That's the other thing that's happening with the youth now. That they're already coming up without that pride. We were getting a lot of guys from Pride in the beginning. The juice was okay.
Right.
These new guys, Cody's and these Amanda Nunes's, they're going to come up straight up.
Right.
They're going to come up the right way, which is even scarier. They're not going to flag. There's not going to be no drama.
Yeah.
Maybe, I hope not, but that's what I'm saying.
You're going to see
that-
shorter careers
that
for
this
sure.
new young generation, is
I think in MMA you're seeing short careers anyways. Like to me, I feel the same way as you guys do. With it's sad the way Ronda lost, but it's not that sad because she had such a great run. She was a pioneer. She was on the Mount Rushmore of MMA in general. She goes on Mount Rushmore. It's really not that sad. Like, god damn, what an iconic run, man. Sad is like a guy like Mark Coleman or a guy like if Mark Hunt were to retire. Like, that's sad. People don't have money and fame. She's
Right.
set, man. It's not that sad. She did some great shit,
she did
man.
great things, man.
You know what's interesting? What here is going on is like the Ronda fans. They're not MMA fans. A lot of them. They're Ronda fans, and so like you see how they respond to stuff on Twitter, and you see like the reaction and the things that they're saying. Like
It's very emotional.
It's
Like,
very
you're not-
emotional. It's also almost like they don't understand. They don't understand the sport. You know, get back on the horse. Like whoa, fuck the horse. No, listen to your mom. Your mom's saying stop.
Her mom's brilliant.
Yeah, and her mom's brutal. She's so brutal. She goes, go let stupid people get punched in the face. Sorry, stupid people.
Her mom's brilliant, and she's a doctor. And the good thing
Yeah.
for Ronda too out of all this is she's gonna find out who's in her corner. There's been so
Yeah.
many yes men. You know how it is in Hollywood. There's nothing when you're on set. You know how all that bullshit is. Your agents, these other people you're working with, these other celebrities telling you how good you are. Well, now when you lose, that phone stops ringing, the text stop coming. Everyone asking you to dinner. That stuff. You're gonna find out who's in your corner. That's probably they might be good for her.
Now let me ask,
It'll
what
be.
movies did she do the last 2 years? Because I heard they cut her one
They
thing
cut-
down and the other one disappeared.
Who knows? Who knows what kind of deal she has? But things definitely dried up substantially after the Holly knockout because she's not the same person anymore. The thing about all those deals is when you're a winner in Hollywood and they start throwing all these movies at you and you're some athlete that's coming over, it's all predicated on you being that person that they're selling, right? What are they selling? They're selling this undefeated women's ass kicker, the likes you've never seen before, right? Throwing people in their head, getting them in arm bars. That's what they're selling. Well, that's not you anymore. Now you just got smashed by Holly and then smashed again by Amanda.
Yeah, they can't sell your acting abilities.
Yeah,
Like,
so
you're,
you need-
you're not
you
gonna be in
need that
Shawshank
too.
too.
Did
You
she
need
do
acting, too.
Did she do Roadhouse? Did she redo Roadhouse?
No,
Was
they
that ever
killed it.
done?
They killed that.
I don't know about any of that stuff. I just know to his point where there it's almost a good thing for her. It really is, man. It's not a sad story. I don't find it as a sad story. I really don't.
Well, it's definitely sad.
No, she was an angel.
But it's
she
not
did
the
what she had to do,
saddest.
and she disappeared, bro.
It's not the
It's-
saddest
Maybe
story.
she came to
'Cause
open
she
the
leaves
door.
with all that
It's
money.
no different. Do we feel sorry for Tiger Woods? Like I said, when that foundation rocks, like what do you think's different with Tiger? His swing?
No, the difference
His
is
body?
Tiger Woods
No.
didn't get the fuck beat out of him in 48
No,
seconds.
I know, and that's fighting. But what I'm saying is their mentality changes. Where
Right.
Tiger was unstoppable, and then
He's had
something
some-
happens.
He's had that. He had the scandal.
Yes.
But then he also had some significant back injuries.
Correct. Or what? Okay, for a better example to your fight example, Mike Tyson.
Yeah, that's also wear and tear too, man. You know.
Yeah, you can say that.
I-
For
I'll tell
Ronda
you
too.
why.
For
I'll tell you
Ronda
why I
too,
could
it's
say
wear and
that.
tear.
Tell you why I could say that. One of the reasons why is because the driver that I had this weekend in Vegas that took me to the airport was Mike Tyson's driver for 17 years. And he and I had a long conversation. Cool dude. I wish I could remember his fucking name. So I only met him for that
You know,
brief ride to
but
the
you-
airport. But he was telling me how fucked up Tyson was after the Lennox Lewis fight. He's like, dude, Lennox Lewis hit Mike, and Mike was fucked up for a long time for that.
shit.
And you don't think that. You watch a guy get knocked out, you watch a guy get stopped, and Mike was talking after the fight, and he was like, hey, I'm done, it's over, and he stepped back. But when he goes home and he's alone and the cameras are off and he's got vertigo, he's got equilibrium problems, and his ears won't stop ringing, and his head won't stop throbbing. You don't see that. He's doing interviews, his head's throbbing, his ears are ringing.
There was
and
no
that-
internet back then. It's harder to hide nowadays. You know what I mean?
Way
When you
harder.
got your daily thing that you do, and everybody, you got your followers, and they all know your daily thing, and you guys are doing the daily things.
Yeah.
Some
And
guys
then
are
all
good
of a
at
sudden you
hiding.
disappear. Everybody knows you disappear. Back then, no one really knew. You lost a fight, you never really see them again. Like when are you
But
gonna
it's
see 'em?
also like when you're suffering alone, the only way people find out is if you talk about it. Like we don't know what happens to a lot of these guys after they get beat the fuck up. Here's one, Terry Edom. When Terry Edom got knocked out by
The wheel kick
Edson
from
Barboza,
space.
the wheel kick from another dimension. It was the first wheel kick KO in the UFC and the worst wheel kick KO. It was fucking horrible. And he has never been the same again.
Does he still fight?
Yes, he's fought a few times.
I feel bad saying that.
But before that, Terry Edom was a bad motherfucker. He was really good. And Terry Edom was one of those kids that was coming up like a lot of other guys in the division. You know, he's looking like he might be a contender someday. He's slick. He's got a good, kickboxing style. He's got good submissions. He works hard. He's a smart fighter. He's a good guy. You meet him. He's a gentleman. You're like, this kid might have real potential. You get hit with those goddamn kicks.
And it's life changing. That's why, and to Dana's point, you make as much as you can when you're there, man.
Yeah.
You got to demand. That's why your boy Tony Ferguson holding out, being like, I need more money. He could get wheel kicked. The chance of it happening, not good.
Hey,
but he could get wheel kicked. So that's why he goes like, dude, I need as much money as possible.
Well, he's not going to get wheel kicked against Nurmagomedov.
He
but
could eat a huge right hand
Barboza.
and he'd never change it.
He fought
never fights
Barboza.
the
He
same.
beat him.
Yeah.
You know? That Barboza fight was amazing.
That was amazing.
Good fight.
Oh, Tony's so fun. Tony Ferguson is one of my favorite guys to watch for sure.
hell yeah.
He's so fun. He's like you said, he's a straight
I hope they
barbarian.
figure it out.
He is, man.
What's going on with that? Because I saw he posted Instagram that he's in Big Bear.
He's in Big Bear with his family, enjoying the snow.
Oh, just chilling. He's not training.
Yeah. No,
I thought he was going up there to train.
No,
I was
that
like,
was the-
oh,
you know, that
I
was
got
just a
all
family
hopeful.
thing.
I thought it was on. Got hopeful.
Not that I know of. But
You know what they're trying to do?
What?
They're trying to do Aldo and Nurmagomedov for a fucking interim 155. And I'm like, how do you have a 155 interim when Conor just won the 155 a week ago?
What about Max, though? What about Max Holloway? He
Poor
is
Max
the intern.
Holloway. Well, he's got the interim 145.
Such a shit show.
And
But
Holloway
I don't
is the
give
one
a
interim.
because Aldo versus Nurmagomedov is sick.
Yeah,
sick.
yeah, it's a great fight.
great
Aldo
fight.
versus especially when you see what happened with Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson stunned Habib. You know, he stung him. He hit him and stung him. And Michael Johnson, with all due respect, is nowhere near the striker that Jose Aldo is. Jose Aldo's on a totally
Do you,
different
you think
level.
Jose's as powerful as Johnson?
It's a very
Explosive?
good question because he's not as big. He's been fighting at 145 his whole career, and he's going to be fighting a fucking gorilla. I mean, they ain't nobody.
Russian gorilla.
there's a difference between Johnson's bottom game and Aldo's bottom game.
100%.
I'm assuming.
No,
100%.
100%. Not even
100%.
close.
Aldo's will be way better.
Way
also,
better.
Aldo's kicks, they're a giant factor because if Aldo, who has amazing takedown defense, fucking amazing.
Some of the
Aldo
best
has some of the
against
best
the cage of all
takedown
time.
defense. So he's also got fucking nasty leg kicks. So if Nurmagomedov moves at him, what is this?
Who is this?
Who is this? What are you showing me here? Habib Nurmagomedov slams UFC for lying to the fans about Jose Aldo, demands relevant fight against Turner. Why is he saying he's lying to the fans?
Let's see.
Let's see what he says here.
Oh, shit.
No, it'll come back on. This goddamn screen, dude. It's clear to everyone that you hiding Conor from me, but stop lying to your fans like I don't want fight with Aldo. I'm ready to fight with anyone in my division. Give me relevant fight so you won't. First of all, take your phone away from your sister. Somebody got this phone and making.
No, he's definitely doing it.
Do you think he's right?
The broken English is so rough, but I love it. It makes it more gangster.
Okay, you've never matched up. What is it? I can't see that, Jamie. This thing's in front of it. Oh, you never matched up two guys with a 9-8 win streak in UFC. Never in UFC history. Okay, that doesn't mean anything. See, here's the problem.
Sorry,
I see what
Tony
he's
Ferguson
saying.
is too expensive.
I see what he's saying, but let me explain why he's wrong. They need big, relevant fights to sell pay-per-views right now.
That's all they care about.
And here's the deal. The UFC was purchased for $4 billion.
Billion,
Imagine if you bought you own a place, right?
Correct.
You own your house.
Yeah.
You know what a mortgage is.
Sure do.
Mortgages are pretty cunty. You look at them every month and go, Jesus. You know, now if you have a mortgage for a nice house and you spend $1 million, that's a fucking nut you got to make every month, man. You got to think about it. You got to go, okay, we got the mortgages covered. All right. And then you move on with all the other bills, right?
Tell me about it, son.
Imagine a $4 billion house. What kind of fucking mortgage?
And how do we pay the bills? By doing huge fights.
Huge
So we
fights.
got to figure some
Huge
shit out.
fights.
Interim. Everybody get a
And
belt.
the reality is John Jones is suspended, and John Jones isn't even the champ right now. So when he comes back, he's not even fighting for a world title unless he fights for the world title. So you got to have DC has got to be healthy, or you got to have John fight for an interim because they're just throwing interims out like they're fucking flyers that they put on your car when dudes are trying to like sell car washes.
It's a good time
and
to be in
shit.
the UFC.
Dog,
Yeah.
and my brother, if they don't start getting these fucking cards selling, they're going to be another season of Fear Factor is going to be added on pretty soon.
No, there's
listen.
not. No, there's not. You're gonna see CM
Listen.
Punk versus some Brad Pitt shit just to sell pay-per-views or some shit.
They'll do something, dog.
I don't know what they're gonna do. who knows if I'll be
But
even
you know
there
what,
for
man?
it. But when you look at like the title picture, who like that card that they have in Brooklyn. I mean, that's a pay-per-view card, and it looks like an FS1 card right now. I'm sure they're going to juice it up. They'll get more, but
You
it's
better be a diehard fan
Yeah.
to pay $60 for that shit.
It's hard. It's hard to make those cards. So I think we kind of nailed it when we were talking about it earlier. Like, what guys sell pay-per-views? I think Woodley is a bigger star now that he beat Wonder Boy, but he still wants that
Not a
big
pay-per-view, Joe.
And like Dana and I were having this conversation. He's like, you can't have Nick Diaz. He goes, Nick Diaz hasn't won a fight since 2011. You can't have him step in and just go right up to the title
It
and
sells,
fight.
though.
That's what I said. I said, but I want to see it. And he goes, I want to see it too, but you can't just
Can't
do that.
sell it. Well, no one's going to take the sport serious if you give a guy who hasn't won since 2011 or 12,
Yeah.
give him a title shot. Fans are like, come on, bro.
You
this
say
is
that,
so...
but I think they missed the boat if they wanted to make the fucking big money. It's Nick Diaz versus Conor McGregor.
No, he's too big, brother. He's too.
Whatever.
Come on.
They fight at 170.
Oh, come on. No, his
Conor
brother was
fought at
too big for
170.
him. His brother was too big for him.
Do you think he's too big?
Way too big.
I think that talk is nonsense because Conor's the 155-pound champ. Nate fought at 155 most of his career. He fought at 170 a couple of times, and he's undersized. Dong Young Kim beat him at 170.
He's a legit 170er, though.
Rory
Especially
McDonald
now. He's
beat him at
older now,
170.
too.
Maybe, but he fights 155 easy. He looked great against Michael McDonald at 55. Tyron Woodley
looked great
can't make
against Michael
55
Johnson.
if his fucking life depends on it. Tyron Woodley's not making 55.
I know, and he's
So
entertaining that
the
fight.
champ can't make 155 at 170. Nate can. So Nate is not a real 170.
Now, here's to your point, and Dana's point. He hasn't won a fight since 2011, and you have Conor, your cash cow, fight this monster who hasn't won forever.
It's a great story.
It really is.
I love a great
I would
story.
watch it.
Big brother steps in. Come on,
I would
son.
watch it. I would watch it, man. But to your point, they have to figure something out to get these stars.
It doesn't matter.
Because you can't do it overnight.
To me, it doesn't matter. You put Nick Diaz for what he's done out of respect. Who's going to complain? Really?
Well,
And-
apparently
and
they
if
offered
do-
Nick Diaz Robbie Lawler, and Nick passed on it. That's the word. That's the word behind the scenes.
Interesting.
Maybe I'm not supposed to say that, but I wanted to see that fight. I
Me
would love to
too.
see that rematch. But I think Nick wants a fucking title fight. You know, I think Nick is like, look, I want a big name or a title fight.
I love how they make these demands now.
He's got
I love
money.
it.
Nick made some money. He's not ridiculous. He doesn't spend it all.
Well, how about Nate? I'm not answering the call unless it's $20 million.
Yeah, we talked about
Get
that.
him, son.
We talked about that recently in the podcast. I was like, well, let's break this down because, like, let's say they do 1 million pay-per-view buys, which is like top end, right? There's only a few people that have ever sold 1 million. It's like Brock, Ronda, Connor. That's it. Okay,
it.
1 million is top of the food chain. So 1 million pay-per-view buys at $60. That's you're taking 1/3 right off the bat for Nate. It's really hard to justify giving someone $20 million for a
UFC's
fight.
not going to do that.
It's going to be real hard. And then obviously
Conor could demand that.
Connor's like one of the only guys that can get that kind of money.
He's the only guy.
When are
Yeah.
guys? You think eventually guys will just start doing like they get so big like Connor? He just does his own show and he gets his own people to
No, the
produce
UFC
it.
lawyers are too good to let you get out of your contract
But
to do
here's
that. They
the
realize
thing.
that.
If Nate had a legit fight with someone other than Connor that was exciting, the problem is there's no one else in the division that's got that kind of marquee value.
At 55?
Like, yeah, there's no one in the division that has the kind of marquee value that if you had a look, I think Nate is a fucking huge star, but especially now. I mean, after he beat Connor, he's one of the biggest stars outside of
Top
that
10.
upper echelon pay-per-view like level.
I give him top
and
10.
But he's not a world title holder right now.
No.
So if you wanted to really have a big fight for Nate, you
Have
would
him fight
have to
Aldo.
have him. That would work.
Have him fight Aldo.
That would work. That would work. That would work.
Now,
That
And
would
the
where's
winner
work.
of that
GSP?
fight's
Is
Conor.
GSP ever coming back? Or
GSP apparently they couldn't work out the deal with the Reebok deal. Like he's got a deal with Under Armour. He's got a big deal with Under Armour. He makes a lot of money through Under Armour. And-
Monthly shit.
Yeah, and so he couldn't work out a deal with that was worth it to him. You know, there was an offer on the table. He didn't like it. They're still talking. He still says he wants a fight, but if the UFC, you know, now that they've lost Ronda, most likely lost Ronda. We don't know what happens. I mean,
She's not the same draw anymore.
it's definitely not the
It's a
same.
tough
draw anymore.
sell.
Definitely a tough sell. But I mean, who fucking knows? A year and a half down the line, she's still only what is she 29?
I think
She's
Ronda
30.
could
30?
still get pay-per-views if she comes back in a year.
For
Yeah.
sure, but,
Oh, hell
but
yeah.
it's
I
not the
think so.
same.
Hell
It's
yeah.
not the same.
That baby sitting money flows
That's
like
sitting
water.
Money. Yeah,
For sure.
People
But-
will not
but-
want to
but-
watch it even more.
But she's not fighting anytime soon, so you can't bank on her as part
No,
of your
no, no,
stable.
no.
So
No.
you got to move on from it. If she comes, great. Let's
Yeah.
keep going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's interesting, man. It's a crazy sport. It goes up, it goes down, it moves all over the place.
Every
And he-
sport's like this, though.
Well, here's the other thing. When is Brock Lesnar back? I mean, if Brock Lesnar's suspended,
The first of never.
that's not true. When they
God damn it, son.
listen, he only got suspended for clomiphene. Like clomiphene, even though it is it enhances steroids, your recovery from steroids because it reduces estrogen.
Post-psychotherapy
Yeah,
for steroids.
It's definitely not good. But it also exists in a bunch of different supplements, like over-the-counter stuff.
Hey, man, are you arguing he wasn't taking?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. What I'm saying is, how much time do you think they're going to give him off? Like, how much time are they going to?
How many times are we going to let him not do the USADA test and
Well, how
go
many
in there and
times-
beat up a guy?
But no. He will have to do the USADA test again.
He didn't
because the
last
last time he did it, they had a couple exemptions where they can get in on the 4-month thing that they built in case they wanted to make a big fight where they could sign somebody. So that one obviously blows up in their face, and he's going to get suspended. But how long? For how long?
I thought they gave him a year and $225,000 fine.
Is that what it is?
Pretty sure.
Okay, so that's from what? July?
Yeah, it's all.
That's
yeah, it starts from-
retroactive.
yeah, retroactive.
So that ain't that long from now. We're in January, February, March, April, May, June. 6 months.
then the heavyweight division needs him.
You
So
put him.
fuck
You
yeah.
put him in
John
there.
Jones, first heavyweight fight. Brock Lesnar. Dude, you're welcome.
Yeah.
You imagine that fight?
The only
John
problem
would
is,
murk him.
do you think so?
Yes,
You'd murk him in the grappling?
I think you just completely
I
dominate
think
him.
fucking Stiopic would fucking rack him. You
Stipe?
piss that
Stipe
mother.
Miocic.
You piss that motherfucker off from Cleveland, and he'll fuck Brock Lesnar because he'll say it. You better do the fucking steroids. Stiopic is crazy. I
Miocic.
love that motherfucker.
Miocic.
Miocic, I love him. He's
love
got
him
that
too.
immigrant mentality. Bring him on.
He's
Give
born in
him more
America.
Give him more fucking steroid. What's that?
You want
He's
another?
born in America.
Yeah, whatever the fuck
Yeah,
he is, but his name is Miocic. Okay?
definitely born
And
and
he's
raised
got
in
that
Cleveland, Ohio, but whatever.
He's got that fucking crazy blood in him, and he don't give a fuck.
Croatian.
He proved it. Listen, he proved it with fucking Overeem. He
Verdun.
don't give a fuck. Put him in there with
Oh,
Brock
yeah.
Lesnar. Go ahead, I dare you.
The Brock that
He'll
fought
rip his
Mark Hunt?
fucking head off.
Yeah.
That
Afterwards.
juice to the gill, fucking
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar, who just ragdoll poor Mark
Mark
Hunt.
Hunt.
Fucking guy.
Yeah, but Mark Hunt's never been the kind of grappler that Stipe is. Stipe's way
dog.
better at defending
Get Stipe
takedowns.
in there.
Oh no, I think Stipe beats him.
And you know what? If he punches Stipe in the face, it's gonna get more steam out of his fucking ears.
And you saw
Go
what
ahead.
Stipe
He's not
did.
Go
touching-
ahead.
he's
I
not
dare
gonna-
him to bring back.
he won't land a
Brock
hit on
Lesnar ain't
Stipe.
coming back. Brock Lesnar ain't never coming
Well, he's
back.
not going to come back and fight for a world title right
No,
away.
but he ain't
you
gonna
don't
come
think so?
back, bro.
No.
I think
If
it'd be
they
the only
That was the
way.
biggest embarrassment
Good
of the
Lord,
fucking
that would
year.
be crazy
That was
for
the
them.
biggest fucking embarrassment of the year.
Why
dude.
would that be?
Embarrassment, bro.
What was embarrassing?
Just embarrassing against Mark Hunt. They knew he was on the juice. He went in there loaded to the gills. It was just an embarrassing
Get him,
fucking
Joey.
thing. It was an embarrassing thing for everybody. And Mark Hunt had every fucking right to be mad. They put him in there with a guy that's coming off rocket fucking fuel. That dude just don't eat D-ball. Look at the size of his fucking head. He's taking shit that makes your fucking head grow. Okay? That's what they give to fucking pit bulls. I hope they put him against Miocic. I will fly to fucking Cleveland.
That gum is climbing out of your mouth.
He's so
Take a
passionate.
piece of paper.
I found this knot in my nose that was bigger than this gum the other day. I had to take the gum out to eat it. Anyway. I had a little thing
You
over
ate
here.
a booger?
Oh, it was so long. It was like a Coke booger. I got a flashback from the 80s. I inhaled that motherfucker anyway.
Why did you eat a booger?
Because I love him. I love them. From time to time, I have a little pimple
No,
in my
no,
nose.
no, no,
And I
no,
squeeze
no,
it, and it just
no,
comes out like
no,
a stream.
no,
and it's got like a little clam.
Dude,
It's like
I
a
was on
clam.
board with you with all the Steve talking
Yeah.
and shit.
Anyway,
You really
go.
eat boogers?
Listen, from time to time.
Oh, Jesus
When you do
Christ.
coke for 30 years, it's a habit. You wake up in the morning, pick one out. It's like a
why
fucking
would
candy
you-
cane with coke on it. You inhale that motherfucker. It's like going to the dentist for free.
Oh, I will throw up on this fucking table.
Listen
I
to
swear
me.
to
Do you ever do
God.
this? Do you ever do
I
this?
feel lightheaded.
Listen to me.
While you're eating boogers.
Let's be honest with ourselves. We're all friends here. That was the most embarrassing fucking thing I ever seen.
I agree.
They knew he was on it, and they put that fucking animal in there, okay? And you know what, man? Go ahead. Keep doing those steroids. Put him in there against Spiopit. Whatever.
Miocic, for
I love
God's
that
sakes.
Cleveland motherfucker, dude.
Stipe, just call him
He'll
Stipe.
kill him. He'll fucking kill him in general.
Stipe
I
will.
I
would
don't
send-
think they would ever be able to have him come off a suspension and fight for the title. That's
what?
not how it goes.
They've done it
Bro,
before.
$4 billion. They'll eat a scab off an Iranian's head right now. $4 billion. Right now, they're fucking sitting there going, we lost Ronda.
Take the gum out of your mouth. You drive me crazy.
We lost Ronda.
Give me a piece of
me a
paper.
tissue. Give me a tissue. We lost Ronda, and the only other thing we got is fucking Conor. He's having a baby. He don't want to fucking come back.
No, you know what you
So
got.
what do you
No,
want to
he's
do?
talking about he might come back right
And
after
what
the
do they
first
want?
of the year.
But they don't want to give him who he's supposed to fight.
Who's he supposed to fight?
He's supposed to fight that fucking Khabib. End
Habib.
story. End of story.
Khabib.
No more
But they would
fucking
give
around.
him that.
No
They
more
would give him
fucking
that.
around. Well, then let's do it. Let's set it up.
No,
more
that's not a
fucking
money
around.
fight.
Yeah, I'm with Joey. Let's
Let's
fucking do it.
Let's cut the shit.
The
He don't need to
fuck?
fight Aldo. He don't need to fight nobody. He's number one, right? Or is your boy number one?
Tony?
Khabib's
Yeah.
number one.
Okay, then that's the fight. Enough.
But wait a minute.
That's
Tony
the
was
fight.
number one, and then Khabib became number one. Why did Khabib leapfrog Tony?
I don't know.
Who knows the rankings?
Because he
But
fucking
those
took
two should
Michael
really
whatever.
fight.
But he's only fought a couple times in
I don't
like
know if
the
he's
past
what is he?
X
Is he
amount of
number one,
years.
brother?
Khabib's number one.
Well, that's the thing he did. Listen, he's fighting now. He's available today. He's available today. He's
Right.
available for Brooklyn.
Okay.
He said it when he fought against Michael Johnson. He's available for fucking
Number
Brooklyn.
one.
Okay, he's available for
Interesting.
Brooklyn.
Interesting.
Let's get Eddie against Rafael. That's a good fight. Let's get Edson back in there. People like watching him.
They're very.
Let's get
Eddie and
Badiel,
Rafael just
Dariush in there. Let's get. We got some fucking people here. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of good guys
We got
here.
a
Look
lot
at
of
them
fucking
everywhere.
good guys
Where the
there.
fuck are they? Why
this
aren't they
guy
fighting?
here, this kid here, he sells pay-per-views.
Donald Cerrone.
Cerrone?
Not 300,000, but he's always
Right,
good.
but he's
Damian
fighting at
Maia is good.
170.
Robbie Lawler, that guy there is good. Fucking, they got it.
Joey
They got
needs
it.
to be the matchmaker.
They fucking got it, okay?
Well, no,
Yeah, man, it's an interesting situation,
They got
isn't it?
plenty of good fucking fighters.
got a whole
They just
shitload
don't
of
want to
them.
give us the fights we
Right?
want to see.
No, they
That's
don't.
the
Talking
fucking
about?
problem.
They
What fight
don't.
don't they want to
I
give you?
want to see
Conor.
Khabib. That's the fight.
Habib.
That's it. End of story. There's no Aldo.
Okay.
There's no Tony Ferguson. There's no babies. There's no nothing.
But he has a baby.
Brooklyn.
But he's got a baby.
but it's also not a
Which
big
is why-
draw for him. It's not a big draw for him,
Who gives
Joey.
a fuck?
It's not.
You got
It's
three
not a draw
babies. I
for
throw
him.
$20 million on you. The babies wait 6 weeks.
But Connor's already got 20 million. That's the
Okay,
difference.
well, then
he wants to
he
take time.
he
The
cannot-
birth of his
That's
life
fine.
is more important than what the UFC
Okay,
wants.
I agree
He's
with
running
you.
the show.
I agree with you. But
He's
right
running the
now,
show.
then May 5th, Labor Memorial Day weekend. It's Khabib and him.
Habib.
Ferguson,
Habib,
give
say it.
Ferguson
Say
Habib.
Habib
Give
Nurmagomedov.
Ferguson Cerrone. Let's have some fun. Give Ferguson Cerrone. Let's have some fucking fun.
That's a fight.
Since
No,
we're all
no.
leapfrogging-
That's at 55
No,
though.
Cerrone is not fighting 55 again.
I didn't say that, but we're all mixing. We're all mixing weights right now. Did we not say that before?
No.
They want to put Aldo against Khabib.
But no, Aldo's thinking about moving up anyway.
Moving up anyway, so who gives a fuck?
It seems like he's kind of chasing like a chess move.
Yes,
he's like chasing Conor up
He's
to
chasing.
55.
He wants that Conor fight.
He wants
Yeah.
that fight. That's what everybody wants to see again, whatever the fucking order is. But the order that they're trying to put together is the order that I don't want to see.
Well, because they have to sell
But
pay-per-views,
no,
Joey.
they're going to do this, okay? This is the route, you fucks. The route they want to do is they're going to bring
Tell
him.
us, Uncle Joey.
They're gonna bring him back against fucking the black dude at 170. That's the fight.
Tyron Woodley?
That's already been made at the thing.
Wait
That's
a
gonna
minute.
come together.
Slow
Watch
the
it.
fuck down.
Watch it. Watch it.
Well, we just
Watch.
said that Woodley's going to fight Bisping in a catchweight
I know,
fight.
I know. That's all great. They're gonna fight. Watch.
You think that Tyron Woodley is going to fight
Tyrone Woodley. That was already established
Tyron.
in New York. Tyrone Woodley. Tyron Woodley is already gonna fucking fight him. Okay, that's the first fight. Then they're gonna try to. That's the fight they're gonna put there at 170, maybe in May.
What happens to Khabib?
Then they're gonna. This is what. See,
So
this
you
isn't-
think he's
this
gonna go
is-
to 170
This
and
isn't
fight
my
for the
fucking
title?
decision. This isn't my decision.
This is beyond you.
This is beyond me.
Yeah.
How do you know this? And I
Because
don't
I
know
already
this.
seen the setup at the fucking
but
New York.
I work for
Were
the
you
UFC.
fucking blind because you didn't see what I see?
But I talked to them.
I know you talked to them, but they don't tell you dick. They
But I'm
didn't tell you.
talking to the people
You didn't know
behind
they
the
were getting
scenes.
sold. You didn't know until
His
they
best
fucking
friend
sold.
owns it.
I did
I love
at the
it.
end.
I understand. But the problem is here that was the seed was already planted in New York. It was already planted. None of you motherfuckers saw it. What are you guys watching?
What seed?
The seed of him talking back and forth with Tyron
I did see that.
Woodley, okay? That's the fucking seed, okay?
Jesus Christ.
That's the fucking seed.
Jesus
They're gonna,
Christ.
he's gonna
It
look
smells
at,
like a zoo
He's
in
gonna
here,
look
by the way.
He's gonna look at he's gonna look at
Smells like a
Khabib
zoo.
already at the press conference.
Khabib again.
Already Khabib, he said he doesn't fight enough.
Okay, what's going on here?
That's Conor
the-
Wayne's talking shit to
That's
him.
the seed, you dumb fucks. That's
Well,
the seed.
what's happening here? What is he saying?
He's just talking shit
He's
to him.
talking
But can we,
shit to
can
him.
we hear what he said?
I don't think so.
It went on, and then
It's just Conor
afterwards,
talking
and then
shit.
Tyron said
He
some
might have
shit.
just said, hey. He might have said hi.
No.
Did it come out? It's
Stop.
to what he
Yes,
said?
it came out.
He said
see
something
this.
like, "You're lucky I don't come to 70" or
Hold
something
on.
like that.
Watch.
We can do it.
Look at him trying to be cute with him.
There's a moment here. There's a moment.
See?
Hey, bro.
Brewing between Tyron Woodley and Conor
Yeah.
McGregor. They are
It got set up right there.
eyeing each other down.
Okay,
Tyron
so that's
Woodley
the
said
next
hello
fucking
to
fight,
Conor
guys.
It's
McGregor.
Connor saying we can do it at 70. We can do it at
Damn,
70.
Joey
Because who the
spotted
fuck
that
you
shit.
people don't see dick because you see what you want to fucking see. That's the next fight. He already planted the fucking seed. He's not gonna fight Tyron. He's gonna fight Tyron and killed more time for Khabib like they threw Dennis Seaver on him when Frankie Edgar was fucking lurking. When Frankie Edgar was
Dennis
running,
Seaver.
they threw Dennis Seaver out of the. Oh,
Poor
well, Dennis
Dennis
Seaver's
Seaver.
available. Dennis Seaver's available. Oh, you know.
Look
so
at the color of his skin.
So
Look
now-
how red he gets. Look
It's
how
in
red he
between.
gets.
Hey, he's talking some truth
It's
here.
in between fucking. He doesn't want to fight Ferguson. He's not gonna fight Tony Ferguson.
Why not?
It's not because, bro. It's too much height, and Tony Ferguson don't give a fuck. He's a
Here's
barbarian.
backstage
Who
again.
fucking farted? That
Me.
is a horrible
That
fart.
was me.
It smells like a
it's
straight
tremendous
zoo.
fart. It's a tremendous fart.
Smells like a zoo up
That
in
one
this
was.
bitch.
Oh, look at this. They are going.
Don't
at it.
fucking tell me,
let's
guy.
get some volume on that. Can we get volume on that? What back there? Let hear this. Go all the way back. Way back. Here we go. Crank it up.
He's setting it up.
He's setting up the 170 belt. See? There's 8 guys there, guys.
You're
He
like,
said
a,
it's like a woman with that phone. Whoa.
Because
know what's
there's 10
crazy?
guys in the
He's
fucking
calling
room.
him out.
There's 10 guys in the
And
fucking
Tyron,
room.
look how drained Tyron looks.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Rewind it again.
Rewind
Let's hear
that.
it.
Rewind that. Rewind that. Shh, 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 shh.
What's up? Not much.
We need your assistance.
You hear that lady
He
terrified?
just said, "What's up?" and he stared him
Connor
down.
said, "What's up?" He said, "Not much." But meanwhile, you look at Tyron. Tyron looks so drained there when he made that weight. It's like right after he made the weight.
I'll tell you what's crazy. I like Connor's chances in that fight.
He's going to go for 3 fucking
How crazy
belts,
is
guys.
that?
Do
I
you
can't
really?
believe nobody
Yes.
ever saw this shit. He's not going to fight Ferguson because it's a fucking. Aerosmith. Guns N' Roses was Aerosmith on steroids, and Tony Ferguson is Little Diaz with fucking elk blood in him. You understand me? He don't want that kid. He don't want Tony Ferguson. He don't want Tony Ferguson. And Dana.
It's not a draw
Uncle
for him,
Dana,
Joey.
Uncle John, Uncle Bobby Dana is not going to let his nephew fight Khabib.
Are
Okay.
you kidding? Connor versus Tony is not a draw.
It's not a draw for
dude.
Connor. I know he's
That's
your
a-
guy.
That's
Eddie.
a big fucking fight. Make
That's a
Tony
big
versus
fucking
Connor.
fight, though. That's a good
Even
fight
Tony
right there.
versus Khabib. That's
a
a
big
huge
fucking
fight.
fight. right there.
Why don't you think they're making it, Eddie?
You tell me.
Why do you think they're making it?
It's not gonna sell. And I love these guys. Don't get me. I'm not clowning your guy. But as far as the average consumer buying a pay-per-view, that's not a sell. It's just not.
Hell yeah, it is. I disagree.
Connor
I
fighting
disagree,
anybody
homeboy.
is
Connor's.
a sale.
Connor fighting anybody's
Connor
a sale.
fighting a
Yeah.
top challenger is always a sale. And Tony
For Connor.
Ferguson, but Tony Ferguson is most certainly a top challenger. When Nate Diaz fought Connor for the first time was a giant fight because Nate Diaz had a name. And he's a bigger name than Tony, arguably, for sure.
Not even close.
Much bigger now after he beat
Before
him.
the Diaz
Before
brothers and Tony.
wasn't the same as it is now.
Brother,
It's a
the
different
Diaz
thing now.
brothers?
It's a different thing now. But he had it because of Nick, and Nick had all the Strikeforce success, Elite XC success. You know, all that's there's a lot of TV time there.
Nate was the Ultimate Fighter winner.
Nate, and then on top of that, Nick had just got done beating Anderson or fighting Anderson rather, and you know Nick is like a pretty well-known figure, right?
They
His
both
brother,
are.
they're both the Diaz brothers are like, so that's a different level. But having him take that fight on short notice too, but Connor was the main draw. Is my point.
Connor's the main draw.
Connor's
and
the
I
main
agree.
draw.
But
And
this
he's the
is
main
why
draw
Connor's
even
not
if it's
taking it
fight.
because I agree. He's the main draw. If you're Connor and you're his manager, you're going, let's fight Tony, who's a tough fucking matchup, but he's not as big as the name as a guy like Nate Diaz at 55, who we're going to make more money, maybe not as tough as a fight, bigger name. So they're doing it from a business point.
And
That's why he's not fighting
you
Tony.
also-
That's why he's not fighting Khabib.
You also
Tony's
have
a
the
tough
option.
fight, horrible fight for him.
They're going to do a Russia card, and when they do a Russia card, they want to do a Russia card with Connor or with Khabib rather. So when they do a Russia card with Khabib, it's most likely going to be for a title, I would imagine.
It's a title.
It all depends if Connor accepts it. Remember,
Might not
Connor
have to be
has
Connor.
all the power.
It might be Tony, and it might be for an
Correct.
interim. And apparently they offered it to Tony, and Tony said that he wanted to make the same amount of money that Habib makes,
which is perfectly fine.
perfectly
fine.
fine. But they said nope. You got a contract. You got to honor your contract. That's at least how it's been explained.
Yes, that's how it's being explained. They go, no, well, you sign these contracts, you got to honor the contract.
Yeah.
But that only works one way. That only works for the UFC because they don't honor all the contracts,
Right.
do they?
Right.
What do you mean?
If it works for
They
them.
can cut them. You have a 6-fight contract.
Right.
You've lost 2,
But that's
and
in
it's
your
boring,
contract.
You're cut.
It's in the contract that you can get cut. If it wasn't in the contract, there's guys who have fought and they fought out their entire contract.
For sure.
Right?
But I'm just saying,
Like
it's
Pedro
very
Hizzo. Remember
very
the early
one-sided.
days? And Pedro Hizzo had this giant contract because they thought that Pedro was going to be the heavyweight champ. And so they were giving him like undercard fights. He was making $250,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tricky, man, because I get the idea that they would want to protect Conor, and really set up the big money fights, especially now because he's the biggest guy. But then you got Conor, who's kind of fucking crazy. And it's like the way he John down Tyron Woodley.
I don't think it's Conor doing it. I think it from a business standpoint, they're going, what's the biggest fight pot? Let's say you have 3 fights left. Who are the 3 biggest names we can fight and to make this happen so
Look,
you stay undefeated
the biggest
and make
thing,
the most money?
He might not be undefeated. I mean, he's definitely not undefeated now, right? But the biggest thing is the Woodley fight because that's a 170
That's
pound
170.
belt.
That's a third belt, guys. That's a fight.
That's
if you didn't
insane.
see
Does
it,
the UFC
shame
give them
on
that
you.
much control?
Shame on you, motherfuckers, if you didn't see it. Number 2, listen, I'm not saying that Khabib is going to beat Conor, especially after I see him take the punch from Michael Conor. I'm not saying
Michael
he's
Johnson.
Michael Johnson. But the fight is Khabib. And then the next fight has to be Ferguson if he beats him. That's the way it is where I come
But
from.
Ferguson
But
and
it's not
Khabib
gonna be
can't
like-
wait. They can't wait. Like Ferguson needs a fight like in the next 4 or 5 months. Khabib needs a fight in the next fucking 2-3 months. He's
Khabib
got-
said he'll fight in Brooklyn. And
Oh,
Tony
yeah.
Ferguson
That's
will
a
fight in
month
Brooklyn.
from now.
But he
that's in
said after
February.
when you interviewed him,
Yeah.
he put the hat on your
I
fucking
understand.
head. He said he'll fight in Brooklyn.
Put the hat on my head every
they gotta
time I've been
promote
every
him.
time, right,
I know
I'm
it's
sorry.
great. I fucking love it.
that.
And you don't say dick to him.
No,
There's
he
nothing
looks
you're
at me.
gonna say.
He looks at me.
Yeah,
He
and he
shows
goes,
me the hat. I give him the nod. I'm like,
great.
yeah, I'll put that
Put
on.
the
I love
fucking
it.
hat on
I
and
like
shit.
that hat.
Now, Eddie, me as a fan,
Oh, as a
the
fan,
number
I
one
wanna
fight I
see
want
those.
to see is Tony versus Khabib. That's the fight.
That's
Yeah.
a fight.
There's not
too.
a better matchup that
That's a
can be
great
made
fight,
in the
too.
UFC.
Ooh, I don't know about that. I like Tony versus Conor. I even like Khabib versus Conor.
Yeah, I like them
I
both.
like
Any of those.
I like
Any of those.
I like Conor versus Woodley. I like that fight too.
That's
I like
the
that
fight, guys.
too.
That's the next money fight. But he's gonna eventually.
I don't think the UFC gives them enough power to do that. They're not going to let him get that much control.
All
You just
about
said
the
Conor has all the
Benjamins,
power.
baby. Yeah, he's got all the power.
Well, here's the thing about
do. You think
Woodley.
they can give
just
him
said
more
that.
power?
Woodley loses to Bisping. If he
He has
loses this
enough power.
catchweight fight, he still keeps that 170
Yeah.
pound strap.
That's if that catchweight fight happens.
That's just
the UFC
smoke up
might be
your
like,
ass.
what? No, you can't
It's the
hold up
black-
2 divisions.
It's Tyron against my boy Conor
I got to go with
McGregor.
Joey
Might
on
be
this
right.
one.
I'm telling
he
you, they
was,
planted
he
at
was
the
going
thing.
after Tyron.
They planted the seed right there.
Well,
Like,
When
You
does that
can't
ever
tie up 2
happen?
divisions.
That's
I've been
ex-
backstage at UFCs all the goddamn
That's
time.
exactly
That shit
how it
don't
happens.
happen. Like dudes aren't just
and they're
fucking
going to push
nutting
him
up on
away
people.
from the Russian and
Conor
Ferguson
does.
I
for as
know,
long
but-
as they can.
I mean, but
and then
specifically,
they'll do what
we
they
got
did
video
after.
of
Hey, we
him
can't
and
talk
Woodley.
over each other.
No, they'll do the NASA thing when they go to interview him. They die in car accidents and shit. But that's the fight, guys. That's the fight right there that everybody wants to see right off the bat. I'd love to see Conor and Khabib. I'd love to see Ferguson and Khabib. But they're not going to do that right off the bat. They're going to hope that they fall off a cliff or a plane goes down. Let's give him the money fight, which is 170. Can he get the third belt?
Here's
Smart
the thing:
thinking,
if he
Joe.
loses,
Third
if he does lose, if he goes up to and
Nothing
beats
happens.
Tyron, nothing happens.
Nothing happens. He has
Yeah.
nothing
It's
to do.
risk-free.
It's
Yeah.
risk-free.
Same thing with that first Nate Diaz fight.
Okay? Remember who runs this show?
But then what
right
do you
here.
do with
And
what do you
God, we
do?
try-
What do you do with Tony and Khabib?
They go to Bellator.
No,
They're gonna get pissed off. They're gonna say, "Fuck you, UFC. We can't take this no more because
here's
you're hiding
another
this
thing.
kid from us."
Here's another thing at Bellator. There's still one guy left that I don't know where his contract's at, but Michael Chandler is a motherfucker.
Motherfucker.
He is a motherfucker.
He's
Dude.
a remember he beat Eddie Alvarez, who's the
Yeah.
champ at 155.
And did you see what he did
Twice.
to that Pitbull guy and starched him with one punch?
Starched him.
Dude, Michael Chandler is legit as
He-
fuck.
how many fights does he have left though?
I don't know. It's interesting. He was just at the UFC the other day. That's why I'm saying it.
Yeah.
He was in the front row. I was talking to him. I
He's an
didn't
ATT
talk to
guy,
him
though.
about the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a bad motherfucker.
I'll tell you another guy, Lance Palmer from Team Alpha Male, who's
Yeah.
World Series of
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
Mhm.
He has one fight left, and after that, he's going straight to the UFC. Good luck beating that motherfucker.
What weight is he?
45. Can wrestle his paws off.
Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of talent coming up, man. A lot of talent coming up.
Then you have
It's an
some guys
interesting
going to
time.
Bellator like that. Lorenz Larkin, who's a monster.
Is he going to go to Bellator?
They're talking to
He's
him.
a free agent. I
A
hope
free
he
agent.
stays in the UFC. I really do. 'Cause
Is
there's a lot-
Bellator paying pretty good?
Yes.
They have to.
They have to. It's the they're
It's the only
that's
way
how they're
people are gonna
getting
get over there.
Roy McDonald, Lorenz
Yeah.
Larkin. They're
I don't
talking
know
a
if
lot of guys.
Lorenz is on there yet, but Lorenz, the way he put away Neil Magny, I was like, don't go anywhere, man. Stick around. Like Lorenz,
You don't
gotta
have to wear
remember,
Reebok, though, so-
Lorenz beat Robbie Lawler. Lorenz is legit as fuck.
He's a nightmare.
He's a dangerous striker. He's one of the best strikers in that 170-pound division and fought a good chunk of his career at 185. 170, he's a big fella. And he's got ridiculous kicks. He throws that goddamn oblique kick to the body better than anybody I've ever seen. Pull up the fight, Lorenz Larkin versus Neil Magny. Neil Magny, who is a tough fucking dude,
He
didn't
just
even
beat Johnny
have
Hendricks.
a chance in that fight.
He got starched.
He beat Johnny Hendricks. The judges helped, but he beat Johnny Hendricks.
I had Neil winning 1 and 3 in that.
I think he could have been conceivably won because of having him in that triangle in the third, but the first round was so loose. It just didn't look dangerous to me. That was like a legit loose triangle.
But he still did more
didn't
than
look
Johnny.
loose to
I
me.
felt.
He did a little
I
something.
disagree
I'm
with
also
that.
biased as fuck.
You might be right.
I
Have to
disagree.
look at it again, but I saw some
Eddie
space.
agrees.
I saw some space, and I think the arm is tucked in enough where I don't think Johnny was like in real trouble, but he was definitely stuck.
Think about those judges, though. They don't know shit.
They don't
so
know
they see
shit.
him in danger. They're giving him the
He
round.
was
Right.
definitely in some serious motherfucking danger. Anytime you're caught with one arm in, one arm out, and the shit is singed, you're
And those
in
long
fucking
limbs.
trouble.
It's almost like
You're
his
in
legs
trouble.
are so long that like he gives you a little extra space.
Yeah.
Because his legs are so
More
long.
maneuver.
No,
Yeah,
the
it's not
problem
like
was
squished down.
is he started throwing elbows, and when that does, like his
Opens
head's
it up.
right there,
Yeah.
it pushes him out.
Yeah.
That's what happens. So the more you hit him, so it's like you gotta
fart
land
on
a
him?
couple.
Farting up a
It's
storm.
like you gotta land a couple elbows and then grab the wrists and pull them back in. You gotta constantly
I see
pull
what
them
you're
back in,
Right.
throw a couple.
Because
but-
they're like this. And
Yeah, but
no,
they
when
remember
you're throwing elbows,
Yeah.
you're pushing them out of your
Yeah, yeah.
shit.
remember when Anderson stopped Travis Luter? That's how he got him.
sure
Locked
did.
him up in a
Travis
triangle.
Luter miss weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could,
Dude,
could
he
there have been a
didn't-
more frustrating weight cut?
He didn't just miss weight,
The
dude.
fuck?
He was the closest I've ever seen where it looked like the guy was dead. Watch this fight. Here's Lorenz. Lorenz is a slick striker, but watch this oblique kick to the body. A lot of guys are throwing this to the leg, but Lorenz throws it to the body, and he switches stances a lot. But the way he lands it, he launches you through the air with it. So he hits him with that low kick on the bottom of the calf, like real
Haircut
low.
is fresh.
Is it gonna happen right now?
It's gonna happen. I mean, this is just the fight itself, but the way he throws it is really unusual, man. Because he'll be like from here, like
That
right
one
there.
right there?
That's it. Yeah. See
Sparta-
that?
Rewind that
Sparta
again.
kicked his
Rewind
ass.
it.
Shit.
Is that
That-
the one?
yeah, that's
that was
exactly
a rear push kick.
Yeah.
No,
No. Watch. It's an oblique kick.
That's
Watch how
that
he throws
Verdum
it.
versus
Boom.
Edmund kick.
See that? This is
Like
what
he
it's
wants
like.
like
No.
that?
No, it's not. It's like this. He's doing this. Watch it again.
Do it
Watch
again.
it again. Back it up
Slow
again.
motion?
Watch this.
Just
Just watch
before
it.
this.
Just watch it. Trust me. I know what the kick is. Watch how he does it. Watch it where his heel is. His toes are pointing. See? His toes are kind of pointing at the outside.
That fucks Neil up too.
Oh, dude, it's a. I'll show you on a bag. It's a devastating.
Did you
kick.
hear Neil talk about that fight? He goes, I literally just overlooked the guy. He doesn't get a lot of hype, but he definitely should.
What?
Yeah,
he overlooked Larkin?
Yeah, he goes. There's just, I don't know. He doesn't get a lot of hype.
Oh
We
my
thought it was going to be
God.
an easier fight than it was.
Well, he just got off a beaten Hector Lombard. He might have been feeling his oats.
Yeah, exactly.
But Larkin is a totally different animal. He's one
Oh
of the
my
most
God, he's tough.
one of the most technical and capable guys in the division when it comes to striking.
His jiu-jitsu
Look at
is
that.
good,
See it
too.
again. See it again?
Rewind
Watch that
that.
again.
Rewind
His
Back it
wrestling's
again.
ridiculous,
See,
too.
it's his foot is not. He's hitting with the heel.
Like this?
See, yeah, it's like this. This is what he's
Okay.
doing. See how he does that there?
Yeah.
Dude, come on, son. Who kicks like that? Like
That
the
shit's
way he throws
embarrassing
that.
if you're
Back
Neil,
that up
too.
again. Back that up again. Look at the extension he gets. Watch this. Watch how he throws this kick. This is a beautiful kick, man. He sets it up with that and then steps in.
Spartan style, son.
Dude, it's a weird kick because a lot of guys don't do it the way he does
He's
it.
stomping.
And John
but
does it all
turning
the
heel
time.
out.
Yep, but John does it to the legs.
Yeah,
and
John
Holly
doesn't do
Holm
it as
did it a lot
powerful.
to Ronda.
Yeah.
Holly did it to Ronda.
He's
That's
stomping, but
Winklejohn
turning
shit.
his heel in instead of out, right?
Exactly. It's like you step forward and you do this.
Yes.
And it's got a lot
Condo
of
to
power.
do it. All the
next time
Jackson
I-
boys do
Next
it.
time you're in front of a bag,
A
I'll
new
show
kick
you.
is born in,
No, no,
in
no.
the UFC.
No,
it's
no.
not a new. He didn't invent it, but I'm just saying
Winklejohn,
that
they've been doing it forever.
People have been
Jackson
doing it
boys.
forever, but they've been doing it to the leg.
Not
And-
to this degree, though. He fucking Sparta kicks
Look
his
at
ass.
that. Lorenz is on another level. He just is. And the only loss that he has inside the octagon at 170 is against Tumanov, and that was a super close fight.
And he's not. So he's not the only guy that ever throw it exactly like that.
Well, he's one of the only guys I've ever seen throw it to the body.
And knock someone down.
And the way he throws it to the body is just massive
Powerful.
power and speed. The way he chambers his legs and then gets that kick to launch straight in a straight line.
nobody practices that, right?
Guys are doing
Certain
it now.
guys do
I
now,
guarantee
especially
you.
with his success. Copycat league.
You have to see it 1,000 times before people like make it part of their daily routine.
But he's fucking up
There's
that
so
lower
many
leg
strikes
too.
you got to
But
work
again,
on.
Lorenz flies under the radar. Like he wants more publicity.
Look at
He
him
wants-
He
again.
did it
Look at that.
again. He did it. I mean, he does it from here to the body, which is so
God, he's
crazy.
nasty. Can you imagine him versus Roy McDonald in Bellator?
I could.
Oh, nice.
But I can imagine him
Yeah.
fighting for the title against Woodley too. I want to see him at 170 in the UFC. I'm selfish.
What's his his record of the last
Only
3 fights?
lost
He's
to
only lost once.
Tumanov, and it was a razor close
Was
decision.
that recent?
That was like 2 or 3 fights ago, and he's won all the other ones.
He's a
So
monster.
he's on a win streak.
Yeah, but this is the big win because Magny's a top contender, and he beat the fuck out of Magny. I mean, Magny was never in this fight. This fight was it was like he worked him, man.
Yeah, Magny's really only been outclassed in this Larkin fight, and then he got outclassed when he fought Damian Maia.
Larkin throws a lot of weird shit too, man. He'll throw like wheel kicks to the thigh.
Dude, he came into rain, and everyone was like, well, we don't know what the fuck to do.
Really?
There's no. Me and Pat couldn't get him down. His takedown defense was ridiculous. His striking was unconventional. He was a nightmare.
Yeah, he's got I think a kung fu background. I think that's where he started his career. But you see, like that low leg kick, man. He attacks like below the knee.
Look at
and
him
he's
just
doing it
eating
again.
Neil up.
He's found a sweet spot with
Speed,
those
man.
oblique
He's
kicks.
a
Look at this
monster.
takedown defense too. It's
Look,
speed.
Magny pulls guard.
Yeah, I bet it's interesting being a guy of his caliber going, God, do I go to Bellator where I make more money, or do I stay in the UFC where I could actually be, a UFC champion? And the notoriety that comes with that. It's a tough fucking, you know what I'm saying?
The problem is you could go to Bellator and you could chew away years of your career and no one will know who you are. Look at Diego Lima, or
Who?
Douglas Lima.
I know, I'm just kidding.
No, exactly.
I know.
Lima's a world-class fighter.
Look at Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
Michael Chandler, he's better than Eddie Alvarez. Beat Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah.
You
But
walk
Eddie
down the
beat him,
street.
too. Eddie
Yeah,
beat
but
him, too.
still, you talk about a guy like of that caliber.
Yeah.
He walks down the street,
Nobody
goes
knows
into
who he is.
7-Eleven. People are like, oh, what are you, CrossFit? They don't
Yeah.
know who he is.
Yeah, what happened
Where
to
if
your
he
ears,
was in
bro?
the UFC, everyone knows who he is.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's not there yet. I wish it
They
was.
can get there though.
I don't know, man. They don't have pay-per-view. They don't have like those, and they're
Why do you
they're
need
on
pay-per-view?
Spike TV. Like it's not the same. It's just like
Viacom.
what they're putting. I agree, but they've tried one pay-per-view. It was a terrible disaster.
What was the pay-per-view they tried?
Rampage? Remember?
I do remember.
Yeah, I mean it didn't work. Nobody bought it. It's just there's a difference.
But their ratings on regular cable are good, just as good as the
But
UFC.
what's weird is their ratings on regular cable still don't translate into stardom. It's very strange.
Well, it's because I think what they've been doing is they've been getting the older guys from the UFC where people are like,
Right.
he's kind of over the hill. Where now they have a guy like Roy McDonald,
Right.
who's young and he can be that kind of world class
Right.
athlete.
But the
It's
UFC
gonna take a
shows a
while.
replay of Wonder Boy fucking up Rory. That's what they show over and over and over again. And then they show Robbie Lawler knocking out Rory. And they'll just show it over and over again in their highlights.
True.
Till everybody knows Rory left and
True.
went over there. I wish Rory nothing but the best.
Yeah,
But
until
my point
Bellator
is-
gets their like a Michael Venom Page. Let's say
Right.
if they get one superstar like a John Jones who started with them, then you're going to start seeing some
But
changes.
Page got kind of exposed in his last fight.
What happened?
Went the didn't knock the guy out. Didn't really look that good.
Oh, I'm
Who's
not
the
saying
guy?
he's the answer.
Wasn't-
I'm
yeah.
saying they need a type of guy.
I forget who he fought.
Because the Chael Sonnen versus Tito Ortiz, it'll do record breaking. It's going to kill number wise because we know who those guys are.
You think
But they're
so?
both older. Oh, it's going to sell for sure.
Well, it's not selling. It's going to be on regular TV, right? It's not pay-per-view.
Well, no, I'm going to say it's going to sell ticket wise at the Forum.
Okay.
Because remember that Brooklyn card was supposed to be at the same time as that Bellator card. UFC left because they didn't have a headliner for that, so they left Anaheim. Remember that same night?
Is that where it was? Oh, well, that's the Brooklyn card? They moved
Yeah.
that card to Brooklyn?
Yep.
That's what happened?
Yep.
Oh, it's interesting. The Brooklyn card does look like they're still working on it, though. I'm hoping they could pull that
It's
together.
a smart move because like Tito Chael and we got fucking Holly. This like they don't let's.
So that's the same weekend?
Yep.
So
Both
the Tito
finals
fight is
for
the
Doom?
same weekend
Ja-
as Jermaine Durandame?
No, I think they
Holly
switched
Holm?
it, but it was the same as Bellator. Bellator is January 21st on Spike.
Oh, okay. So February.
Yeah, they switched it to that February
Got it.
card.
Now, when is Verdum dos Santos? Did we schedule that? Or?
No, well, Verdum was supposed to fight Kane, but Kane got pulled off the card because he fucked up, man. He did an interview and
God,
said that
he
he needed
fucked up.
surgery after the fight. And they're like, what? So, Bob Baker from the Nevada State Athletic Commission, who does a fucking awesome job, he is not going to let you fight if you go around telling people that you need surgery.
Too much of a liability.
Yeah, it's a liability.
Just business 101, Kane.
And you just can't do it. He fucked up. He probably didn't think about it. He just thought, look, I'm just going to show everybody how tough I am and go through it anyway, which you can do. See, the thing is, his back is structurally sound, and doctors cleared him. So if he did, like he thought in his mind, even though he does need to get the pathways cleared out, he's got some sort of stenosis where the pathways to the nerves, it's irritating his nerves, but he can get a cortisone shot. Now, if he gets a cortisone shot, then he won't feel it. He can go through the fight. Structurally, he's fine. It's not like he's compromised, like he's got a weak joint. So he goes, it's just a little bit of pain. He goes through it. Then after the fight, he can get the surgery. That's what his doctor said, so that's what he was saying. He just didn't take into consideration that whenever you say, two things happen. First of all, the betting line changes. You go and tell everybody needs surgery after the fight. Everybody's like, whoa. So that gets squirrely, especially with Nevada. They have to figure out how do they put this line up. And second of all, there's that liability thing.
It's huge liability. And then did you see they did offer the fight of Junior Dos Santos?
Right.
And then Verdum came out and started calling Junior Dos Santos gay.
Yeah, what's
He was
that
like,
about?
just come out of the closet. He said nothing against homosexuals, but everyone knows you're gay. Damn, son.
Did he say that?
Yeah, went hard in the paint at JDS.
Wow, that's rough.
That's super rough.
So
And
much.
DC Johnson, that's not on the horizon anytime soon.
DC's just getting back to training on Monday.
DC had a torn muscle, and he decided to opt for surgery, right?
Groin.
Yeah, right next to his.
Next to that.
So he went for surgery on that, right?
He had surgery. He's just getting back to training, but who knows how long he's out. Then you got John Jones. His suspension's up in July. And then Rumble said, the only thing I'm doing is fighting for a title. I'll wait a year if I have to. But the UFC's gonna be like, nah, son, you're gonna fight John Jones for an interim title. That's what I think's gonna happen if DC's not ready.
So John Jones comes back in July. I think his suspension is up right when that July 4th weekend card comes up.
Boom, boom, boom.
So he'll be probably the headliner for that.
That's a tough go because he had some ring rust when he fought OSP.
Yep.
Let's not get it
Yep.
twisted. And
Yep.
Anthony Rumble Johnson, you don't get any mistakes with that gentleman.
Well, and also he had ring rust before the OSP fight. And now it's another year off.
that's a long.
It's a long time off.
To your point with Ronda had 411 days off. Ring rust is real, man. I don't give a fuck what people say. And not only is it real, but you're not getting warm-up fights. Like, she's not fighting Liz Carmouche.
Right.
You're fighting fucking this
Amanda.
killer who just fought at UFC 200.
Yep.
Who's ready to go.
Yep.
You're getting
What do you
no
think-
warm-ups.
Just
What do you
loose.
think about BJ Yair? That's going to be
scary.
crazy, huh?
Yaire's the future.
Scary. Yair Rodriguez he's so dynamic, man. His
fun to
kicking.
watch.
BJ's at Jackson's, right? Mm-hmm. Man, you know, that's what everyone was saying. Like, oh, BJ needs a real camp. If BJ went to Jackson's or if BJ went here, AKA or whatever, and he actually listened and he did it.
A little too
Yeah.
late, but yeah.
It's weird that
It's never
isn't
too
it
late.
Weird.
If he's in the
That's
right
not
camp
true,
and that's
sir.
BJ Penn, it's never too late.
How did he lose all that weight?
Yair's a bad motherfucker. But BJ, you know, with the right camp, just like everybody said, if he had the right camp, he's got the right camp now.
Yeah, but what happened? Like, what happened to his body where he's going to 45? Like, why is he going to 45?
Especially as you get
That's
older.
his real
it's tougher to
weight.
cut.
That was always his real weight. He was doing jiu-jitsu at 147. That was always his weight.
Right, but wasn't he like 12?
Yeah, he was young as fuck. But and then remember, he even fought
won-
at
he
he
won
won the
Obviously
worlds.
wasn't
He won the
12. The
black
Mundials.
belt worlds at 147.
He fought Machida for God's sakes. Like he's fought.
He's a legend.
He's crazy.
He's an
Oh,
animal.
I'll never. I never root against BJ. It's just
Yeah.
goddamn.
Yeah, unfortunately, Yair is fuck. That's a nightmare opponent for BJ.
Yair's the
but-
future, man.
But this is the best BJ we're gonna see. This is the best one.
That's a strong
I don't-
statement at his age,
yeah, I
sir.
don't-
no, what I meant, the best possible we can
For
see.
today.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
for
the
I see
best.
what you're saying.
Yeah,
We're gonna
yeah,
see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a great camp. He's probably
exactly.
in shape. He's sticking
Jackson's
to
not
everything.
fucking around with BJ. Are you kidding?
You can't. You get 8 up.
Yeah.
He's 38 years old, though.
And that's 38 MMA years.
And 38 years old after
If he takes him down,
wars.
how good
the
is
war-
Yair's jiu-jitsu?
It's pretty goddamn
Nasty.
good.
It's
What belt
dynamic
is
and
it?
it's different.
He's a mad scrambler.
He'll,
I don't know
he'll,
what belt he
he'll
is. It's a good
fly
question.
to knee bars.
Is
to
he
do,
black
yeah.
belt level?
I don't think so.
I don't think he's black belt.
Brown belt level.
Yair Rodriguez, BJJ rank. Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, find it, Jamie. But here's the thing about Yair: the distance. He keeps that kicking distance. He's fucking so
He's quick.
lethal.
He's
So
quick.
lethal
That's
on
going to
the
be the problem
outside.
for BJ is the quickness
If
and the
BJ
youthfulness.
stands with him, yeah, the odds are not in his favor. But if BJ just decides to
Take
get
him
in that
down.
clinch and take him down,
Squeeze him out.
and jump on his neck, I think that's the best route. Not to
100%.
stand.
Vintage
he's
BJ,
got
for
he's
sure.
got to take Rodriguez.
I didn't
down.
I didn't like BJ versus Lamas. What the fuck? It's a legend, man. Don't give me Ricardo Lamas.
Ricardo Lamas is a bad motherfucker.
I know. So is Yair, but
They're
Ricardo
both bad
Lamas going to hurt you.
motherfuckers.
I didn't
Yeah.
like that.
You don't think Yair's gonna hurt you?
Not the same way Ricardo is.
Jesus, dude. Did you see the touchy-feely fight when he launched that fucking flying roundhouse kick to his jaw and flattened him?
Those are good points.
Yeah.
I didn't like the Lamas fight for him.
I think they're both equally scary. The thing about
Different
Lamas
scary.
is Lamas has more experience against world-class competition. Went 5 rounds with Aldo and was beating Aldo in the 5th round.
And good
was
luck
on
taking
top
Lamas
of him,
down.
ground and pounding him. He's got a nasty guillotine too, where he guillotined Bermudez, cracked him with a punch, and then snuck in that tight arm-in guillotine. He's very good. Lamas is one of the best guys, but he's also 34, 35.
It doesn't do anything for BJ that fight and Lamas is such a badass and he's so skilled. That doesn't do much for BJ. Like at least Yair, if he wins, he's young. That's a huge feather in his cap. That makes more sense.
I guess, but if BJ beat Lamas, it was a big feather in his cap. It's like, Jesus, he beat a top 10 contender. He's back.
us,
He hasn't fought forever.
Yeah, to us.
But what do you mean to anybody else? Like, well, the only thing about Yair is that Yair won the Ultimate Fighter. He won the Latin America Ultimate Fighter.
True.
Yair's a motherfucker.
He's a
dude.
motherfucker.
He really is. People hate when we say that, by the way.
When we
Stop
say,
calling people motherfuckers. That's what you guys say.
That's our
all you
lingo,
say.
for God's
He's a
sakes.
beast. He's a motherfucker.
He's a beast. Bad motherfucker.
You guys need more adjectives. You need more adverbs too.
Talk like me and my friends. God damn.
There's a lot of goddamn good fights on the horizon. There's a lot of potential fights. If you're Wonder Boy, wouldn't you be pissed at all this Woodley talk about Woodley fighting anybody else other than Wonder Boy?
No one's even talking about Wonder Boy.
Yeah, they forgot
Wonder
he's
Boy
alive.
needs to start talking shit to Connor.
Ooh.
I'll tell you what. I'd watch Wonder Boy versus your boy Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, but they're
Just
different
fuck weight classes. Well, I'm on Joey Diaz's train now. Fuck weight classes.
Listen, they're not gonna listen. Cowboy has fought at 155 and at 170. The fight between him and Tony Henderson, you guys were talking before. I was seeing it. Explosions are going off in my head. That's a great
Tony
fight.
Henderson or Ben Henderson?
Well, your guy.
Oh, Tony
Tony
Ferguson.
Ferguson.
Tony Henderson?
I always get confused. So I did about 19 sprays.
Did
So-
you really?
He's been taking them nonstop.
How many sprays did you take?
You know me, dog.
Probably
I don't fuck
12?
around. It's the Lord's Day. We got nowhere to be and nothing to do. What the fuck?
Wow, that spray scares me.
Oh, it's tremendous. I wrote them an email. They wrote me back. They're nice people. I got to go up to the stop, get some more from them. But
Some strong shit, huh?
listen, man, if you guys are talking about we need $4 billion, we need fights. This is it. These are all the fights they're going to have to do now.
You're
They
so
did 'em for-
so you
they
think
did
they
'em-
say fuck weight class and just make it the
Not
biggest
fuck
fight?
weight classes. Everybody has to respect the weight classes, but go up if you want to go up. If you think you can run with it, run with it. You got to convince Dana. The same way Conor convinced Dana.
Have some of them Jambos. Have some of those if you're brave.
What are these?
Exactly.
I can't see without my glasses. Read them to me. What is this?
Jambos. That's a fucking super powerful edible.
It's a 2 cookie dough truffles.
Yeah. Dum, dum,
How
dum,
many-
dum,
Hey, gluten
dum.
free, Joey.
Oh my
gluten-free.
God.
Get
Man,
in
I'm
there.
Excited.
Take
Oh my goodness. Now I can go hang out with my faggy friends instead of
Hey,
sitting
easy.
and hang out. And,
Go find that guy who's gonna suck your dick to them.
yeah.
Take a smell of that. Organic. He makes them with honey. They're so good.
How many?
It tastes
What's
good.
the strength?
Death. All the above.
Read the strength of me, Papa.
Straight to the end of the earth.
Pretty sure it doesn't say on there.
It tastes like dick.
Tastes like dick? Why does it taste like dick? Too organic for you? Joey's used to that processed sugar.
It doesn't say how much is in here.
Exactly.
He meant it as a compliment.
They don't even want you to know.
It says eat a truffle when you need a boost of energy.
Kind of
I
energy
don't know
you
about
got.
that.
What does it say about milligrams of THC?
It doesn't say it.
Interesting.
No, it
I
tastes
feel
all
like that's
natural.
something you need to know,
Yeah.
right? I
should
feel like
probably
that's
tell you.
important on here.
Well, this one says 25 milligrams. Maybe I give you the wrong one. This seems pretty light. 25 is not that bad for a guy like you. That's nothing.
25 milligrams. I
This
ate
one's
That's a
100.
waste of your
I
time.
ate 1,200 last week.
God damn.
This one's 100, but I think there's 2 of them
There's
in
this
there.
new edible called Moon.
So this is 200 if you eat the 2 of them.
Listen, there's a thing called Moon. Okay? It's a chocolate bar. It's $10 fucking dollars. $10 called Moon. I've eaten them twice. How long you know me?
A long time.
20 years.
Both times the next day I could not go to jiu-jitsu. I didn't do
Damn.
much. I didn't do much the next
They're
day.
that strong?
Yeah,
What'd you
that's-
do?
I ate the whole bar.
And then what happened?
Dog, you got to see pictures of me.
How many milligrams is it?
250, but they're lying to you. They're definitely lying to you, which I like. I like being lied to. Because I don't want to know what I'm eating. Bro, I saw pictures of me. It's like I got hit by Nunez. Both eyes.
There it is.
That
That's
pocket fudge, that
Rocket
rocket
fudge?
that shit will fucking kill you. Here's the beauty that you go into these
$12.
places and they have all these $40 edibles and they have all these 10, this is 10 fucking dollars. You eat a half of that thing and you'll be drooling. And I got a better one
I
for
don't
you.
want to drool.
Listen to me.
drool.
There's one called Cushy. They have 50 milligram, 100, and then they have Knockout. In the back, listen to me. It says it will activate in 60 minutes guaranteed, okay? Here's the thing about
Give
this.
it to Jamie.
Jamie, it comes in a...
Look at that,
right
Cushy
there.
punch.
That's super potent. The fucking... where is it? Not the recovery one, but they've got one that is so fucking strong, and I call it transmission fluid. Because when you open it up, it comes in like you ever go eat breakfast, the butter packages?
Yeah.
You have to rip them open and stick
Yeah.
the knife in there. Comes in one of those. And they chop it in 4s for you. Okay? Me, I'm a gavone. I ate the whole, but when you peel the top off and you smell it, it's like you're walking into a transmission shop. Like, that's exactly, where is it? Not the hybrid, not the indica. That's all for pussy.
TKO.
TKO, bitch. That's all for pussy. That's transmission fluid. Oh, my God.
Super potent gummy formula.
Best for high tolerance users.
High tolerance user.
God,
die.
dog.
Oh, man, it's a weird time because it's all legal now. Now that it's legal, you're going to see what these dudes can do. Because they're going to have to be held back, though, because I think there's regulations on the potency of edibles now.
Is there?
I
thought you just had to let people know what's in them.
I think it's 10.
10.
Yeah, so you're going to just, each one will be 10. Like in Denver, they were selling these like containers of 10. It was 100 milligrams, and they were these gumdrops, and each one of them is 10. They're pretty consistent. But not totally consistent. Like I ate one, I was like, yeah, that feels like 10, and then I ate another one that felt like 40 or 50.
Yeesh.
I was like, ooh, this one.
No, they don't have the real numbers. Not if you eat, I'll bring that Cushy to you, and I'll make you eat the whole thing, and you'll go, Joey, that's not 200 milligrams. They lied to us.
That's the case often, though. I mean, like, it's hard to get real accurate testing. And then also, like, who's doing the actual making and
Yeah, where
blending?
they're making it. And
Yeah, how
exact measurements.
Well, like tomorrow, I pick up my shipment of Anarchy edibles. Those are my home run.
my shipment.
Every Monday, I
Like
don't
meet
a
get it
them.
fucking
delivered?
pallet.
Yeah, I meet
Pulls
him
up
every.
at a
I meet him
UFC.
every Monday before jiu-jitsu, about 10:45. He gives me 100, 200 milligrams, 100 red ones, and a couple brownies. I give the brownies away to my friends, and I keep those for the podcast and when I fly and shit like that. But then you have to, you get used to the same strain. It's like marijuana. If you smoke the same joint for 3 days, it's not going to get you as high as the first day because your tolerance builds
Right.
to that strain. So I mix and match, bitch. And the only ones that are allowed in Mr. Uncle Joey's neighborhood are Cushy, the TKO, brilliant. Fucking brilliant. But that new Rocket Pocket, that Rocket Chocolate, that shit, dog. Twice I've eaten them already. And I'm telling you, the next day, I get up, I take the baby to school, I write a little bit, and by 10:30, there ain't nothing going on. I got to go right back to bed for 4 or 5 hours, dog. Fucked up the next day.
There's going to be a time in our lifetimes where they start passing medical psilocybin. It's going to happen. And when they have medical psilocybin, eventually they're going to go with recreational psilocybin. And when they go with recreational psilocybin, we're going to see a different world. It's going to be a different fucking world. But the same benefits that you're seeing with marijuana, the difference being that marijuana, at least when you're smoking it, it's easier to regulate. The experience isn't so world-changing and dissolving. But we're gonna have freedom. It's not here yet, but it's here now for pot in a way that's never been before.
Do you think once a big pharma goes 100% in on cannabis, what kind of things do you think they'll do to squeeze out the small guys? Because that, you know what I mean?
They've already done it.
They
They
can
tried
make
to do it in Ohio.
regulations. They can make it, okay, now it's legal, but we're the only ones that could
Well,
sell it.
that's what they did, Jamie.
You
what
know what
was
I mean?
the-
You can't sell it if you're on your
What
own.
was that deal in Ohio, Jamie?
Hey, that seems like what's going to happen eventually.
The big businesses get
Yeah,
involved.
they're going to squeeze everybody out. They're going to pass regulations.
Jamie?
Yeah, they were trying to like lock down There's like I think it was like 4 companies that would have been able to grow, and
Only.
no one else would have been able to grow or sell. I think it was in perpetuity, like forever. And
Forever.
It
ever
just
and
seems
ever.
like that's what we're going to deal with. I mean,
Cunts.
because people like a regular person.
When there's money involved.
Like regular people, can they make can they start their own cigarette companies? I mean,
Exactly.
can they do that?
Right. It's a good question.
You can't get into the cigarette company.
No.
I think they I don't know. I don't know anything about it, but I don't hear about people making their own cigarettes.
You
Yeah.
make your own wine.
You can
though.
make your own cigarettes if you buy your own tobacco and you can roll your own. But as far as like going into large scale production, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah,
the
there's so
thing,
many
the thing
rules.
about the marijuana thing is like you already know how easy it is to grow. You fucks. You know the fact that they try to lock it down and make it so only a few companies can grow it, make it legal, but only a few people can profit off it. That's crazy.
And then they make it so goddamn cheap that you growing it yourself and trying to sell it yourself it doesn't become an option anymore. They're not people just say fuck it. You know, they're just gonna get cheap ass weed at the liquor store, at the gas station. They're just after a generation or two, people forget it. It'll be like a connoisseur thing, you know.
You know that in the fucking 70s, 60 Minutes did a show one time, and they showed that already in the 70s, the cigarette companies already had farms set up. They were already working on the packaging.
oh yeah,
In the 70s, they were already trying to legalize them. The cigarette companies were already in on it. Right now, we don't think all these fucking cigarette companies are setting up that Kentucky. What's that weed from Kentucky that's really good? Kentucky, they have a weed in Kentucky. Like Alaska has like Matt Newtham, Thunderfuck. Kentucky has like that bluegrass.
Kentucky
Kentucky bluegrass.
bluegrass.
Up there. When I went up there once, somebody brought me that weed. They're going to package all those. The same way they
right.
package
Acapulco Gold. Remember
Acapulco
that?
Gold. And,
You think there'll be a Marlboro cannabis?
Yeah,
cigarette?
they're already getting involved. I got
Yeah.
I got a
You
friend.
think
We have
so?
a mutual
Yeah.
friend. I won't say his name, but he's in the marijuana business. And
Brian
he,
Callen?
No, I wish. Be awesome. But he was saying that's the issue is that those big cigarette companies are buying up so much shit. They're making it hard for other people to get involved in.
Yeah,
Like
that's
other
just the way
small
it goes.
businesses. Yeah,
it's,
they already have their hands.
anytime
in it
there's
for sure.
something that's selling like hotcakes, eventually the small man gets cut out, right?
Yeah,
That's the way it
it happens
works.
a lot. It certainly happens a lot. Whenever there's
That's with anything, though, right?
regulations where they can profit and they can use their influence and fuck over people that also could. Like the problem with pot is it's so goddamn easy to grow that if they don't do that, anybody could step in. But what they were trying to do in Ohio, lock it down for perpetuity, forever. That these one companies could be the only ones. They're setting up monarchies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
that's
That's
scary.
coming though. That's not we haven't heard the end of that shit.
No, not at
That's
all.
coming.
Well, it's going to be interesting when Trump's the president now. See where they go with all this, because that Jeff Sessions guy that he's bringing in, that guy hates pot.
They're not going to let these hippies make millions of dollars. That's only going to last. These are going to be considered the good old days. They're going to wish it was never legal.
Who knows? We're going to find out. It's going to be interesting. Trump has said that he's going to leave it up to the states, but presidents always say shit that they don't do. I mean, Obama was going to close down Guantanamo Bay. That motherfucker's still open 8 years later. He never even made an attempt at it.
I think sometimes they say that stuff. They don't realize how much work goes into it, right?
Well, I think they say that, and then they get into office, and then they get handed some dossiers and some fucking briefings, and they understand like
People
what.
are like, this is why we haven't done this
Like, look,
before,
I know you were
fool.
saying you're going to
Yes.
close down Guantanamo Bay because it helped your campaign, but we're going to get you in here and show you what the fuck's
Yeah.
I
going
think
on.
all those
Yeah.
guys, they didn't sit them down. They knew that shit way
Maybe.
before. They knew what they were getting into.
Maybe.
It's the only reason they were allowed to rise so high.
I think they say a bunch of shit to get into office. They say
think you
whatever the
have to.
fuck they
No,
have.
for sure. They lie
you-
their ass off. Like everything that comes out of like Hillary's mouth. I mean, like,
Do you watch
it's
House
so
of Cards?
Clear. It was like George W. Bush. Like everything that George W. Bush says when he talks.
God damn it, we got into conspiracy.
If your
fucked up.
bullshit meter doesn't go
Yeah.
off, right?
Bro, he didn't even get to the part. Tell him about Edmund, the CIA.
No, no, no,
What
no,
we were
no,
talking
no,
about
no,
yesterday.
no.
Tell about Edmund.
Ron, Edmund's the CIA, dog. I'm telling you right now.
Maybe that's the key. So let's end it. It's
Let's do it.
it's 8:10. This is a good fucking podcast.
Love you, man. Happy New Year.
Thank
to
you,
everybody.
brother. Happy
Good
New
to
Year.
see you, man.
Good
I've
to
seen you
see
in a
you,
while.
my
Love you,
brother.
brother.
Thank you.
Good times, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back tomorrow with hashtag Who is Fat Week. Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer weigh in tomorrow at 11 a.m. They've been losing weight for months now, and Tom is writing hashtag Bert is fat. Bert's writing hashtag Tom is fat. Tom and Bert both started out at about 267 in that range, and now they're fucking light. I can't wait to see. Tom looks fantastic. Tom's only been drinking water. That's it. He doesn't even drink soda.
Shredded.
Doesn't drink diet soda. Doesn't drink coffee anymore. He's just drinking water.
Two of my
And
favorite people.
Super disciplined. He looks fucking great. Did you see the videos of his face?
No, I haven't seen. I
His
just heard
fucking
the,
Can we see that
skin.
real quick before we
I
go?
went
Go
to-
to
I went to-
Tom Segura's Instagram before we leave, because he's got a real funny video. We'll leave it on this, and then we'll show one of Bert's to balance it out. But Tom Segura's Instagram, there's a video of him talking to the cameras, because Bert put this video of he ran for 5.5 hours and lost like 3,000 fucking calories, because Bert's a savage. I mean, he's a psychopath.
Psycho.
He's not the disciplined guy that Tom is. Tom's more slow and steady, wins the race. And Bert is like, I will run till I die.
Dog, you know
How
who
about
he is
that?
right now? I went to his house for Christmas Eve or Christmas Day with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
He's Bert Rudiger. Remember what's that kid Rudiger?
Gabe Rudiger?
Remember when he was outside the sauna?
Yeah.
And they were like, "Get in there," and he's like, "I can't." Right
Is that
now,
what he looks
told
like
me
now?
that.
No,
Damn.
Tom. Go to Tom Segura.
I know
He
he's
told me that
answering
the
him. I
next
thought this would be better.
Bert
Like,
Kreischer is going on like a fucking. He's starving himself right now.
God damn, look at
Look,
that.
look how good Tom looks.
Wow.
Play that.
Hey, what's up? I saw old fat ass Bert's Instagram, and all you fucking suckers believe in it. That's called playing catch up. Catch up! I've covered so many more miles than you. I'm not losing this beautiful, perfect fucking beard.
Loser has to
You
shave
are.
the beard.
Keep
Yeesh.
running, man. You should run all night.
I don't want to see Tom without a
Run
beard.
tomorrow. Run every day. I don't even have to fucking run anymore. I already had your ass beat.
He looks great, man.
Lost already. I'm ahead in the game. And I am watching a fucking bowl game. Because I know I weigh less than you fat motherfucker.
Look how good he looks, man.
God, he
Now,
looks
let's-
great.
Let's go to Bert here.
I
Hashtag
talked to
Mickey
Tom
Mantle.
Segura the other day, and I told him I'm turning on the nitrous oxide to this weight loss challenge. You want to see what the nitrous oxide is? 22 miles.
God, dog.
5 hours and 23 minutes. How many calories? 3,266 at an average of 4.1. This is that Mickey Mantle gene I always talk about. That long strand DNA. That part of your brain that won't let you quit. It forces you to go that extra 22 miles to make sure you don't lose your beard. We'll be weighing in live on YouTube on Joe Rogan's podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, January 2nd and January 3rd. Tune in to find out who loses their beard. I can tell you one thing. It won't be the guy killing it. It'll be the guy laying in bed watching a bowl game right now. Oh, Big Tommy Buns. I hope you got a sponsorship from Dollar Shave Club, because I'm coming, and I'm coming for your beard.
I love those guys.
It's hilarious, but honestly, it's going to be real interesting to see whether Bert's craziness can balance out Tom's discipline, because Tom's been disciplined for a long time, man. I've been watching him. He does an hour of fucking cardio every day. Every day. He's not taking any days off. He's not drinking at
Not
all.
cheating at all.
Bert's been drinking this whole time. Bert's still drinking.
Yeah.
You don't think he drank last night? It was New Year's Eve. You know a couple of cocktails, a couple of vodka sodas. And he just figures, I'll just find out what a vodka soda is, and I'll burn that off on the treadmill. Yeah, look at him. Yeah. Was that supposed to be water?
I don't think so.
Skinny bitch.
That's definitely
Yeah, that
not
ain't
water.
water. It's it's really
Isn't that what they
interesting.
call them? Vodka tonic or vodka,
Vodka
soda
soda?
water?
They call it a skinny bitch?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Really interesting. He always does his shirts with his sets with
No
his shirt
carbs.
off.
Yeah, right?
He does. He takes his shirt off like seconds into being on stage. But it's funny because he's skinny or because he's fat. Like if he gets skinny,
Oh, you
he's
can't
not gonna be
do
able.
that.
You can't just take your shirt off and be jacked. Because he's a big fella.
He put something. He put a picture on there. Some guy wrote a comment on that. I remember you had a bit about
Don't
that.
hang that on the mic. It makes noise.
Oh, I remember that you had a bit about that. These comments that people write. Where the fuck do they get off? There was just one on there that he's just making a statement. The guy's like, "You can't find a shirt that fits you." Where the fuck do these people get off?
They're retarded.
Don't
They're
they have a
trolls.
fucking life? These people.
They don't. That's why they're on
No,
his
that's
What
why
a
they
Instagram.
comment.
sad, sad fucking world to live in. When you just, I remember one day Duncan sent me a thing that he did, a Reddit shit, and a bunch of people, and they were like talking about like fat comics that they shouldn't. That when have you ever seen a successful fat comic?
It's been a fucking shitload of them.
And I was reading this, going, what planet Are you fucking?
They're just dark
How
people.
about
It's
Sam
just
Kinison?
Yeah,
He's fat his whole career.
John Candy, Belushi.
Yeah.
You know what the fuck?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's
Yeah.
end this motherfucker.
Well, you know what, man? Remember when you were 16, you were mugging gay dudes? If you had an Instagram account, you'd probably be talking shit to Tom Segura.
It's the same thing. It's
Same
the same
thing.
thing. Dude, I
Yeah.
had a guy, and it's very rare I ever get back to him. This guy said something just ruthless, and I was like, God damn it. I clicked on his profile, and it's him, a picture of him holding his daughter. So I said, dude, you got a fucking kid, man. I get you might hate me. Don't be that loser that comments on another man's fucking Instagram page. You got a fucking kid, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
And now I got to block you for being a moron.
Like, people can't help it. Everybody likes to come. Even morons. Morons like to come and they can make a kid.
It's just a bummer.
That's the end, ladies and gentlemen. This
Don't
is
be a
the end.
moron.
Don't be a moron. But you know what, man? This whole being a moron thing, even that it's temporary.
That's life.
We're coming to a head. It's not far away, folks. There will be integration. All of us will be connected in some strange hive mind, and we're about 5, maybe 10 years away from it. It won't be as simple as like send a fucking tweet or anything. It's going to go right to your brain, and everyone's going to be aware that you did it, and they're all going to be able to go back at you, and we're going to share information in a way that's just as weird to us today as the internet was 30 years ago. Nobody ever thought you'd have to deal with this shit. Imagine back when Rick James was a fucking on top of the world.
Rick
You
James
think he would have had to look at his Instagram page like, what the fuck are they saying to Rick James? You know, it's a weird time when everybody can just talk to you. It's gonna be more than that. It's the next level is go right into your brain.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either, but it's happening. Deal with it, bitch. Deal with it. Tomorrow, who is fat starts at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Eddie Bravo, Matt Flavor, Brendan Schaub. That's it.
Big Brown Breakdown tomorrow.
Big Brown Breakdown tomorrow, you fucks. See ya. Love ya. Bye.